Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and Murloc mains, as well as to everyone in the Wisdom Gaming Studios in Mall of America watching at the watch party. My name's Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justin, and we're here in the HeroesCCL Season 4 Grand Finals presented by Wisdom. I'm super excited about this, the culmination of weeks, almost months of gaming, playing, studying, scrimming. It's all coming down to this. 30K versus Wildheart Esports. And before we get into anything that is going to be this matchup, I owe you all a little Bandit treat. So let's get our good boy up on the screen really quickly. Bandit, come here. Come here, bud. Do you want one of these? Ooh, wait. Come here, bud. Oh, he is tuckered out. You're all tuckered. Come here. Come on. Man, I gotta course him. Come on, bud. it's like 79 degrees Fahrenheit in here. It's like 25 Celsius, so it's a little hot. But either way, over here, right here. There you go. There we go. All right, so I promised you all treats. We got the treats. But you know what else we promised? Is a little bit of a little nice video that we have from the Wisdom Gaming Studios. If we can go take a look at that right now. Gaming Studios. Shout out to everyone hanging out there. I actually think I was looking at this before the break, Grubby and Justin. I think that's Casanova, Tomster, and Ishbu, like right at the table right there. I think it's Ishbu. I'm not 100%, but I know Tomster and Casanova were sitting right there. So it's just cool to see some of the old guard from HGC still hanging out watching these games. But of course, before we get into Ball Street, I do want to check in with both of you. We had a little bit of a break. What'd you guys get up to? Oh, Grubby, you're muted to me.
Just a bit of a reset to stretch the legs, get that blood flowing, get fresh for that best of 7 coming up. And that's about it. Just relax and get ready for the next match.
Got myself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, got some water. Justin, what'd you get up to, bud?
Yeah, I got some snacks, did a little walking around. I talked for a bit with my girlfriend and just chilled for a bit, watched the replay package that we had. It was real hype. It was really nice. Nice to segue into the finals here. I'm super excited for it.
I'm super excited about it, and I know all of you at home are excited about it, so let's start digging into everything, and let's start talking about Ball Street, because it's up to you to get the best picks live as you're watching on cclmarkets.com. It's free. If you pick wrong, you can sell your shares and buy the other team's shares before the match is over. CCL markets trade from 0 to 100, with shares of the winning team valuing at 100 and shares of the losing team expiring at 0. There's tons of prizes this season, so join and play during every CCL broadcast, specifically this one right now, because we're in our grand finals, and we want to go ahead and take a look at that 30K roster, so let's go ahead and hear what Hazuups has to say. Or not.
Well, I would say the main thing I like about my team is how long I've known each of my teammates. We've had previous relationships, so we had like pre-existing synergy going into the season. For example, I've known Legacy for like 5+ years. We played together all the time in NGS and even tried out for like a bunch of teams together. Cattle and I played in NGS for multiple seasons. Kira and I used to duo in Storm League. My old NGS team, we'd scrim Kira's team. Obviously in in-houses is where I play with Kira as well a lot, and Madara. That's sort of where I met Madara, was in-houses. So that's sort of how I met Madara and became, friends with him. It's always a lot of fun to play with people who you're, comfortable playing with.
We have 30K, the scariest team that we've had here in the CCL this season. They haven't dropped a single series yet to get here. We have Caterpillar playing the main tank. He's been looking super scary on things like Johanna in their series yesterday. Diablo, he pretty much plays everything. He's been around since the beginning of HOTS. Cure, one of the most, one of the biggest legacies in HOTS is Cure, playing the melees, playing things like the Zeratul that need to be specifically banned out against him. Legacy, the Legacy himself, the 2-time back-to-back winner on Simplicity of the CCL. Liam played for 30K last season, one of the best players that they had on that old roster of 30K, the only lone standing member still on 30K, and Madara from Oxygen in previous seasons, just a really all-around solid player. Madara, who is asking in the interview for the Wildheart as the matchup in the Grand Finals. He's going to get his wish, and Beakid, the 6th member. This is 30K, the NA Super Team, here in the Grand Finals.
And the team on the opposing side, Battleground, we can go ahead and take a look at Wildheart Esports.
Our team is very much focused on improving and fine-tuning our play, but at the same time, we're also keeping it loose. We've got a great group of guys, and not just the players, but also everyone else involved. It's probably not controversial to say 30k is the team to be at this point, so it'll be a very exciting challenge if we get the chance to try to take them down.
Wildheart Esports, you just saw them in the Constellation Finals. By the skin of their teeth, of their wolvish teeth, they won with a 3-2 score. They've had a lot of 3-2s. Wildheart, a team of ups and downs, a great record in the league. More ups! A lot up, in fact. They're in the top 2. And Haben has been incredible on that Diablo. He looked fantastic on Anubarak as well. What a strong tank. Our only player remaining left in the league from South Korea, and he has bridged all difficulties to be part of this star-studded roster. IB Ting's a fearsome Hanzo, Mason Blaze. He looked absolutely insane on Lidara. Even that map that they lost on Cursed Hollow, he had Towers of Doom. Yeah. 0 deaths, 70,000 hero damage, and he was just giving it to the front line. Riri Day, whether you see him on Uther or Stukov or another, he is fantastic. His Malfurion roots were inimitable. And inimitable. And Zerkling cleaned up a lot from yesterday, where I called him out of it. But today, he looked damn clean. Not feeding, and in fact, playing fantastically well, has seen Zerkling and his team push themselves to the Grand Finals.
The Grand Finals are here. We're on the precipice, the doorstep of the Grand Finals, Justin. And I do want to get your thoughts really quickly as well on just thoughts in general as we're getting ready for this.
I think the first game is going to be really important for both these teams. Wildheart just coming off of a 5-game series. We're going to see whether that break helped them, whether that was more of a warm-up for them with those games, whether that's going to help them or whether that's going to hurt them, whether they're exhausted or they're just prepared and ready. Because 30k is coming cold, Wildheart is coming up hot off their last victory, so the first game I think will be very, very telling for both of these teams.
Well, let's go ahead and tell everyone at home where we're going to for map number 1 in this best of 7 grand finals. It is going to be map number 1 chosen by Wildheart Esports, choosing to take us to Battlefield of Eternity. But if you're wondering how we got here, the members of 30k opting in for first pick priority, banning out Dragonshire. Wildheart Esports will be banning out Infernal Shrines. And if any of you caught yesterday the broadcast, I had a very critical thing to say about 30k, and it was 2 critical things yesterday. You do not take 30k to Infernal, and you do not give Cure a Zeratul. So we will not see Infernal Shrines during this matchup because Wildheart, they've done their math, they've done their homework, and Grubby, that's Battlefield to be chosen. Infernal, out of here.
We've had a lot of Sky Temple openers to series in this weekend. Now it's going to be a Battlefield of Eternity. Oh, this is exciting. There's some unique peaks here that we see from time to time. And how this map is played in Storm League and competitive is greatly and wildly different. Battlefield of Eternity will test the teams in their 5-on-5 fighting capabilities. It's a scrappy map with a lot of 360 surrounds, many bushes, and a kind of a circular battlefield battle area arena in the center means you could be surrounded and flanked by just about anybody, including sometimes an Uther. Just gotta see it coming.
Justin has mentioned Weary Day's prowess on Uther, so that could be a possibility as well. And we are getting into this draft. I'm so excited about this. I'm really excited to see who is going to be crowned our Season 4 champion as we're getting into our first draft of this Best of 7 series in Battlefield of Eternity. Justin, do you want to get your thoughts here on the map, the draft, and the teams?
Yeah, was that a hint at the Rutso Uther flank that we saw against Diamond from Diamond Hands?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Didn't quite work out for them against Wildheart. Weary Day Anna just gonna be able to evade that one real quick. But Wildheart did look super strong on this map with their double range poke composition that they had in that series. Does not look like either team is gonna be getting that with the Hanzo already banned out. First ban from Wildheart. There won't be the combination of the Hanzo and the Li Ming. 30k banning out the Diablo and the Anubarak. So target bans directly towards Haben. Sergeant Hammer is the thing that Wildheart felt they needed to ban. Johanna's also still available. So I don't think 30k is a team that really likes the Sergeant Hammer, so Wildheart, we're going that. Johanna still up though. This is where if Wildheart doesn't take it, it feels like they're going to be likely in a big disadvantage against 30k, as yesterday, 30K was prioritizing the Johanna even first
Yeah.
pick in some of their matches.
And Cattle looked amazing on it. Cattle's ability to flex within his builds, especially with the heroics between Blessed Shield and Falling Sword, to know exactly when to be picking up those different, or when to be utilizing those different heroics, is really strong. But there's that Lunara. This, to me, this should be the Johanna right here, but it's not. Johanna makes it through. Maybe she gets banned out, Grubby, in the next phase?
Very possibly. It's an interesting prioritization where Lunara is kind of the surprise of the tournament, edging back into the top half picks. I would not have predicted this. To be prioritized as second ranged assassin after Hanzo on Battlefield of Eternity is a rare honor indeed. And it's at level 13, the cleanse, that really ties things together sometimes. In a meta where layered CCs to kill the enemy tank are very crucial and important, having another hero on your team that has a cleanse is key. Yrel does that with Hand of Freedom, and Lunara does that. And these are two that are not the healer role, so you get extra freedom.
Justin, a little draft theory question to you. The Garrosh being banned here, is Wildheart leaning into a dive composition and they don't want to deal with the control of Garrosh?
It is very strange. It might be a double support composition being built for Wildheart. We'll see if they look to go with like a Vala or something. They don't. They're going for just pure one-shot with the Li Ming and the Curse Bullet from Greymane. This is very similar to what we saw earlier on Dragonshire from Oxygen, where they had the Li Ming with the Tychus. So the idea is that Muradin plus these two heroes can basically just 100-0 anybody between the Curse Bullet and the Li Ming combo.
Okay, and we're going to see a healer out from Weary Day last. Could be Uther, could be Anduin, could be Malfurion again. There's a slew of options for Weary Day flexing on that last pick. Next two coming out from the side of 30K, Tyrael and Tracer. I love this draft here, Justin. I do want to get your thoughts on what's going to happen, or get your thoughts on the entire draft, because we're about to load in after this last pick.
This is very, very scary for 30K. They have Blaze, Lunara, Brightwing, which are basically just S-tier heroes across the board, whereas Wildheart's first picks don't have anything that's really a massive priority pick outside of potentially Li Ming specifically for this map. Malfurion, played by Weary Day, that's going to be the last pick. He has looked quite strong on that so far, but this is a lot of dive, more dive than he's gone against in any of the other games to be a Malfurion against. We have Tracer and Tyrael as the last two picks. We'll see if it's the damage build Tyrael. I'm assuming that Cattle's the one playing that, so if that's the case, not sure if he's comfortable playing that build, that playstyle with kind of the wormhole and the fire at 16, the full damage build with the lifesteal. I don't know if Cattle is experienced playing that, so we'll see if it's the kind of the old build, the tank build, or if it's the new build. Because the new build, the damage build with the Tracer, is super scary. You have basically two characters that can just dive into the backline nearly invincibly and just poke you out while sustaining themselves with their lifesteal. They're dive buddies. They just dive into the backline together, and it's very, very difficult to get them off, especially when you have things like Lunara that can follow up from distance. Blaze can even slow you down from distance, and Brightwing has the TP if she needs. So Wildheart's composition is playing explicitly for one-shots. They are only looking to have the Muradin stun into the root, into the Greymane Li Ming combo. They need to get these clean one-shots, but that might be difficult into things like the potential Sanctification, into the potential of the Bunker, the Brightwing having the spell armor as well that she can give to anyone, even Lunara having the potential for cleanse. It looks like 30K should have a very easy time diving into the backline. Wildheart needs perfect execution if they want to win this match against 30K.
I absolutely agree with you, Justin. I really do feel like 30K have the stronger draft, and it's going to be execution-based for Wildheart. And we'll see if that will come through for map number 1. Battlefield of Eternity on the left-hand side, 30K, Kira on the Tracer, Mater on the Lunara. We will have Liam on the Blaze, Cattle on the Tyrael, Legacy on the Brightwing. Cattle going Grandpa build, apparently. Zergling to be playing Yrel on the side of Wildheart Esports, Mason Blaze on the Li Ming, Muradin to be played by Haben, Weary Day on the Malfurion, and I Beatings on the Greymane. Grubby, I think you kind of already heard from Justin and I want to get your thoughts on the drafts and the map.
Well, it's a very strong synergy, Tracer and Tyrael together. We have seen a lot of Tyrael Blaze in this competition so far, mostly in the regular season. As we approach the playoffs, we saw more Tyrael Blaze and another tank and frontliner. So either a Maiev or a Thrall or, you know, something. And either another offlaner on like Garden of Terror or another proper tank. Now it's going to be more of a, like you said, classic Tyrael with Sanctification, with the bonus shields at the level 1. And I think he could do it. I think Karel definitely could do it. Where you lack some solid engage via Tyrael, you now have more protection, more defense. And it doesn't seem like there's a really simple, easy way for 30k to play team fights. There's no like easy engage blow up. And against Murder in URL, you probably don't have a blow up anyway. But there is good mobility, good protection. You can try to get the punishment on like a Li Ming or a Malf. Both have a really difficult matchup into a Tracer. So it's interesting. But it does seem like Wildheart's comp is easier to play. It races a little bit faster, I would say. If it's 50-50, both are racing. But I'm not too worried when it comes to 30k when I say, hey, this comp is hard to play. For many teams, I'd be worried. But for 30k, I'm not. So I do like Wildheart's draft a little bit more. Simply, first game, could be nerfs, could be a bit like not warmed up. But I think 30k could do it.
Do you want to follow me into the weeds on this one here, Grubby? I have this dumb idea for heroics. What if Cattle took Judgment?
Okay.
And Brightwing phase shifts onto Cattle before he goes for the Judgment, so Brightwing shows up next to the judgmented target, polymorphs it, Tracer, sustained damage, Blaze steps in, Lunara, Leaping Strikes, or Thornwood Vines. Thoughts?
I thought you were going to say... not crazy enough.
Yes!
No Emerald Wind?
We have seen that in the past as like an isolation tool from, was that Oxygen who did it? Where it would like phase shift in, Emerald Wind, you'd have the Imperious splitting people. I think that was Nick, right?
I don't remember
Oxygen.
who it was, but we have seen M-Wind a bit.
Yeah.
But,
it's just, there's possibilities for it, yeah.
I don't know, I don't see Kato as a Judgment player. He just seems like really solid.
Oh, sure, it's probably a red card talent, to be honest.
Yeah. He's like this central presence in every fight. He doesn't do the craziest deep flanks, but he doesn't take a lot of risks either, and it works out for them.
It definitely, it's very calculated from Cattle. I don't know if I would say even calculated risks. It's just calculated in general in the way that he plays a lot of his tanks. So I do think it's just I was starting to get into the weeds. I'm like, we got a little bit of lull time, a little bit of downtime before we get into the first objective. Let's see how crazy we can get on our theory crafting. As Cure will get the phase shift from Brightwing right here. Liam goes in for the Jet Propulsion, doesn't connect. There's a ping on to him from somebody, probably a teammate saying, hey, you missed that Jet Propulsion. Haben getting low, rewind from the Tracer. A lot of damage onto the Immortal. No counter race right now as Zergling jumps in. We do have Greymane splitting, and he will start to race. With that race happening, I wonder if Cure and friends want to step in more aggressively. Yes, they will, right onto Haben. Haben gets the Dwarf Toss out. He does have the third win at level 1, some more sustainability while he's out of this engagement for a few moments.
A little bit of good race by Greymane, got a few thousand points of damage, while Wildheart did the near impossible and saved Muradin there from that engage. There's a large attack wave from 30k on the top. That's a 1.5 minion wave. This is very painful for Wildheart to lose there. And there's the pulse bomb. Weirday gets deleted. Ethereal Tracer action. Fantastic deletion. There we have
Another kill?
Zergling stepping into the stun.
Okay, Zergling's able to back away. The Dauntless level 1 is helping out with the physical attacks coming in. There's a polymorph onto somebody right here. Greymane is going to try and back away. Tracer Cure drops IB down to around 50%. Haben tries to get a Thunderclap out. We still have Lunar on the left-hand side racing. Will this... Okay, yeah, no, 30k goes over. They should be able to burn down the race. Pulse Bomb to just get this a little bit faster. But it's close here, Grubby. 943 in our Immortal difference, and the Immortal, Alarian, goes over to the side of 30k. Zergling dropping to around 75%.
Look at minion XP, Bahamut.
I will. Hot-cha!
7,100 for 30k. 5,900 for Wildheart. They have more than 20% deficit.
It's like a 1,600 difference between the two, maybe even more than that as the numbers keep changing. We did have Blaze split into the top lane and push things up. Yrel to match that, but now look at your minimap. Blaze coming down. He gets the oil slick over the far side of the wall. That is going to be having that auto attack slow. And now Alarian gets one. It's a spin, and we'll see a decent amount of damage onto the fort. It's still very, very healthy in bottom. I'm peeking up into the top lane really quickly, Grubby, as that Blaze did get some split siege. He got the tower and the gate, but still one tower remains in that fort top lane defense.
There's a pulse bomb coming in on Greymane. Haben decides it's time to jump in. They get some good damage on Caterpillar. There's a Skullcracker. Good shots from Greymane and Li Ming. Can they kill him before phase shift?
Nice.
Yes.
Wait.
I think IB Things will pay the price. Maybe Haben as well.
Haben gets the dwarf toss out. We did see Cattle on that Tyrael. He was trying to get near an enemy because, for anyone that doesn't know, it was changed. It was a while ago, but when Tyrael does die, for every enemy hero that's within the explosion or his trait of the Angelic Wrath, he'll get 10% off of his death timer. So there is value beyond the damage, but Lunar, she might get all in. That's going to be not enough healing from Legacy, and a staggered kill as Tyrael just comes back, peeking into the top lane. Blaze getting pressured by the Yrel quite a bit.
Good roots there again by Weary Day. 2 kills apiece now. We're keeping it even. Minion XP, has it caught up a bit? It's 11.5k against 10k. Still a difference of 14% advantage to 30k. It's closing, of course, as Yrel has been picking up some of the pieces.
Yeah. Blaze is still matching well in top lane. Yrel will hearth out up top, and Blaze checking that camp. He's going to be going for that, as we do have our second Immortal phase spawning here. 10 talents here first for the side of 30k, and we'll have that 10 over to the side of Wildheart fairly soon. Blaze to get a top lane camp. I wonder, does Blaze get one more wave, or does he rotate right to the team? This wave would allow the Impaler camp to push closer to the fort faster.
Yeah, let's see. The Khazra is shooting, Bruisers are coming out on both sides. We have a race now. It's dead even? Question mark?
Wow, like 370 difference or something like that. Yeah, 370 difference in the HP between the two Immortals.
And now it goes to the defensive position, so suddenly you have to look towards the side. They're looking at Liam. Liam turned on Pyromania. He still has a Khazra and a minion wave. Kind of ironic that a 5-man runs away from a 1-man that still has a wave as well, but they wanted to go and defend. But 30k is doing many different things at the same time. Even as the Khazra is getting pot shots at the keep top, they're also taking the Bruiser, they also soaked bot, and they got a good bit of racing on the Immortal. So 30k's got their hand in every pie.
This is a good example of 30k showcasing macro. They've got split pressure in lanes. They're not dying around the objective. They're kind of poking here and there with some presence. Now we should turn towards the micro, as Blaze is going to be looking for a potential flank. Greymane, we'll see him stepping into that bush. And actually, Greymane and Blaze will be brawling out at the top of our screen. IB is able to back away. Blaze able to get near his allies as well. When we look at heroics, it's a judgment Tyrael. Just saying, I'm not that crazy.
Yeah, not that crazy at all. Getting some more reliable engage. There you go. Well called. He's got the judgment. He also has the slow from the level 4, extra slows on auto attack. So Cattle doing as much CC as Tyrael possibly can.
The Immortals, as we had mentioned in the defensive positioning, more so in favor of 30k if they can step in. Madara gets chunked by Mason Blaze. Now look at Liam on the top right of your screen. Pops the Pyromania. He's got that physical and spell armor. Phase shift onto Cattle. There's the Judgment right on top of the Li Ming. Tracer goes in. That is Li Ming popped, and she'll be dead for 22 seconds. The Immortal goes over to the side of 30k, and they're seemingly not done in this chase right now. Polymorph onto Haben. Throws out the Stormbolt. Gets the Dwarf Toss away, and now Alarian, top lane, second Immortal of the game, dealing 666 standard damage, 1,332 into structures. But 30k doing the macro play. They're gonna split. Blaze to top, the rest of the crew to bottom. For now.
Yeah, kind of a half-hearted attack on the fort. They're gonna let Legacy finish things off. It's an interesting split. Maybe not ideal, not the total min-max for 30k. They are going to come in. They're going to catch Murden on the Dwarf Toss, so they can't go in. Judgment's not yet available. It's Pulse Bomb with 6% bonus max health damage. He doesn't have a toss yet, and they get the kill.
Really good play from the side of 30k. Able to get another kill. 13 talent to your advantage as well. This is the 30k we had seen yesterday, who was just constantly ahead by a level and a half to 2 levels seemingly in a lot of their games at this point. Wildheart holding on, but will 30k be able to take keep? Cure's positioning leads me to believe that they will be able to, though Haben's about to be up in a second. I think 30k plays it safe and backs away. No, they're going for it. They want it, but can they get it? Damage over time, 1 minion? Oh, no way does that keep stay alive. Oh my god, what's it even? 20? The Lunara, damage over time.
Yeah, he pressed the red button, he had the trigger in his hands. Click, 3 more seconds, drop to 76, drop to 21, then dead.
All right, so even down the talent tier, Wildheart were chasing out a little too far, and now the turn will happen from 30k. Still, 13 talent on the horizon. If 30k can find like 2 kills here, they might actually go core, but they're not going to continue the chase. This is going to be camp in top lane, looking at the bruiser camp, 45 on the left. Bottom is available.
Maybe he's just dead. Oh my god, Cure 1v5ing.
Judgment. Tyrael is looking at Weary Day, does take a nap right now. Cure chasing in still, and god dang Grubby, this is just oppressive from 30k.
Oh yeah, feels super oppressive. Really difficult to counterplay Cure in general. He's such an asset to have on the team. He's so scary on Thrall, Zeratul, Tracer, and he's really good on other ranged heroes as well, but especially these finishers. So good. Holy Ground to steal the Bruiser camp. Kinda didn't take the Fallen Shaman down yet, so there's actually a chance Wildheart gets this.
Ardent goes out, Li Ming, yeah, you are right. That is going to be the camp going over to the side of 30k. Phase shift from Brightwing is going to be canceled out. I think that was Righteous Hammer, yeah. Cure should die.
Okay, that was really well done by Wildheart. It was tough to catch the Tracer on the way out, but now they get a double kill. It's a classic, it's a classic. I don't think 30k is feeling the fear yet, but it is certainly a funny classic to fight over enemy bruiser camp when you've got all the advantage in the world. You lose it, lose a few heroes, and give it a chance to get back into it. Wildheart had to work for that, man.
Wildheart will be throwing a few members back to the Hall of Storm to get the mana back up, and we are in our halfway phase for the objective phase. So, with that, Madara and Cattle will grab themselves a bottom lane Fallen Shaman, and I think Greymane just works on race, though. Brightwing can phase shift in. Tyrael does have the Judgment, and this camp is done. 30k, I think they're looking to rally a defense around their Immortal on the left-hand side over here.
And they're doing it. It has 6,000 health left. Not a whole lot of poke on the side of Wildheart. Li Ming has it, but she's a real big target for anybody, so has to kind of stay on the center. Haven started to really take a lot of damage. Judgment does get blocked by 10 armor from Tranquility a bit. That helps. That was really well played by Weary Day to get that turn on nicely on time. But now with level 16 coming and a bruiser camp, Wildheart is having to make ever more difficult decisions, Bahamut.
It is just, it's Wildheart on kind of a timer right now. They've got to do something. IB getting a little bit low on the bottom of our screen. Cure, full HP, looking to step in. Does blink through the Righteous Hammer right there. Gets into the backline. Mason Blaze gets chunked to 50%. Liam does not connect with the Jet Propulsion. Zergling misses the Righteous Hammer. More damage coming in from Lunara. 400 and something HP on the Immortal. 239. I don't know if the members of Wildheart can actually step up for this, because it just feels like if they do, they'll lose a member. Yrel being zoned away in the bottom. You can actually see on the minimap, Yrel's trying to jump in. One Avenging Wrath would be enough, but Cattle, he's zoning. And we just see our Fallen Shaman arriving towards the keep in the bottom lane. If the keep doesn't target the Fallen Shaman, then this is going to be keep going down. Leaping Strike coming in!
Oh my god, he went for a cheeky blink forward trying to get the WQ, but every single point of damage was blocked. Li Ming got punished. He said, that's it, I'm just going for it. Oh, and finally Yrel Zergling got the finish. It's like you said, they had to get dismembered in order to get that Immortal. One member down. Still, Wildheart had to do it. 30k was already doing such a good job with just so little. 230 health left on the Immortal. They basically got like 5,000 points of damage on the other Immortal.
I want to point out also, Yrel used Ardent Defender to make sure that she could step in, not die, and get the Immortal. So that is a resource spent. I was looking at the top of the screen. I'm like, okay, all right, that's still down for the next 75. Muradin Avatar, 45 seconds. He doesn't have cooldown reduction at 4. Bottom lane, Tyrael, he's trying to defend down over here, delay things out a little bit. If Tyrael takes an auto attack, maybe from like a splash of Greymane, the fort will start targeting onto heroes. But now, rotation, that's a Judgment onto Malfurion, once again, constantly being pressured by Cattle. Here's a recall from Cure, who's low, has to blink away. Haben goes in deep with the Dwarf Toss. That's a phase shift in from the Brightwing as we have a Polymorph and Pulse Bomb onto Haven. There we go. And the fight, Grubby, it's not over.
Nice cleanse by Weary Day. Really well played by Wildheart so far. They actually get the first kill. This is incredibly impressive. They used Muradin's health pool. Weary Day got Judgmented. You had Haven stopping the Lunara so that there could be no follow-up on Malf. The way that this Malf is getting peeled for, it's legendary stuff. Any Malfurion in Storm League wishes that they had allies like these.
I really feel like the judgment target. I was gonna say like, oh, maybe we should look at someone else, but I mean like, there's Force Armor of Li Ming level 1, so if she's got that active, she's not really the best target to dive onto. Maybe Greymane, but then there's Eyes in the Dark. So yeah, I was like, maybe the Malfurion isn't the best target, but seemingly now that I kind of go through it, it is the best target. It just constantly is not getting the value that I think 30k is expecting. Another Immortal phase, and I want to point out, catapults are arriving through top, so Wildheart, they need to back away at some point as Haben gets chunked.
Haben keeps getting hurt a lot, but he's got that smart talent, third wind at level 1. Basically, a massive laydown, and not to get that juicy 40 bonus Stormbolt damage, but this is absolutely correct. When you're taking so much damage on the front line and also into Lunara poison, and then you want to re-engage quickly, and you've got a healer like Malf, who doesn't have an easy time to heal you quickly enough, it's a great talent now. Haben, once again, trying to buy some time on the Immortal. His team is far behind.
Team is very far behind. Blaze just gets that top lane camp, and we will see the Immortal around 75% HP or so. Still 3,500 points of health for the side of 30k's Immortal, and no one's actually stepped into that. We're kind of in defensive positioning right now. The lanes are neutral in a sense. There are camps in top lane, though Blaze is putting pressure onto someone just above us. Murden comes in with the Dwarf Toss. That's the Dwarf Toss and the Stormbolt. Blaze able to back away. He did tap well as well, getting a little extra healing over time. You can see that on the top of our screen. Blaze waiting, looking for some sort of angle. Don't know what they're going to be playing.
Bahamut, it's comms time.
All right, who you want?
Let's go 30.
In we go.
Greymane's low.
Great.
Go Grey.
Yeah.
I got here.
No overtake. I have Z.
Yeah, just race. I say we just race. I say we just race. Leave and race.
Okay, we can race.
We win, yeah.
Halftime's already done.
Yeah, this Immortal wins.
Yeah. Watch the.
Can I tap?
They're gonna
I'm
look.
tapping,
They
I'm
have to look. They
Yeah, they have to look.
Run away. I'm tapping.
Yeah, the main spot. We're fine. Blaze can do
Okay,
camp.
cool.
Blaze can do it. They're giving.
Burn.
Okay, never
I'll
mind.
grab it.
We win if we get this.
No. Stay. We need you.
guys. We win.
Yeah, 5 men here. 5 men here.
I've climbed.
Just play Murden.
Bunker.
Help him. I'm on your own.
Mouth is low.
Too deep for me.
Yeah, it's deep.
Burn
Just
Immortal,
front to
burn
back.
Immortal.
Front to back.
Yeah, Ural's already half. Get her ult.
Just keep front to back and kill Murden. Kill Murden. No jump.
Burn it now.
Murden out. No, you're on next.
No, race.
It's okay. Yeah, if she steps in, I mean.
I'm
Next
very
up, we
ill.
win with the Immortal, guys.
Yeah, we can just end. Get mana if you need.
I'm gonna go top.
Yeah, everyone
Blue
can tap.
clear,
Everyone
we
can
end
tap,
bottom.
and then yeah, group
Do
up.
we end bottom or top? I think.
Bot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Top's already pushing in.
Just wait for me for a
Mura's
while.
dead for 30 seconds. We can.
I can go 20 judge or just.
Lot of cooks in that kitchen. There's different levels of aggression I noticed, Grubby. There's like definitely different levels of aggression where it's like murder, and then it's like wait, race. Like that's how so many of the comms.
Urel got 100%ed there.
Yeah, that is
Leading
actually-
as well. Just great deletion by 30k.
Ouch.
They're going for the end. Immortal still coming. 30k was getting pushed back around levels 15 to 17. Wildheart did great to kind of do more than just get rolled over here. They looked really good for a while, but 30k was too strong for them. 10 to 5 in kills, 20 to 18 in levels, 3 versus nil forts.
30k, seemingly surgical here on map number 1, Battlefield of Eternity. I gotta say, Cure playing really good, but as always, biggest kudos for me. It's really gotta be it's a toss-up between Legacy and Liam. Liam just knows where to be as an offlaner, when to join, when to split, when to look for flanks, and then of course Legacy's healing is like a legacy in its own sense. I mean, we go back to like season 1 and 2 of Legacy healing, and it's just like he's just always on point, knows when he's got the phase shift. Yeah, there was maybe like a death or 5, but still like really good play from the side of 30k. A toss-up for me on the MVPs. But of course, let's get Justin back into the mix to tell us everything that, well, we might have missed breaking down here on Battlefield of Eternity.
Yeah, the thing that really separates 30k from the other teams is just the macro. The way that they set up their fights before the fights actually happen. The fights themselves were relatively close, but every time they're fighting over an objective, every time 30k is looking for pretty much anything, they already have their waves prepped to do so. They're thinking a couple minutes in advance, it seems, at pretty much all times during the game. They're fighting over the objective, but when they're doing that, they have knights pushing, they have the null camp pushing, or the goats pushing one lane, they have the knights pushing the other lane, and it's just this situation where no matter what Wildheart does at that point, they're already in a losing situation fighting over the objective. And you had a weird situation where Wildheart wants to just poke the objective. That's kind of what their comp does. 30k is designed to not let them poke the objective, not let them even get in range of the objective, because they have all this mobility, they have all of this dive. The Malfurion pick did feel a little bit like a detriment by the end of the game, being such a vulnerable target with not a lot of means to really peel them, no bunker from your offlane in the Urel, not really easy point-and-click lockdown from the Muradin. And it was an interesting dynamic where both teams kind of need their whole comp to actually function. Wildheart, as soon as they lost either a Li Ming or a Greymane, they can't fight anymore because their comp needs to play for one-shots, and they need both the Greymane damage and the Li Ming damage to be able to do so. And then on the other side, on the side of 30k, if they lose anyone for, like, Cure, for example, if he goes down, they don't have any damage really anymore. They have Sustain, but they don't really function, neither team really functions without all of its units together. And for Wildheart, typically you have a composition that plays with these combos that as soon as they use their combos, they're kind of out of steam. That's not the case when you have a Li Ming, because if you use the combo and you get the pick, you can continue fighting with those resets. So it's kind of an awkward situation for both teams where if they lose a single member, the fighting is kind of just done. And that's sort of what we saw, is it felt like in most of these fights, they weren't just absolute wipes. They were typically, we lose 1 or 2 members and we just need to leave. But every time those things were happening, Wildheart or 30k had already prepped the map in advance. So even if the fights were relatively even at times, every time an even fight occurred, 30k was still coming out ahead. It took so much, just so much things from Wildheart needed to be done to actually get even the smallest of advantages, and that's because of the way that 30k sets up the map. Cure on the Tracer alongside Cattle on the Tyrael, very, very scary, even without the damage build on Tyrael, going for more of a tank build, more of the traditional older builds of Tyrael. It still helped Cure to be able to get into the backline on the Tracer. The Judgment as kind of the adaptation of some of the new sort of flavor of what you do with the dive buddies with the Tracer. It made Weary Day feel pressured. They would use it just to bait out the Tranquility, force the Tranquility, and then they could re-engage. They'd never overcommit into the Tranquility from Weary Day. They would pretty much always be like, oh, Tranquility's time, Tranquility's down, we'll just go ahead and we'll come back later, sort of thing. And there's no saving from one-shots for the side of Wildheart with the Malf. Feels a little too vulnerable here. 30k playing absolutely in their element, setting up the map and winning the team fights. Just very dominant from 30k in the second half of that map.
It was a good opener. As you had mentioned, that it almost feels, Justin, like Wildheart around the 13 to 16 area, actually probably more post 16 area, that's really where they thrive in a lot of their drafts. I mean, we've been seeing it throughout this entire weekend. Like, yeah, they look a little wobbly at the start, and then they hit 16, and it's like, oh my god, where has this team been sleeping? Or like, this team's been sleeping and they just woke up at level 16. So we'll see if they're going to be able to if they're going to be able to rally just like that in the next map, and we can let you know where we're going to for map number 2 in our best of 7 weighted best of 7 series, as we do have 30k taking us to Towers of Doom. Alrighty, Towers of Doom, Grubby. This is the map that was this not the map where 30k kind of lost to the Vikings? Is that right? No, I'm thinking that was the Oxygen.
Alterac.
That was the Alterac. Yeah, I'm mixing things up. Everything's at 3 days of casting, it all kind of blurs together. But yeah, no, this is still a great map. Vikings are a threat, Grubby. We can see if we'll see if 30k goes Butcher to go hunt the Vikings. You know,
30k. I don't think Butcher's actually super good against Vikings. I think
no, I don't either. It's a bait. It's a great bait.
The 30k, they haven't played on Towers of Doom in quite some time. Almost 2 months. They haven't played on Towers of Doom on the playoffs yet. The last time they played in group stage, do you have the stats of like their total record on Towers?
Yeah, it's 3-0 right now for 30k, 2-1 for Wildheart.
Yeah, last time was beginning of June, so it's been 2 months.
Wow.
And they went for Maiev, Sylvanas, Brightwing, and Uberak Blaze back then.
Okay.
Into a Deathwing.
Oof. Okay, this will be interesting to say the least, Justin. I can already see you're kind of smirking, you're smiling. You have a little insight onto the draft, or you just got some thoughts?
Just Wildheart did do the Vikings thing last time, and that's scary. That's something that 30k is going to have to be looking out for. But another thing is, in the last map, we didn't get Cure Zeratul. We didn't get, I don't believe, a ban on it either, so...
No.
Pretty sure Cure Zeratul has gone kind of unpicked, unnoticed so far. He's a stealthy guy, but I think that as we get later into the series, the likelihood of the Cure Zeratul coming back, if it's not banned, goes up dramatically. So I wouldn't be surprised to see right now a earlier pick onto the Zeratul for Cure.
Well, we're here into the Towers of Doom draft, map number 2, and let's go ahead and find out what we're gonna get for bans. Wow.
A few more stats.
Yes, please.
All 3 victories for 30k have been with Blaze on Towers of Doom.
Okay.
All 3. And they've used Maiev 2 out of 3 times.
I'm actually, I was looking at it as well. Mephisto actually was a couple of those wins as well, if I'm looking at my data. No, Maiev, sorry, I looked across the wrong row. Brightwing also another big win for them, but yeah, that Blaze, 3 games of Blaze. I mean, Blaze is 15-2 for 30k. Granted, I know these stats are really high for 30k because they're 27-5 overall from the season, but still, first pick Brightwing, Blaze Diablo. We're firing through this draft here, Justin. Any thoughts on the bans picks?
Very tanky for 30k. You have kind of the 30k bans coming out for the Zeratul and the Chromie. Brightwing first pick for Weary Day is just pretty generic. He's not going to have the Anduin to save people. They're going to need to pick something to be able to deal with this very, very strong front line of Blaze and Diablo. Diablo, not really normally available for Wildheart, not really picked for 30k in their previous matches. Very strange to see that getting through. He's not prioritizing the Johanna, so maybe that was kind of a stylistic thing against Oxygen specifically, but just scary for 30k. You're going to need a lot of damage to be able to get through this front line.
I've said this for other drafts. I mean, like, yeah, it's a dive-based draft for 30k, Grubby, but I still feel like 30k can still play this different ways. Like, it's not like just because Diablo initiation is a shadow charge doesn't mean that it's, oh, we're only going to play a dive style. You can still kind of control the enemy with the other abilities of Diablo, even pushing people around to push them away from potential kills.
Yeah, for sure. And there could still be a Medivh coming out as well. And then suddenly, you're not just a dive, but you're an extraction team as well. Like, you can literally just leave. So, let's see. If it's Medivh, you would have a ranged assassin that can follow. Usually a Vala, I would say. We'll see if that's what's gonna happen. They definitely don't have to go that way. You can play Diablo more conservatively and just peel for backline.
Justin, I want to throw it to you. Is Tracer a possibility for this map? Or would you just say no for Cure? Because his Tracer has been consistently good, in my opinion.
Yeah, you still can. It's pretty scary into Brightwing specifically. Having the point-and-click CC from range, that is the poly, is very, very scary for a Tracer. We see the Tychus picked up, which is partially a deny pick, so that Wildheart doesn't have that going into their Diablo later on. The Rhaegar's picked up as well for Legacy, something that he's looked really strong on. There's been a lot of Ancestrals that we've seen just barely not land from pretty much everyone but Legacy. I don't know if we've seen nearly any Ancestrals miss for Legacy, so scary picks just across the board.
Could be a Thrall-esque pick for that Cure. We'll see what the special sauce is for him, as we're going to get the last 2 picks from Wildheart Esports. Still need a main tank and a little more...
Tank.
Justin, take it away. Yeah, I'm done. I've done my part in casting. You guys take over for me. Thank you so much, everyone. That's it. No, last pick though, Justin. I want to get your thoughts on the drafts in total, as well as the 2 tanks from Wildheart.
Whatever the counter to Sergeant Hammer that 30k has in mind is going to come up here. It will likely be a Madara pick, but Kira and Madara can both play the Tychus, so we'll see. Mephisto has been kind of the go-to in general at this pick, but it might be something different. It is the Junkrat. Junkrat's still available, which in a lot of weeks was just perma-banned, so getting the Junkrat, kind of a normal counter into Sergeant Hammer. It's a goalie, so Sergeant Hammer has less of an easy time going around the map just picking off towers, which is what she likes to do. She likes to just rotate around the map. She's more of a macro hero than just a normal ranged. She's just gonna go gank towers, because you can outrange towers with Sergeant Hammer. Junkrat being able to just defend against her very well, being able to clear the waves, being able to just poke at her with Qs, knock her away with the concussive. You also have Garrosh into 30k's composition, but you don't have really a ton of follow-up for the Diablo. Sergeant Hammer is good into the Diablo for sustain damage, but Lunara doesn't have quite that much damage into a Diablo. It's more burst heavy now for Lunara. Her sustain damage is actually just, it's very lacking compared to what it used to be. She's much more of just a burst hero, and into Diablo that's pretty invincible, especially with the Rhaegar having the Ancestral. So Sergeant Hammer has something like a 90% win rate, so it's hard to bet against it. Sergeant Hammer might be so strong that that makes this work for the side of Wildheart, but as it stands on paper, 30k's comp looks just a little bit better in general.
I absolutely agree with you, Justin. Thank you for the analysis as always, and we'll see what you have to say about Towers of Doom after this map. I'm going to say in about 18 minutes or so, as we have Cattle on the Diablo, Legacy on the Rhaegar, Mater on the Junkrat, Liam on the Blaze, Kier on the Tychus. If it's at 18 minutes, I'll lose my mind. But anyways, Zergling on the Hogger, Haven on the Garrosh, Mason Blaze on the Sergeant Hammer, Weary Day on the Brightwing, and Ivy Tings on the Lunara. I think 30k can take this as well. It's going to be a difficult matchup, as Justin was mentioning. The skill, the stats, and everything for Sergeant Hammers are pretty high, but that does not mean that it's an insta-win, GG, go next, you've lost Towers of Doom. Still, 30k, they'll be vying here. And Grubby, got to get your thoughts as well on the drafts of Towers of Doom.
Yeah, I like that there are more teams that are willing and daring to play Sergeant Hammer. You saw how good she is just by everyone banning out Hazu up to Sergeant Hammer. Mm-hmm. What a shame if you don't build a skill that makes a hero and a player combo so good that it's forced to be banned out. And it's not like she's that hard to play either, like in my opinion. She's way easier to play than something like a Zeratul. Just play Zeratul like Cure, lol. Not so simple. Hammer, it's all about judgment, not so much about the crazy micro mechanics. Nice little Haben Garrosh combo there. Oh, that's a really sweet combo. Nice. Cure goes down. Nicely done by Wildheart. First blood.
First blood indeed to the members of Wildheart and friends as Sergeant Hammer continues to control bottom lane. Junkrat throwing... Isaac's actually going to go grab the camp, so we have Cattle and Legacy to come down and help out as well. Sergeant Hammer just clearing things out. Let's actually take a look and see... Yeah, please.
Yeah, let's watch that replay. Cure is a little bit too much used to heroes like Tracer and Zeratul that can get out of any trouble. I get that feeling as well when I play too much Samuro or Blade Master in Warcraft 3. I'm like, yeah, I can just get out of anywhere. I'll just turn invisible, blink a bit, and I'm gone. Now, Tychus, small little running gun. He face-checked the bush, and Garrosh was right there. Nice kill by Wildheart.
No Sakuchi for the Tychus, as he's not able to get that blink in the Windwalk form. Though Haben, he gets the face shift from Brightwing, and immediately, almost immediately, there's like 30k is like, we're not going to get this kill. Let's just turn around and walk away. We do have the level 1 for the Garrosh. It's going to be that Groundbreaker, building up those stacks for the damage over time at 5, and the cooldown reduction at at 15 stacks. Pretty standard across the board. We do have actually do want to note, we do have the, Boom Pow for the Junkrat, which I think is going to be paired into the Bog Down potentially for the slow.
Yeah, I don't think you have to go Bog Down just because you got Boom Pow. Boom Pow is a Sergeant Hammer manipulation talent. I think full mind build is too much power balance into a single ability that, albeit 13 and 7 gives you 13 and 4 gives you resets. I don't think propelling yourself further and then slowing an enemy is enough reason to build your entire kit into it. Boom Pow is fantastic though. Great call out. Yeah. That's really good just to place, to move Sergeant Hammer essentially. You're playing chess and you're moving your opponent's rook at will away. Quite a powerful ability. And I think at 7, you could still do Sticky Wicket. Mm-hmm. You could even go for Rocket Ride, trying to get a Sergeant Hammer with Rocket Ride, and then of course you get the Total Mayhem talent at 7, which makes for an even stronger Rocket Ride.
And that's a really good point as well. I do think Trap probably at 7 is the best bet. I want to point out for anyone that is wondering what the cooldown does mean from this Boom Pow. Basically, if you hit an enemy hero with the Concussion Mine, it puts Concussion Mine on, I think is a 3-second cooldown? 4 second, okay.
4, but you just threw it and detonated it. So either you have it back immediately if it was 4 seconds ago, or it manifests kind of as like a 3-4 second cooldown.
Oh, wait, actually... Oh, because it's active. Sorry, so it's a 10-second cooldown, it's 16 seconds overall, but there's other things from throwing it out. Yeah, I was
see it at 4 if I use it immediately because of the 2-second like throwing in and then detonating.
I forget it's an active cooldown like that. I wasn't thinking of it that way. So yeah. Anyways, so it's if you get it instantaneous, it's a 6-second, but that doesn't matter. What matters is the fight that breaks out around this bottom lane objective. We do have top, left, and right to be traded. Blaze and Hogger will still go back and forth. Haven gonna get the face shift from Brightwing just in time. The Indomitable will be used, but now Weary Day's the target. The Fire Stomp almost gets the kill onto Brightwing as she's able to back away with some 70 HP, but now a trap, a root, a concussion mine. Diablo, will he go down? Sergeant Hammer's got good damage, but the chain heal from Legacy with the level 4 Earth Living Enchantment helping out, because Earth Living Enchantment is the reason Diablo got enough HP.
Yeah, that was sick. He had 200 life or so. Weary Day was 41 health. Wildheart is doing good damage between Ivy Tinks and Mason Blaze, though. It's pretty impressive. But Boom Pow had got a lot of value, and you are right, it is bogged down. It is the 40% slow for 2.5 seconds, so he is putting his entire power budget into this ability. And my god, was it good at controlling these points. Constantly popping Garrosh back in, knocking Hammer away, and she's gonna be so slow. Now, it should be mentioned that bogged down, I believe, does nothing on a hover sieged Hammer.
I do believe you're right. I'm actually going to go ahead and pop the stats for Hammer for myself, and I'll keep an eye on those. She currently has that 50% movement speed when she is in Hover Siege, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 50%. So,
yeah, and Hover Siege isn't a hard-coded, you're now 50. It's actually a minus 50%, like a 50% slow on self. Slows don't stack, so slowing her for 40% does nothing.
Blaze Jet Propulsion does come in. The Hammer will be stunned for a second, just trying to back away over here. We still have, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, the reason that this fight also kind of floats down every so often, we still have our first objective phase available. This is the first bell tower from the triple objective phase. Yeah?
So 30k knows they're 5v4.
And I think Wildheart, they're just like, let's just let this go and we can be done with it so we can go back into the quote-unquote standard rotations. But I keep peeking into bottom. There are the, not Reaver minions, sorry. It's been a long day. Thank you, the Siege Camp. The Sappers were cleared out. Thank you so much. Sorry, I went to go pull the data of the name and my brain just went to, like, it was a desert. It was just empty.
What do you call those rolling haystacks?
Tumbleweeds.
Yeah, tumbleweeds everywhere, like knocking to the left and right of that empty desert.
We actually...
I had that yesterday too. Just crickets.
Yeah.
Lots of crickets.
I had the pleasure of crossing the country a couple times on a train, and there was actually, we went through a tumbleweed storm. It was really weird to experience. Like, it was like you looked out the window and it's just literal, like, hundreds of tumbleweeds just flying by. Like,
wow.
Yeah, it's
cool. I'd like to see that someday.
Oh, well, we'll go on a train together, Grubby. You and me. We'll cross the country.
Sounds good, sounds good. When? Okay, so finally 30k did get the 4 shots, but Wildheart, they did that deliberately and knowingly. Letting Hogger get level 10 top. They didn't think they could keep up that sustained battle or win as level 10 was coming up. Overall, really, really even game. Now we go to the single objective phase. Trap has been laid. Will it be sprung?
Lunara, like, Kier's selling the idea that he's all by himself. Haben, I stepped into the bush, and then he stepped near the bush, and he was like, wait a minute, and then, yeah, okay, so nice check from the Garrosh right there. Lunara's fine. Single objective up in the center of our map. Blaze and Hogger will still continue to brawl out in top lane, so 4v4 around the objective.
Haben looking to get a mark. He gets Cure. Will Cure die? That's a good, really good Ancestral, 100% value.
Haben is going to be getting the Warlord's Challenge onto a couple enemies. Legacy trying to back away. Does get bopped by the Sergeant Hammer. We got a little fiesta going on with the Diablo leading Lightning Breath.
And Mason Blaze accidentally knocked away the Rhaegar because that was a pretty good taunt. Garrosh looking to jump in again.
Cure is just getting really bullied this game he's constantly getting dropped down. Haben getting pushed around, has a lot of armor, physical and spell, gets the blink heal from Brightwing. Cure goes for the Jet Propulsion, more of a disengage than anything else. Haben so very low. Cure goes down to Ivy.
Yeah, this was so sick. The saves of Weary Day on Haben and Haben's awareness of how far he can push it as Garrosh were eye-wateringly inspiring. If we could watch that again. And the space that was created from that for Ivy Things to go in on the backline and get Cure, it was just sick. Really sick.
Really well played from Wildheart here with the Sergeant Hammer composition. Kind of feeling like this is the secret sauce that Wildheart's been sitting on, waiting to utilize against teams, because I feel like it kind of caught 30k out of left field as we take a look and see how that fight just went, Grubby.
Look at that. Garrosh positions himself to get Shadow Charge. He's like, it's fine. Weary Day comes in, does the critical miss. Then he sidesteps the mine, Haben, and he stays alive with 100 life, takes a heal, and then meanwhile Lunara across the top got the rest of them.
Really, just as I've said, Wildheart really performing here in map number 2 in this best of 7 series. I'm liking what they're able to do so far, but it's Towers of Doom, it's anyone's game, and it's also equal tower shots out so far. I was holding my breath. I was like, does Haben step in? What are we doing? No, it's just going to be... Actually, Cattle steps in with a Shadow Charge, Indomitable used by Garrosh. He has to back away.
That's on a pretty long cooldown now, about 30 seconds. He's gonna go for a full port because Brightwing and Hogger are trying to bully Blaze together, but can Blaze really be put in a corner, even by 2 members? It doesn't really look like it. Double altar phase coming up now. Garrosh comes back in. Keep in mind, Indomitable still on cooldown. It's at 15 seconds right now, Bahamut.
Okay, 15 seconds on Indomitable. When it comes to the heroics, everything is off a cooldown, so we should see a big, beautiful, explosive battle pop off around the center bottom area.
Wildheart doing much better on the wave clear this game than last game on Battlefield of Eternity. They've really put Zergling on wave clear duty for a lot. Garrosh trying to get the channel, Haben, and Curious there to go in with the grenade to get the interrupt on 2 members at the same time.
So I know you had said it earlier, and it doesn't slow down this hammer. There are still like status effects that pop up, and I've been watching it. So hammer isn't affected by bog down because of what you had already mentioned. But it still says actually on the little like breakdown like detailed thing, it actually says slowed when it happens, which is kind of funny. Zergling pops the shockwave. That's a concussion mine onto Weary Day, but Weary gets the blink heal away, and now Garrosh and Sergeant Hammer get the channels. 8 shots into the core of 30k. I feel like 30k's not like attention, but the way that they're deciding to go for plays and fights has been a little distracted in this game. They've had to split attention.
Cattle had a Shadow Charge on Ivy Things, and he was like 1/3 of a second away from getting the wall there. And Lunara, like, Ivy Things, you kind of can bait that in. You can put Diablo in a bad position to pretend like you're going to have your back against the wall when you're aware of his position, and then to step off center. That put Diablo in a bad spot. If Diablo would have got the kill there could be 1 or 2 kills, one on Brightwing, one on Lunara, and then suddenly it doesn't matter as much that you lost double altar phase. But it was a risk.
Yeah.
And it just didn't pan out. Good job by Wildheart.
There was a rotation in the top lane. Blaze was Liam was aware of anyone or the enemy coming up there, so that will be Blaze playing safe, and the siege comes in through bottom. 1, 2, 3 sappers. The assumption is that they will be cleared out by Hammer and the Garrosh right there. Blaze in mid lane just clearing things up. Single altar, bottom of the map coming up next, and I do want to point out, since we do have the center point opening up, that means that not only do you have that teleportation, but all of the towers have gone from fort, damage, health, and experience to keep damage, health, and experience. Cattle not invading this time.
Let's see if Cure can playmake as much on Tychus as he has on other heroes. He does look a little bit better on some of those others. He is the one that has died twice this game. Overall, it's a very low takedown game, though, and there is a really risky, let's say, relationship between Garrosh and Tychus. Tychus murders Garrosh, but Garrosh has the range on Tychus because he's short range, so that's pretty cool. Nice bulk down there on Garrosh. Channel starts. There's a loot horde. Hawkwild to stop the propulsion. Ancestral needed for Cure.
Yeah. Once again, Kier taking a lot of damage. Liam going for the channel. Will Hogger get the interrupt in time? Yes, he will. Jet propulsion from Blaze. I have to be critical of Liam here. This is one of the few games where I've seen Liam miss a lot of jet propulsions, and that will be Rhaegar going down. Madara goes for the channel, and he will get those 4 shots. A little bit of a consolation prize, if you will, to the double kill, single kill. Lunara chasing in. Spell Shield will proc onto Cattle. Riptire out from the Junkrat. That feels more like a, we are just trying to push you back. Heroic. Haben stepping forward. Cattle so very low.
And that was actually just insane again. What Haben is doing on Garrosh and how Weary Day is backing him up is super sick. It starts with Ivy Things, poison threatening Tychus, Cure over and over. I didn't know that Odin is a valid attack target, but apparently he is. A big target, I guess, right? So easy to get the choking Poland proc. It's the Ancestral. And Haben is waiting for that and looking for that. He blocked the Shadow Charge with the Unstoppable and then turned on Rhaegar and threw him in, and Rhaegar went down. Then Garrosh survives with like a sliver of health every time. Really sick.
Sergeant Hammer's pushing onto Kier in the bottom lane, and this will be more sappers for the top. Alrighty. Triple altar phase coming up. 24 to 28 in core HP. 30k finding a few shots there in the bottom after losing their Rhaegar. And when we look at 16s, pretty standard here. I will say Mortal Combo for the Garrosh is a really nice pickup as well to be able to get that cooldown reduction. You could see the Titanic Might, I believe, is the level 20 upgrade where you can get the, or Titanic Toss maybe, where you get the double throw. But triple altar, we'll see who this goes over to. You want to jump into Wildheart comms?
Yeah, let's do it.
In we go.
Alright, that's fine.
He probably doesn't want to come over, right?
Are we playing mid?
I want to play.
I don't see any
mid.
of them.
Oh, make sure you stand next to Hitman so you don't get hurt.
The Blaze is there though. You can get it over time. The Tychus is here.
I have one stall.
I can one-shot Tychus if he face checks this.
baby.
I'm walking with you top side.
Ivy call. Oh. Cam.
That Cubby is so scuffed. You're gonna be fucking trapped here. Don't go there.
Oh, 20.
We're kind of split. Please alone though. Please alone.
I'm just holding this space.
You can be
Okay.
split if you want, but you can't group with us.
We can push mid, like if you can stall.
Yeah, we're gonna catch mid and get 20s. Can we just play slow?
I have wisp in 10
I'm
seconds.
gonna clear this. I'm gonna clear this.
I'm showing on wave. They might run at you guys.
Pleasure mission.
We're chilling.
Will. Oh, pleasure mid.
I'm Mike. If I go 20 in Napalm Strike, they can never cap objective if I'm alive from like
Okay,
back
clear
here.
that if you want.
Probably.
Or I can just go attack speed. I don't know. It's
Go
actually a
attack.
tough call.
No, go attack.
Okay, yeah.
Pleasure here. Yeah, fight. Bottom.
20.
He's gonna win around.
Oh,
Okay,
go.
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 Yeah, we walk. Go. No blaze.
Here.
I have,
Can I just cap? Yo, we're fucking.
yeah. That's way back.
Go.
Nice.
They're cap.
Cap.
Oh, whatever.
A bit of push.
A lot of really cool moments in those comms right now. We get an insight as to how they want to play this. You also heard Mason Blaze saying, if I take this 20, they'll never be able to step in. But he doesn't. He goes Ultra Capacitors.
Yeah, like that 20 is great at interrupting, right? But he's choosing to get more damage instead.
Yeah.
And Ultra Capacitors is so good with Giant Killer.
Oh, yeah.
So good into Diablo.
Oh, it's... On the receiving end, it feels awful. As the person as the Sergeant Hammer, it's just you're just sitting there cackling and just the bloodshed all around you.
Hammer is so strong now with Garrosh and Polymorph Brightwing guarding her. This could be a really good situation for Wildheart, but let's see what 30k gets to deal with this. The big bunker, big Odin, big balls from Junkrat, double Ancestral, and then Blink. All really good talents, but nothing really game-breaking.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe Ultra Capacitors and Invisible Friends is more impactful level 20s.
I would very much agree with you on that. We also have that no control from the Hogger. Once again, a Liam Jet Propulsion into the bush. Maybe he was just checking with that one. Grenades from Tychus, grenades from Junkrat. He's going to be backing away. He does have the level 16, or the level 13, that Ripper Air to be able to back away. That's why Junkrat flew across the map a little bit quicker. As a double altar phase will be coming out here. Typically, we see these traded, but the way that Wildheart's playing, I wonder if they do try and step into the left-hand side. Here comes a Riptire from Junkrat. No extra oomph, as we mentioned, the cannonballs at 20.
Oh, is someone getting caught there? Hogger does get the Unstoppable off, actually. Draws the Brightwing Z. She needs to get her Z back. Hammer needs to get Z back. It's on the 15-second cooldown. Zerkling is guarding the rotation. Is Lunara the one that's going to cap top right? It looks like it. IBT steps up. Zerkling gonna clear mid rather than check for the bush.
Oh, IB gets delayed once. We still have a fight breaking down over here. Legacy throws the totem out. Junkrat actually jumps back down here with that Ripper Air. Almost a global for him. So the delay in top just was quite literally a delay so that this camp could be invaded. 10 to 21 in core HP. It's not over till a core falls to 0, of course, but the Raven Lord looking a lot more hurt than the Gravekeeper over on the right-hand side, as the Commandero and Big Red Button looking to siege through bottom. Blaze, he's trying to find some angle here.
Interesting decision to Tychus here. He gets some range, he gets some poke. A couple of nukes on top of Sergeant Hammer. Not bad. That's 50% of her health in damage. I guess Odin is on such a short active cooldown that right after the objective, you can use it without punishment because you'll have it back for the next objective.
Exactly. Yeah, I think this timing on the Odin was actually really good from Cure. Concussion Mine pushing back Mason Blaze once again. And the bottom lane fort sitting around 50 or so % HP. Next objective phase, is it? Wait, really? It's not a... Is it a double altar phase in the exact same spot? That's...
Yeah, I didn't know that happens.
Yeah, I was like, as I was like staring at the center, like where Sergeant Hammer is, I was like, there must be a thing covered by the model. Thank you, Observer. I was literally just about to mention that we have this top lane huge minion wave with these ranged minions. Wow, I want to say this is like the first time ever casting I've ever seen two of the same altars back to back like this. But anyways,
yeah, we're used to repetition prevention on other maps because of patterns, but here that's not the case. It's okay. Bottom fort falling. Yo, what if 30k grabs this fort, and they do, and in fact, 2 sappers will remain alive. Oh, 1 sapper. Just wait, dude. Why'd you charge in? But what if 30k also got top fort? Oh, Yaros, do you have time for this, bro?
no, I don't think he really does. But I don't know what Tychus is doing, to be honest. No idea why Tychus was rotating down to bottom in that moment right there. That was a little confusing to me. Feel like he should have just been... Anyways, trade onto the bell towers. 3 shots into the core of 30k. 5 shots into the core of Wildheart Esports. Boss? People are just looking at this boss right now.
Just start boss.
I'm swapping
Just start
between the
the boss.
visions really quickly, just trying to get an idea of what these teams are seeing. Right wing, Sergeant Hammer showing in bottom lane to 30k. Wildheart doesn't really have a full idea of what 30k is doing, but they know that they're not on boss. The Wisp check really quick. Ooh-hoo-hoo.
Poison.
Poison.
Wisp is there. There's mines. There is a Junkrat trap. There are concussive mines. There is a lot of vision stuff. Neither team wants to give up an easy 4 points. 30k needs this a little bit more. They want to take it off the map so they don't lose to a single objective trade.
Yeah.
The next objective is mid and bot.
Yep.
So if they take this away, they can breathe a lot safer. Even if they lose double bell tower, well, even if they lose 1 bell tower, as long as they take the boss away,
Yeah.
they can be safe if they trade.
This top right keep is on a sliver of HP. Zergling to check the bush. Junkrat clearing out the wave. You can, like, everyone is looking at this this boss right now. Zergling is going to take a lot of damage. That is so much damage into Zergling. There's the face shift, but now the face shift's been used. Garrosh is going to be the new target. Haben gets the toss onto Cattle, but Cattle comes in with the Hellgate and the Lightning Breath. That's a bunker down from Blaze. Sergeant Hammer has those ultra capacitors. I cannot believe it. Haben is still alive. Can you kill the Garrosh? Yes, they can. Now, will they be able to... Nope, they can't go boss. They have to go double altar. Double altar doesn't end. Double altar and boss does end, though.
Shockwave on Rhaegar! Rhaegar! Oh my god! They killed the healer! We're... Wildheart, well done! They were down their Garrosh after a great isolation play. However, against Odin, it's gonna be an absolute difficult situation to actually... Oh my god! Oh my...
Ultra capacitors.
What?
Ultra
Wow.
capacitors, man. That was...
Get incapacitated.
Oof. Hey, that was a rough one. I don't think Weary Day gets delayed. Okay, so 5 to 10
Two
core
shots, lol.
HP. Oh my god. This is... I talked about this in the last series, and I've talked about it through many Towers of Doom games. This is why I love this map. The tension, the play, the rotations, everything. It's all flip-flopping back and forth, Grubby.
Yeah. Yeah, this is crazy. Wildheart did insane to actually get the 4 versus 5 double kill on the rotating Rhaegar and Blaze. They're now starting the boss. They want to put 30k on 1 HP. They're leveraging a 5 versus 3 situation. 30k has got to do the difficult thing and give it away. Haben, where did you come from, Haben? Oh my god, that was incredible. Are they still gonna unleash the boss?
They're going
Yep.
back for it. It got fully leashed, so it goes back to full HP. But Diablo...
No, I don't think you can do this anymore, Wildheart.
No.
Diablo comes back.
Yeah.
His life bought time for the other two to respawn. It's still a win. It's 75 souls reset. Actually, kind of a good sacrifice by Diablo, even though Haben's flank was inspired.
I'm sweating for both these teams. I want Wildheart to go up in the series, but I'm also, 30k. It's 30k. Like, they've been playing so good throughout the season. They've only dropped 5 maps out of the 32 maps that they've had this entire season. That includes the playoffs. That includes yesterday as well.
That's crazy.
That is,
Zergling
yeah.
is forced to stay here for a little bit more.
22 seconds for the objective. Legacy and Cure will get the bottom lane bell tower converted.
Do you give this? As Wildheart, do you give this? Or do you
I would-
approach from mid? Maybe they have an okay position to approach from mid.
Sergeant Hammer, I think where she sits right now can delay things out.
Yeah.
With her... she might have to step up.
Napalm
Yeah, there you go.
strike.
Yeah, Napalm Strike and everything. Commandeer Odin does come out. Cattle's working on a camp over on the right side of our screen. Napalm Strike is delaying things out. Madara and friends. We do have the mid lane being worked on by Ivy as Tychus will take over the camp on the bottom right of our mini-map. That is going to be nuked by the Commandeer Odin. Ooh, Legacy is trying to go for the channel. Can anyone step in to get into range? Yes, Sergeant Hammer will be able to. One of the lowest cooldowns in the game, that Napalm Strike, as Cure is going to drop another big red button, and that Sergeant Hammer has to boost right out of there. Legacy going for the channel, stops at 50%.
And now Midford will be taken down. But there are sappers here. Liam is going to push them in.
1, 2, 3 sappers over the wall. Not game ending. Takes the enemy core down to 7 HP. If this objective
Look,
was...
if
yeah,
now
this
with the
objective
Midford,
and boss.
If Wildheart gets a kill, they can take back their bottom fort before capping the objective, and then it's a win. Or anyone gets the objective, then boss. Also a win.
I'm checking really quickly. Hellgate for Diablo is off a cooldown if he wants to use it.
Whoa.
Concussion Mine, that's going to be Ancestor Healing going out onto Zergling. Zergling taking a lot of damage. That's going to be the Lightning Breath from the Diablo. Cooking up Weary Day. Weary Day on the bottom right is going to go down to the Lightning Breath. Cattle, excuse me, that's going to be Madara chasing onto Zergling over the left-hand side. But now the Ultra Capacitors are going to take down the Rhaegar. It's going to be 2 for 2. Ladies and gentlemen, healer and solo lane versus healer and main tank. But Mason Blaze, this is the wall that needs to be broken, and I don't know how 30k can do it.
Yeah, I think Wildheart with Hammer Lunara are pretty happy to have a no healer situation here. I think you cannot step into Lunara Hammer without your healer, even if you are Blaze, Junkrat, and Tychus. Tychus dropping real low.
Sappers in bottom are getting near that line. Blaze was delaying out the
Wait, they
objective.
still didn't make it in, or is that a second sapper camp? Oh, this is
No, this is another sapper camp. Yeah, so this is what 2 sappers I think are going to be able to make it over. So it is
Yep.
5, 2, 1. 5
Boss
to
time.
1. Boss time.
You start, you tap, you start boss. Brightwing arrives first.
I'm shaking
Stay.
here, Grubby. I'm the tension right now. I love this.
You know, Wildheart could give up boss and just take double bottom bell tower. They're like, yeah, we'll play from 1-1 and finally get the map in a good game state again. Let's pray from that. I think that's the play, actually.
Hogger goes through the middle teleport. Sergeant Hammer's working on the bottom lane for keep.
Oh, he's
she'll
coming.
leave
They're
that.
gonna fight for it.
This is going to be contested. This is a potential boss pit right now. Commandeer Odin is going to be called down from the Tychus. The boss does lease. Riptire from the Junkrat. That's a Warlord's challenge, I believe, from Haben.
Wildheart has to leave. They used way too much on Diablo. You have to leave, right?
I feel like it's a lot of just banking on Mason Blaze with Ultra Capacitors to win the fights for the team. Another tag onto the boss. We do have, you can see the danger ping saying, okay, there's probably a wisp in a bush over there, because we can be seen by that one.
Oh, Odin! Cure!
Shockwave onto 3. That's an Ancestor Healing connecting. Diablo goes in with the Shadow Charge onto Haben, who's going to be a Lightning Breath into the backline. Haben's going to be the new target, but there's just not enough target calling from the side of 30k, and they can't take down a single hero. A little too split in the fight, as that is Wildheart stepping towards boss.
Okay,
Junkrat,
every
Bud,
ult was used
leave
on
mid.
the side of 30k. Mason Blaze has a lot of damage. Ogre doing really good. Zergling doing great into Liam. He does get attacked by Tychus. There's one objective. Haben is invisible.
Yeah, right below us, that's going to be Haben taking a bit of damage. Taunt onto the Diablo. The Ultra Capacitor still firing, and no control from the Hogger. No control from the Hogger. Kata goes down. He doesn't have souls. Junkrat, he's trying to cross the map to get this channel, but he's not going to be able to. Sergeant Hammer should have an interrupt in time.
Mason Blaze coming up. He's like, hey, Junkrat, cutie pie, what you doing? Madara! No, he's
Damage.
poisoned.
That's
No
it.
antidote.
That's it.
That's it. GG. Extremely played by both teams. What a sick game.
Wow. What a game number 2 in this best of 7 grand finals. Hey, the nice thing, it's not going to be any sort of 4-0 quick series. No. We are going to be seeing Wildheart put one up on the board as well. 2-1 in our total map record, as 30k does have the 1 game advantage from that upper bracket in this weighted best of 7. But of course, Justin, we got to get you back in the mix to talk about this. To be honest, Justin, my biggest takeaway that I have to share with you is Wildheart just had to get to 20. It was like that. It was like that Tassadar comp a day or so ago. Just had to get to 20 and win the game.
That was an absolutely just wild game. That was probably my favorite game of the whole season. That was so back and forth. I really didn't know who was going to win for most of the game. The early game, looked really Wild Heart favored. They were doing well at the start, getting a lot of value with the Sergeant Hammer. And then it comes to this point where all of a sudden the momentum shifts, and that was around level 20s-ish. You had 14 HP to 25, and then suddenly Wild Heart was the team that was losing a lot more in shots, and that was mostly due to just clever macro from 30k, being able to do the same thing that they did earlier, where they get top really low, and then they get bottom really low. They don't actually take the bell towers. They wait until the moment that those bell towers are going to get them a lot of value to take them, and they almost set up for like a crazy checkmate situation at the end, but there's just so many scrappy back and forths. Haben on the Garrosh was playing so well through all of the early game, and I was really worried that when they were fighting around the top 4, I thought he was going to get caught there. After they were playing so well for the whole game, Haben gets caught, he's split, and that almost allows 30k back into the game, but Mason Blaze on the Sergeant Hammer, showing just why Sergeant Hammer has been such a highly contested pick. Wildheart being able to keep that hidden this whole time. They disguise that they want the Sergeant Hammer in the draft by banning things that seem innocuous, seeming like, oh, you're banning a Chromie, that's just because Madara is a Chromie god, right? But it's also just a really good counter into Sergeant Hammer, so good setup by Wildheart. I think a lot of the early game was mostly the way that it went with Wildheart being so strong, because Cattle didn't seem to be willing to pull the trigger on the engages until the really late game. When you have a W build Diablo, you typically just get value just by existing with the Ws, having the debilitating flames at level 16 and being able to play for the EQ, knock people back if you really need to. If you need to, like, you can play safe. This is the moment I meant where Haben was getting split. But in this composition against the Sergeant Hammer, there's just constant barrage of damage. You need to be extremely decisive with the engage if you are the Diablo, and the second you make an engage that isn't completely perfect, you just get shredded by the Sergeant Hammer, especially at level 20 from Wildheart. That was their main level 20 advantage, was Mason Blaze having that attack speed. We heard him talking in the comms about maybe we take infinite stalls, and where he's just like, no, go attack speed. And it's like, this is why, because in the late game, Mason Blaze with the attack speed, they were getting just so much damage output between IB Tings and Mason Blaze that even when it looked like they were going to be in a losing situation, there was that moment where they're 4v5 and they just immediately pick off the Rhaegar because of that amount of damage that Mason Blaze can do alongside IB Tings. The fights late game were just so back and forth. It was just such a close game, and the way that the HPs started so split and started getting closer and closer as the game ended just made it just so epic. And I'm expecting that the adaptation for 30k will be just banning the Sergeant Hammer. We'll see if Wildheart can still get quite as much value without it. This is Madara doing his best down here, trying to get the last cap before Wildheart can get there, but no avail. Haben on the Garrosh, very strong. It's a toss-up for me between him and Mason Blaze for the MVP for the game. They both played really well. Even Wary Day is in contention for it. He saved Haben every single time he got low. Yeah. It makes me wonder if in the future we could see the Garrosh plus Uther, with Haben being very good at Garrosh and Wary Day being really good at Uther. That combo is, we haven't seen it, but that's a ridiculous combo because the armor stacks for Garrosh especially. So we'll see if any more kind of Garrosh shenanigans come out, but I'm excited for Wildheart. That was very, very close. Wonder how much that took out of 30k's kind of momentum they've had. I wonder if that's enough to really make the break for 30k, but impressed with Wildheart in that last game.
We're all very impressed, as Wildheart does put one up on the board in this best-of-7 series for our grand finals here at HeroesCCL. But of course, we're going to, after 2 maps, we always take a little break, allowing these players to stretch their legs, talk amongst themselves, and maybe figure out who they want to ban specifically in the next map. Before we do this break, I do want to encourage you all to hit ! prize pool. Get yourself over to the match arena if you'd like to donate. It's always much appreciated. We're at $15,811.69 because of your generosity. We're very close to 16,000. So if you would like to push the prize pool further up to that $16,000 mark, it'd be very much appreciated from the players as well as from all of us, because the players will be taking 100% of that prize pool. First place, which we will crown in this series, or at the end of this series, will be taking 35% of the prize pool. And last but not least, Wisdom will be adding in $10,000 into the prize pool as well. So right now, we could see somewhere 25,000 plus for the prize pool. So really, really cool. Thank you to Wisdom, and thank you to all of you at home for pushing that prize pool further and further. When we come back, we'll have map number 3 between 30k and Wildheart Esports here in the HeroesCCL Season 4 Grand Finals. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to HeroesCCL Grand Finals playoffs for Season 4. My name's Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justing, and we've had, Justing said it earlier, but I agree, the best Towers of Doom game from the entire season just now. Like, that was so much tension. Like, I as a caster, I as a viewer was like shaking, like, who's gonna win? So it was really, really cool stuff. I hope you're all just as excited. I hope you guys got a nice beverage, maybe a hot drink if you are feeling a little cold, or maybe even another slice of delicious pizza. But let's go ahead and find out where we're going to for map number 3 in this best of 7 series. It is going to be Sky Temple, chosen by Wildheart Esports. Some stats, of course. I'm sure Grubby's got a stat or two for you as well. 30k 1-0 on this map. Wildheart Esports 3-5.
3-5, and that's the pre-playoff stats, because I think they just played on it, right? You just quoted that stat.
Correct. Yeah, it doesn't include anything from today, but I've been updating it at the end of broadcast every day.
So they're 3-6 now because
Yes.
they lost that to Oxygen. So 1-0 against 3-6, and there's actually a 100% chance that 30k will play Nova here. They've only played it once, like you said. They won against Simplicity, and they were Nova. It was Monoral Nova. I still remember the winner's interview. So yeah, let's see if they got some more spicy picks for us here. But the big story here is that 30k has mostly tried to avoid this map.
Yeah, they have been trying to avoid this map, and whether it's because they feel they're weak on it, which I don't think if you're taking a Nova into it, but granted, that Nova was against Granite, right? You said? Did you say that?
Against Simplicity.
Oh, it was about Simplicity. Okay, but that was also the older Simplicity, not the crazy good Simplicity towards the end of the season. So a little bit of a caveat with that one as well, little asterisk next to it, but still, Nova was played, Nova did win, and I'm wondering what 30k has to bring out here. Justin, thoughts on the draft or the map as we're about to load on into our third draft in this best of 7 series, weighted best of 7 series.
Very surprising to see Wildheart coming to Sky Temple here with the map record that you stated, and quite frankly, just with how poor they've looked on this map since like the whole playoffs. They came out really cold in all their matches on this map. It hasn't looked like they've really... It's weird to see them pick this map. You would think that this would be like a bad map for them just as a viewer, only from seeing the CCL games, especially recently.
Yeah.
So maybe internally they either have some strategies that they've been holding back on using, or maybe in their scrims they have a lot more just better results on this map. That's probably the main thing. I'm hoping that they have something a little bit special, just a little bit of a more clear plan, maybe focus a little bit more on the globals, because it has felt like Wildheart is getting a little bit ran around the map when they do get onto Sky Temple.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of data for 30k. We'll see if either team is able to, use those globals to kind of sneak a win in the late game, but Sky Temple is just it's a very macro-focused map. We'll see if either team has anything special for it.
Last ban. Okay, so no hammer bans here. I wonder if 30k might look at a hammer for themselves, but
Hammer first pick.
yeah, but is that too early? Is that way too early to pick a hammer, Grubby?
Hammer first pick should only be done by absolute specialists that know layers of drops.
Oh, I see
that
what
have
you did
counters
there.
for hammer counters. Huh? What do you mean?
This is specialist, like the role. I see what you did
Oh,
there,
no.
Grubby. That was clever.
I did not.
I'm so
I did
sorry.
not do
You're
such a
giving good
thing.
information. Please go ahead.
Things on purpose.
So sorry.
Is this a hammer situation? So they finally wrested Blaze away from 30k.
Mm-hmm.
And the Nubarak. This is a good start for Wildheart. Keep in mind that 30k opened this series by double banning Habin, Diablo, and Nubarak. And now they banned only Diablo, and he gets us a Nubarak. They know, they find, like this is 30k finding Habin really good on Diablo and the Nubarak. And this time they had to let him get it because they didn't want to be up against Sylvana.
Next 2 picks with the Lucio. We could see like a momentum-based composition. Okay, never mind. I was like, maybe Cattle leans into the Tyrael again. We could see Tracer with the Lucio. I think all of those could synergize really well, but no. Cattle will get something that he's very, very strong on. I talked about it earlier, Justin. He's got this Joanna. And Liam on Hogger. This is a great map for Hogger as well.
Yeah, 3 just absolute power picks coming out for 30k. Hogger, the Hogger Blaze dynamic in the draft that we've seen as those 2 being just the priority for every team. Lucio being the support that's typically either first picked or permanently banned from the first pick. And Johanna, Cattle was willing to first pick this yesterday and basically take it anytime it was available. It's been banned against him before. It's just a lot of safety, and on 30k's comp right now, they can pretty much go into any direction. The hammer still exists, that's still a threat. Madara has the potential to play some kind of weird things, but right now 30k kind of can do anything, and their draft just looks a little bit easier to play. Already, Anubarak doesn't have the easiest things to engage onto. Hogger has Unstoppable. He has the potential for a Hortapult. Johanna has Unstoppable. She has the potential to go Falling Sword and make everyone unstoppable. Lucio with the high five. It already looks like it might be a difficult game for Haben. We'll see what Wildheart can pick alongside that.
I did see the target onto the Thralls. We did see a very good Mason Blaze Thaw earlier today, but we also have the opportunity for a Lunara to come through. So pretty good pickups for Wildheart Esports, but as Justin was alluding to, I absolutely agree. I think this is insanely strong for the side of 30k. Now, what are they going to grab for Cure? Is this going to be a Tracer?
Also Tracer.
Falstad banned
disengage.
out, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe... So the Tracer for sure, and a Chromie. You know, it's funny.
Chromie into a Nubarak, GG.
Also, I mean, we talked, like, Madara literally said in the interview yesterday about, like, oh, everyone calls me a Chromie one-trick, so I just played a bunch of Mephisto and won every game with that. And it's kind of funny. We've seen, I think, one Chromie ban. Justin, this is, I think, 30k's got an S-tier draft through and through for Sky Temple.
Yeah, it's quite strong. It's a little strange to see the Tracer pick before seeing what the last pick is. It will be the Cassia in response. Cassia does well into the Tracer, trading into her, and also just does well against everyone on the side of 30k with the exception of Chromie. But the Chromie might be enough to make it just really difficult for the Cassia to get value. Playing into especially the Slowing Sands, Cassia's range is extremely short for a range damage dealer. That's kind of her main drawback. While she gets the 30 armor, she gives that up at the expense of having a relatively short range for a ranged hero. And playing into the Chromie is very, very difficult if you do have that range disadvantage. It's the same for a Nubarak. Trying to play a Nubarak into Chromie, very difficult. Madara, the best Chromie we have in the CCL. Trying to play a Nubarak here, you have the decision where you can either just press Q, basically only, and you do have the ability to, you know, spawn the beetles, you have the spell armor, which is good, but if you ever choose to actually hard engage into the Chromie, you're typically going to get isolated from your team, either from the time clocks, from the Slowing Sands. There's just a lot of tools available on the side of 30k. Wildheart can look for one-shots playing front to back. They are playing a style that they've been comfortable with the double ranged in the past, and 30k not playing quite the special 30k kind of style that we've expected, so Wildheart might have a slight favor just in the play styles.
Alrighty, well, we'll see how this all works out. Me, personally, I'm leaning on 30k. I love their draft. I love a good Madara Chromie. So let's go ahead and introduce these teams, as we have Cattle on the Johanna, Liam on the Hogger, Kira on the Tracer, Legacy on the Lucio, and Madara on the Chromie. Ooh, once again, the first time for Chromie. Zergling for the side of Wildheart Esports on the Blaze. Ooh. Mason Blaze on the Lunara. Weary Day on the Stukov. Haben on the Anubarak, and Ibitings on the Cassia. Auto attack build for Cassia as well. Grubby, I've already literally said what I think when it comes to the outcome of this matchup. We can discuss further our ideas, but I do want to hear from you, your thoughts on the draft and what maybe we see here for Sky Temple.
Yeah, I like Wildheart's draft a lot. I think they have a really good situation going. 30k is wise, I think, to get Cure off of something that is a bit more average performing, like a Tychus, that can't really do a lot of playmaking, and to put him on someone that distracts in the backline. His judgment as a solo laner, his mechanics. No, not a solo laner. A solo engager, a diver. A solo, I don't know, like a hero by himself. His judgment and mechanics with that are so good that really I feel like not only is he wasted on something like Tychus, but he also gets impatient on something like a Tychus. Slightly out of position once or twice or three times in a game. And it's nothing bad, and I wouldn't even notice it if it wasn't for the fact that he is so darn lethal on melees and divers. So it felt wasted to see him on Tychus last game. It's great to put him on Tracer, whatever you combine it with. And I think Tracer Chromie have great synergy. Chromie is very defensive, Tracer is very independent. So it's just two very different dimensions of a fight. Chromie is the starter, Tracer the finisher. I think it's great. And then you've got like three very defensive, very independent other heroes as well, between Johanna, Hogger, and Lucio. This is going to allow 30k to play a really good macro game. So while Wildheart looks like they have a really good 5-on-5 team, I think 30k can do macro better with this composition. And that's the key on Sky. So I do think 30k has finally the lead in this draft because of their rotational superiority.
The other thing to note too, talking about Tracer a little bit further, is and Chromie, they amplify each other. Also, Chromie, amplifying Tracer quite a bit with the level 4 Chronic Conditions, which is going to be a slow to enemies, a movement speed buff to allies. You've got an 80% slow if you hit 2 enemy heroes with Joanna's level 4 upgrade, the Subdue. If you hit all 4 enemy heroes, you get that 80% slow anytime you hit some with the Punish. And all of these slows, all of these stuns as well from, like slows from the Lucio with the push-off or Hogger with Staggering Blow, this all allows Tracer to just get autos and chase in, sustain damage, and really, really like that at the draft. Now, when we look at the size of Wildheart, looking at Wildheart, what do they have to blow someone up? They've got Chain CC from a Nubarak, you've got a little bit of play from Weary Day, maybe Virulent Reaction later on, Cassia fends in, Mason Blaze should have the poison damage burst ability, so there is good damage from the side of Wildheart Esports, but a lot of it will be controlled by 30k with the shield glares, with Chromie temporal loops potentially, or even time stops go. It's definitely an uphill battle in my opinion for Wildheart, but I'm liking still what they're able to bring to the table from Wildheart and from 30k, as our first objective is up and being worked on by Cattle on the Joanna. Time stop onto 1.
There's a burrow charge on Chromie, kind of deep. Oswam not available, lucky for Haven, or well, let's say he probably knew. Ogre is currently clearing out the wave. Liam is clearing out the wave that Zerkling had already set up. So we have a short period of double red lasers. Always tilting to see when you're the blue team. And 30k get back and step up. They're gonna go move towards the center temple. Yeah, they had to give that up.
Center has more shots available, so that's totally the reason they're doing it, not because they can't step into the top lane or anything like that. I do want to point out Chromie, Madara, 21 stacks on once again the first time. That's a 40 stacks necessary, 23 right there. At 4 minutes into the game, just want to point that out, that stacking on the Chromie's very, very good, because those Sandblasts are still difficult skill shots to land onto the enemies, not getting stopped by the minion wave or anything like that, or getting stopped by the potential minion wave.
There is another cool synergy that 30k has.
Yeah.
Hogwild level 13 does a minus 50% spell power on the enemy team. Johanna Blinds removes physical damage, 100% of it, for some period of time.
Okay.
Johanna and Hogger together make it so that an enemy team do almost no damage. And that damage which they do is entirely spell-based damage.
Yeah.
And then, that's just, that's really incredible.
It also,
to get that kind of synergy.
because it's spell power reduction, correct?
Yeah,
So
spell
that would-
power reduction, so
so
enemy has less healing, less spell damage.
Yeah, so it's also Weary Day's healing output will be less, because we always like to bring this up because it's kind of skipped over. Healing is spell power, and if you reduce spell power, you're reducing the healing. So, like, Withering Flame from Chen is actually a really, really good healer shutdown tool, because I think it's a 60% spell power reduction.
60%.
It's a
4
lot.
seconds.
Yeah, and 4 seconds is an eternity in Heroes of the Storm. But let's talk about the bottom lane siege that continues. It will continually come out from Wildheart with these siege giants. Legacy and friends slowly poking at this as Liam opens up the top lane a little bit further, taking out those sidewalls. Liam, stop taking out the sidewalls. You need those for Chromie slowing sands. Come on now.
Yeah, well, Chromie is a long distance away. In terms of minion XP, it's pretty even.
Yeah.
There's a small lead for 30k. Let's see, Mason Blaze clears up the wave there. Clear up that wave. Yeah, there's a 7% XP advantage for 30k from minions. So they have been just slightly better at soaking minion waves. It's not a big deal, but it's a bit.
Next temple will be single on the bottom of the map. This is always the gamble. I'm like, ooh, comms would be kind of cool here because you assume that everyone's going to contest it, but sometimes it's just given away. You want to jump to some comms though still, Grubby, and hear what people are saying?
Yeah, let's get some cat pop cat from 30k.
Into 30k we go.
Okay, boys, they have mid prio.
Yeah,
though.
we're safe for now. We're safe.
We're scoots.
We have time for you to clear mid.
Okay, they will get first shots.
No.
44.
Yeah, one mid.
No
I can
shield
come now.
on.
I'm coming now. Maybe we look at this.
I need no
Lunara.
shield.
Lunara's kind of deep on the side.
They're hitting me hard on point.
It's Vines on Lunara again.
Do you have a bless on someone here? Oh, they have a wisp.
Yo, Lunara's omega killable. She has
Yeah,
Vines.
she has blinds, yeah.
Watch this
Where's
clock as well.
Sukov? Yeah, the clock! One shot.
I can't
Still
reach.
dies, still dies.
She's
Oh, he's one. Breaking.
Do you have blind?
Can we finish her?
I cannot.
Okay.
That's fine.
Just take over
Blaze
temple.
coming soon. Blaze
I
coming
need
soon.
a tap.
Okay, we need to run soon.
I also
Can you
need
go?
Blaze mid,
My
Blaze
Ghost is
mid,
down.
Blaze
My
mid.
Ghost is down.
Okay, I'm
You're
taking
okay,
some
Blaze
shots.
mid.
Watch
He's gonna
the
be
Blaze
there
is coming
very
down now.
early.
Blaze is on his way
I
now.
just need a little more pressure on the
Yo,
new
start
ones.
leaving.
Give me like a few seconds.
I'm
Blaze
blocking
has prow,
Blaze.
Blaze has prow, okay.
I'm blocking him.
I
He's going around.
have D.
Okay.
You're okay. You're
Grubby
okay.
is
I'm
down.
coming now. I'm here now.
Have no E.
What do they have?
MP.
Everything except
Okay.
Cocoon. No
I'm on the
Cocoon.
point right now. Hey, been for now, Big Sun.
I can't step into the point, by the way. They're
Yeah,
looking at
that's
Kier.
fine.
Got him.
Nice.
I'm okay, I think. Nice.
I'm spinning on them in the back line here.
I have a clock on this guy.
A noob. Okay, Lunar.
Nice.
Nice. Huge.
Please next. Please next.
Cassie.
Silence.
Less than 5. Less than 5.
Break the bunker. Break the bunker.
4.
Cassie.
Shove.
Maybe
Three.
Blaze.
2.
Okay, let's
Just
go.
temple guys.
Okay,
No
nice.
cleanse. No
They
cleanse.
I'm gonna do
have
camp
it.
as well. You don't need me, right?
No, we're
We're
fine.
fine, we're
Can we
okay.
invade? That's 5 right now. 5,
Okay,
right now.
I can come.
Take it.
Cleanse is 3 on you, Cure.
Really well played from 30k. They almost get the Lunar, and then you just hear, do you have a shield? Do you have a shield? Do you have a shield? It's just like one shield glare would have got it, but the fight actually continues, chasing onto Weary Day. Pulse Bomb confirms the kill. Tracer, Cure, rewinds, gets the double kill, and that is a very low legacy. He's able to get the wall right out, and with the double kills, they actually ignore the temple on the side of 30k. They're going straight for the big bad boss.
Yeah, makes sense. Get the boss first, then take the final shots on the temple. There's only 11 shots left. Take the boss first, then you attack the fort. You kill the fort without the boss, then you take the temple. That's the min-max. Let's look at the fight again that just happened. How did it go so wrong for Wildheart? You have 30k just straight up bless shield slowing Sands. It was just instant. The moment Stukov Cassia showed up, and Wildheart wasn't ready, right? They didn't have Blaze there, they didn't have Lunara there, they just blundered past it. They must have expected there might be a siege camp taking there, but 30k's reaction speed was unholy.
It's almost like Wildheart was seemingly unprepared for that moment right there. Like, because
Am I missing a pun?
like Illidan, like you were not prepared. Anyways, we're casting.
But there's no Illidan. Long day.
I just need you to yes and me. But you are right. There is no Illidan, unfortunately. Realistically, the other thing that I want to talk about from the comms as well, really quickly, is Kato literally being like, okay, 1, like 3, 2, 1, like I have Bless Shield back up, and I like that communication because I feel like a lot of what we're going to be seeing throughout this Sky Temple map is going to be Kato's initiation with those Bless Shields. I feel like that is going to be the first punch in many fists to the face of Wildheart Esports.
Grubby goes with the fast forward. CDR resets for his Q. He's got up to 3 Qs. You see those 2 spirits there. They auto attack as well. It's a different approach for Chromie. Habin tries to get his mark here. They aren't too far down. Wildheart, 3 kills, half a level, fort. There's a lot of structural damage. Wildheart feels like they need to step it up. High
my
five blocks
God.
the cocoon.
Yeah.
Nice job.
And it was a read from Legacy. It wasn't even like, oh, the cocoon, like it was like he happened to be high fiving.
Legacy just interrupted jet propulsion with the sound wave.
Oh yeah, that's what, like Legacy has such a legacy of great healing. Like he's such a good healer. I would say one of the best healers we have in CCL. He's just been so good season after season too. It's not like we're just looking at season 4. I'm talking about previous seasons that he's been. He's always, in my opinion, been a top tier healer, and he's really showcasing that skill today on this Lucio. And even just almost every hero he's been touching. But anyways, level 16 will be over to the side of 30k, and they will also have the top lane fort. Double temple phase will be coming out. These temple shots will fire into mid lane fort. And if it's top lane, after mid lane fort does go down from these shots, the temple will fire into top lane keep.
You can kind of see how Wildheart is now going to struggle, because how do they catch anyone against Tracer, Lucio? I mean, those are uncatchable. Romy, she's going to play it safe. Ogre, unstoppable. Johanna, unstoppable. And this is where Wildheart's comp can't do anything smart anymore. They can only just run at 30k, and 30k can literally just walk away and win the game. 6 forts against 3. Maybe this is why Wildheart is 3-6 on Sky Temple.
Whoa! Haben gets chunked to 50%. Sorry, just like, dear lord.
Big damage.
16 talents here, almost here, but Kier comes in for a flank. That's a blink out from Kier just to get to a better side. Another read from Legacy with these high fives. Haben gonna get hit with the pulse bomb. Does go down. First kill in this engagement.
This is not fun for Haben. This is not fun for Haben at all.
No.
His cocoons keep getting high five blocked. And then he's like finding himself all by himself, and then he just gets taken out. You see, like, he's not even trying to move anymore at that point.
Haven's just sitting there, and he's just like, I want to get off Mr. Bones' wild ride. I don't want to be here anymore. Please let this end. So, another couple kills over the side of 30k, 8-0 Boss, I'm curious, when is it going to be back up? 1 minute, 13 seconds. Final shots from the bottom lane bell tower will get the keep down to, like, I think like 25% HP. Like, it's going to be a very low keep after these shots do rain out.
It may die.
Oh?
Or 3%.
2%.
It's actually like 9. Yeah.
Aw, dang it. All right, well, Justing wins then. So, what is it? What is there to do? What is there for 30k to do at this point, though, Grubby? Is it just get camps and wait, or is it try and find kills? Oh, there's the Siege Giants.
For 30k?
Yeah. What do they do at this point?
Yeah,
Do
take
they just-
camp and wait.
Just
Play
wait around.
boring. Yeah,
Play
yeah,
boring?
Sky
Okay.
Temple, play boring. Like, you win Sky Temple, you play boring.
Okay.
And then all you gotta do is to split. Like, okay, now it's top temple. That's actually the worst location for 30k.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can't like push or keep and also threaten to take the temple.
Though top lane shots will go to an exposed keep, so that is beneficial for 30k in that department. But Wildheart, it's even talents here. They've got to do something. Haben stepping up here will be seen, I think, by the... Yeah, the trap in the bush, I think, might have scattered him out. But Boss is up and available, and that trap still sees. I'm actually jumping onto the 30k vision. They do see that tornado from the Boss up and like being utilized. Tracer's all the way in top lane, so this is just Wildheart grabbing a free Boss for bottom.
Lol, 30k doesn't know they're taking boss. Yeah, they know, they don't care. They're gonna get 1, 2 towers. They're gonna get a little bit of top keep damage. They're gonna let the boss go and be ignored. That boss will take down keep wall the most. Totally
Less.
fine for 30k.
Slowing Sands, Ivy slow, Cure comes in, Pulse Bomb onto the Cassia, who is going to be dropped to 50%. Liam on the right side of our screen, very low right now, and will go down to the fend from Cassia. That's the first kill for Wildheart, 14 minutes into this game. Jump propulsion onto a couple enemies as the bottom lane fort does go down. Tracer blinking away. Haben and friends are very low, but so is Cure. Gets another blink, can't get away from the burrow charge, and that's Tracer to go down. This is the first time in the map that Wildheart's really started to pull ahead, and I really do feel like Wildheart's got to make some big plays right now. Temple's available, but also there's 2 dead on the opposing side. They're going to move for a quick fort through mid.
Core damage will be sustained soon. Top keep is taking damage as well. You have Wildheart stepping in and out with Beatles on that fort. They took down the fort. Core will maybe take like 3% damage. No, it's exactly blocked by the shields. 14 shields. 14 shields.
I was waiting to see, like, okay, how many of these rocks will get thrown in, but now top lane keep front gate will take shots from the top temple. Hogger up in 2, Tracer up in 14.
The Wildheart has 10 seconds until Tracer is back. There's a... They haven't pushed out the wave, so they'll never have that XP. They're actually hoping that 30k steps up too early, and they can take a 19-20 4v5. But they're gonna step back. They don't think they can make it anymore. This is them forfeiting a keep, and a keep wall. That's what the temple will do. And then Wildheart should go bot, get siege camp, get 2 waves, clear out the catapults, get their level 20. And against that, 30k should immediately push to mid keep. So you see now Wildheart wants to take siege camp and bot wave. 30k should now step up, get mid keep. But they still have Bruiser to deal with, so they're showing.
Last 5 shots do go out. A little bit of damage into mid lane as well. There's that Siege Giant camp, and I was just checking Boss really quickly. 2 minute 35 seconds on the cooldown for that one. Tracer up in the top lane, and left side Siege Giants up in 10, so we kind of see a positional movement from Wildheart on the minimap, kind of sitting around this camp that will be coming up in just a moment, as we have Tracer and the rest of 30k grabbing a camp just above. Janna anchoring in the mid. She might just do a shield glare too, just to scout out the enemy.
30k played it safe. They didn't go for mid keep, didn't finish off 2 towers that were nearly dead already. It was a 5 to 10 second window for level 20 of Wildheart. It was too risky. Wildheart now have double siege camp. They're gonna step up. This is tough against Chromie. They need to open the side walls. Zergling is doing that. Burrow charge beyond the gate. Very interesting. But now that puts Iron Skin on cooldown because 30k is playing it exceedingly safe. Chromie is gonna be very good at dealing with these siege camps. There is a Dragon Breath, 3 siege camps left. Good damage still by Wildheart. They wanna... Oh my god, Zergling, he has to bunker. He has to bunker, right?
Zergling so very low, he's taking those tower shots, reduced his armor down to 20, but meanwhile on the
Tracer on core? Yeah.
Yeah, as our observer showed, we do have Tracer already going to core. We have catapults there as well, and we have Tracer clearing out the mini wave. Blaze has Hearth back, rewind from a Nubrak, connecting onto 2, ball lightning from Cassia. She does have the infinite at level 20. We'll keep an eye on that cooldown reduction, 19 seconds on that one. A Nubrak does go down. Tracer still bullying the Blaze over near his core. He does have bunker if he really needs it. Hogger gonna bounce around right now. I'm looking to see his Hog Wild is on cooldown. Double kill, Weary Day, IB should go down. Legacy will fall to the Lunara damage over time, but still, it's a quadra kill in favor for the side of 30k. With Tracer still on core, Zergling cannot clear out enough. Cure is actually going to be able to blink past that. Bunker still saved by the Blaze as we have 36% off this core. Shielding starting to come back, another wave coming in, and Joanna gets the mid-temple. No, they're just rushing across map. Cure avoids the jet propulsion, and ladies and gentlemen, it's looking like we'll have another map over to the side of 30k. Wildheart showing life, signs of life towards the end of this map, but the series, whoa, is looking very, very good for the side of 30k as they find the pentakill to close out Sky Temple, map number 3.
GG, well played. Nice job, 30k. One map away from victory. Seemed like there was a bit of a miscommunication between the offlane and the tank for Wildheart. Haven dove deep behind core to stun 2 backliners, even as Blaze went back, Circling went back to defend against Tracer. Either you go 5v4 for core, or you all back off. And that was unfortunate. But either way, it was really difficult to win there. And 30k did a great job. They deserved this one. It got close, though. Justin?
Yeah, it was very, very close, actually, in the end. I think you're right that the main mistake there for Wildheart is just the miscommunication, sending the Blaze back, sending Zergling back to defend against Cure Tracer. That almost looked like it might have been a mistake for 30k, having Cure back there Cure backdooring on the Tracer, trying to push the waves in. It really felt like the Tracer alone wasn't going to be enough to do that in time, and that maybe a 5v4 is a little bit more valuable. One thing they might not have accounted for, especially on this map in particular, is the core mechanic on Sky Temple is probably the strongest of all of them. It's pretty ridiculous having the tornadoes come out. It just completely splits your team up. If you look to dive people under the core, you're going to be getting completely split from your team, which is sort of what happens there at the end. So it's difficult to fight on the core like that. But we see how quickly 30k can take an advantage and run with it. The very early game was controlled by Wildheart up until this fight, which was for the bottom objective, which was a 3-for-0 for the side of 30k. They transition that into the boss, which they transition into shots, and then they're just massively ahead. Here it felt like Wildheart desperate, knowing that they were down in structures, trying to push for top, but they both get caught. The Blaze and the Anubarak end up getting caught here. Nice boot by Legacy, interrupting the jet propulsion. Something I talked about in one of our drafts yesterday is it's very difficult to play Blaze into a Lucio. If the Lucio is very good, he's going to boop pretty much all of your jet propulsions, as that is your main value in a team fight as the Blaze. And there we have the high five to dodge the cocoon out, to unstoppable the cocoon against Haben. Legacy on the Lucio, showing why this hero is permanently banned against a lot of teams, why it's first picked as a support with all the strong support options available. Legacy showing just why it's so strong, being able to cleanse the cocoons with the high five preemptively, being able to interrupt the jet propulsions from the Blaze. Lucio just making everyone have negative fun because of how much value the Lucio can get. This was Wildheart feeling desperate, trying to get a fight. Level 20, trying to get any kind of fight they can. 30k actually falling to the pressure here. You had Liam going down. It was a nice try by Wildheart to get back into the game here. They needed to do this. 30k really having no business being here. They had the discipline to give the boss, but they didn't have the discipline to not be in this situation and allowing Wildheart to get the engage. So 30k making a little bit of an error there still. Even though they do come out on top, it wasn't the cleanest game for them. I'd argue that Cure pushing top here on Tracer was a mistake that kind of got played into by the side of Wildheart, with Blaze Zergling on the Blaze taking a little bit too much damage, so feeling that he should just go back and deal with the Tracer. They end up in a 4v4 situation here on the core, but the tornadoes are the real difference maker. You had a Nuvarak burrowing in. Those tornadoes are an absolute just pain to deal with if you're trying to go for any kind of fights around the core, and Cure does end up actually creating the pressure. They get the 4v4, the 30k wins, but it wasn't an easy win for 30k by any means. Even though they had a big lead there at the end, 30k had a chance to let Wildheart back into the game, so not indestructible, but they do end up pulling it out in the end.
Well, we're gonna get ready for our next map right here. It could be the final map of the day, actually, because 30K is one map away here, Grubby, from a Season 4 victory, and Wildheart, they gotta pull out all the stops. This is where, and I know I can already feel people rolling their eyes as we're gonna take a look at the map, this is where you Cho'Gall. You have to Cho'Gall, Grubby. You have to, right?
And with the Spider Queen, it's supposedly it's his best maps. All 3 Cho'Gall mains in the world confirm this.
Yes. And
How can there be 3 of them? Wait a second.
That's true. Yeah, one always plays with randoms.
yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to Tomb of the Spider Queen. Could be, as I said, could be the final map. We'll see if Wildheart can rally. Do want to take a look at some of the map records here for everyone at home. 30K on Tomb of the Spider Queen, 4-1. Over on the side of Wildheart Esports, 2-2. Actually, it'd be 3-2. Actually, now that I'm looking at the updated stats, because Wildheart did win earlier up against Oxygen Esports on Tomb of the Spider Queen. What do you think, Grubby? What you thinking?
I think that Wildheart has to win every map in order to give us a game number 6.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Justin,
very
thoughts?
hard-hitting analysis.
Yeah,
Should be
Justin, thoughts on
should be
this?
easy enough to do. Just if
Oh,
they
okay.
can get Sergeant Hammer 3 games in a row, I think they should be able to take out 30K in swift fashion. Or if they do manage to pull out the Cho'Gall. Jokes aside, Cho'Gall actually super strong. I think it is a little weird that we haven't seen much cheese coming out into the finals. We saw the Zergling playing the Lost Vikings on Towers of Doom. That's about as close as we've gotten to an actual like cheese composition. It's been very meta, and we are on a patch that we've had for a while, so that's the main reason for it. But there are still a lot of kind of pocket strategies that you can have available, cool combos between just 2 or 3 heroes that you can pick for the finals, and just comfort picks in general. We'll see now with Wildheart, entire tournament life on the line in the grand finals. If they have anything crazy that they're going to bring out, if they have anything they want to show, now is when they have to do it. So we'll see if they're able to do it. And Tomb is a map where you have a lot of kind of flexibility to do as you please, so we'll see if they're able to find anything cool for us in this game.
Season life is on the line now that we're kind of looking at this this series right here, as we're getting a couple more players into our lobby for Tomb of the Spider Queen. I do think, like, we were talking about cheese, and like, you know, it is a little cheesy, but like things like Gul'dan with Reign of Destruction, I know people might be rolling their eyes. Reign of Destruction actually is a decently good siege heroic. You don't have to sit there and channel it anymore. Gul'dan's rotation and wave clear is easy. You could just go drain build and easily on Tomb of the Spider Queen, grab your 15 regeneration globes to finish out that level 1 questing talent, and then you can get like a solid 30 or so % off of structures with just the Reign of Destruction. So I would like to see some sort of like Gul'dan. Maybe Grubby, we get extra cheesy. We add in some mozzarella, some Colby Jack, some provolone. We get
Demonic
real
Circle.
cheesy. And actually, I was gonna say we pick up a Lieutenant Morales and we start going little juicy pirates. What do you think?
Sounds really good to me. If you like bad.
I do. That's why I bring up all these things. This is why I'm still not Grandmaster and you are.
No, I'm not. I wish. I had a tough day today.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to twist the knife on you there.
Yeah.
But
unironically, Demonic Circle Gul'dan, it's a pretty good, pretty good side pusher. It's an instant disappearing act. I wonder if we'll see the special secret tech from 30K coming out that they showcased against Granite Gaming in the final playday on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Lily Ariel.
Oh, Assassin Lily. I mean, Justin, Madara did have the
May,
highest
wasn't it?
like damage and there was a May in that one too.
Lily Ariel May Stitches.
Perfect team composition. I
Yeah,
hope
see?
that 30K brings it out again. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe one strange pick from 30K, but I'm expecting they're going to close it out or try to close it out as cleanly as possible on the side of 30K. I'm not expecting them to have too much fun here in the draft with what they've been picking, having that working so far. When we did listen to the comms from 30K, they definitely sounded a little bit more hectic than usual. I talked about the many cooks in the kitchen, and I'm not sure if Gordon Ramsay would be proud of their comms in that last game, because it literally sounded like a busy kitchen. That's kind of what it sounded like. So a little bit some nerves coming in maybe for 30K. Not expecting any too many fun picks from 30K coming out. I think they're gonna try their absolute best to close this out.
It's just cattle kicking in the door. Where's the lobster for table 3? It's But we're through our bans here, Grubby. No Sergeant Hammer ban, no Zeratul ban, no Diablo ban. A lot of things are open and available for both teams.
Just grab them all.
Right, gotta catch them all. Here's the
Blaze
storm.
is a good pick.
Yeah.
I think Blaze is a good pick. I mean, Zergling plays it fantastically, and it's too dangerous in the hands of Liam. They have too high of a win rate with Blaze. You just and like it doesn't even say anything yet about where you are going to be going with that hero. So excellent. Mephisto is a repeat from yesterday's 30k.
Yep.
It was attempted to be countered by both Stitches and Tracer. Tracer to harass his spirit, and this is very unknown to Storm League, but Mephisto kind of double lanes sometimes on this map.
Yeah.
He is a ranged assassin that can pick up gems, right, and then teleport back. And Tracer kind of makes that more difficult for him in the double lane, top mid, top mid, top mid. It is going to be a Stitches Gorge to make Mephisto more honest and less pokey. And then you've got the Stitches Junkrat combination power.
But we saw this yesterday, right? Where it was just
Yeah,
like
we did. And
Cattle
Falling
literally just
Sword
yeah,
stopped every single Gorge.
Yep, that's exactly what I was just about to say. I was like, Cattle kind of had the read on this one, so we'll see what happens. That was also the game where Kier played, I was going to say Thrall, actually, my brain, but it was Tychus. He played Tychus, and that was, it looked a lot better than the Towers of Doom game by comparison, Justin, but we are going to see some picks, some bans, thoughts on Tomb.
Yeah, in general, I think the Stitches Junkrat is just extremely strong on Tomb, but we did see Johanna Cattle playing it, getting the Falling Sword value to be able to just cleanse anytime that happens. Falstad was something that I was expecting might be a ban from 30k, because with that in mind, I'm trying to think of like what you can actually pick if you are Wildheart to be able to make this combo still work. I think Falstad is pretty much one of the only things you can use. If the second the hook comes out, you just immediately gust everyone away. Cattle won't even be in range to get the Falling Sword to follow up. So if 30k doesn't pick it here, I'd hope to see Wildheart take that, especially now into a Mouth. That's so Tracer is the obvious pick. They might end up baiting Wildheart into taking the Tracer to deny the combo between the Tracer and the Malfurion, but I really think that the Falstad is kind of the only thing that they can do to make this combo actually still lethal against the Falling Sword coming out from Johanna. And now there's also a Legacy playing Malfurion that is a very, very vulnerable and squishy support. I think the Mouth might also be kind of a counter pick, or a deny pick from Wary.
If they go Falstad on the side of Wildheart, do you think Cure just goes straight? Do you just... let me just nix that question and ask a new question. Okay, that was the question, Justin. That was it. Sorry,
That's the answer.
It's a long day, chat, and we're doing our best. But yeah, Zeratul last pick. I kind of feel like 30k closes this out here, Justin. It's Cure Zeratul.
Yeah, I think that Wildheart might have kind of saw that Mouth last pick come out, or not last pick, but they saw the Mouth come out, and I think that kind of baited them into taking the Tracer, so to deny that combo. I really feel that they needed something else to be able to enable the Stitches. Right now, Stitches hook targets, assuming there's no Falling Sword, which there is to cleanse everybody, Mephisto can E away to at least buy some time. Johanna has her D, Hogger has Unstoppable on his E, Zeratul has infinite blinks. Malfurion is basically your target, so you're looking to hook Malfurion only, who's going to have a lot of people in front of him. He's going to have 3 melees to tank for him. It looks like a very difficult time to be a Stitches in this game. That being said, they do have the Junkrat for the point and click, kind of spit him out on top of the Junkrat mine, so you have the perfect follow-up for it. But Tracer, Rhaegar, and Junkrat are all very, very vulnerable to a Zeratul, and Blaze Stitches, outside of the Junkrat trap on the floor, there is almost nothing to lock down the Cure Zeratul. I'm expecting Cure to just 1v9 this game and win the game by himself on the Zeratul. There's almost no CC for him.
Well, let's go ahead and see what happens here. Justin, thank you for the analysis as always. We could be in our final map of HeroesCCL Season 4. 30k in the blue, looking to close things out and take a first place victory in our grand finals. Liam on the Hogger, Legacy on the Malfurion, Cattle on the Johanna, Cure playing the Zeratul, and Madara on the Mephisto. On the side of Wildheart, looking to continue this series and take us into another map and potentially rally for their own first place. IB on the Junkrat, Haben on the Stitches, Zergling on the Blaze, Mason Blaze to play the Tracer, and Weary Day on the Rhaegar. Gotta get your thoughts here as well, Grubby, as we're looking at the first little scuffle mid lane.
I think Trap will help a bit into Zeratul, but for the most part, this is a very crappy team into Zeratul. Oh, the curse! It is so powerful, these magics must be contained! Yeah, this is pretty sick. Yo, if Johanna was level 4, he could have got the quest already.
I had the exact same thought, Grubby.
Of course we
I was
do.
like,
We're
oh,
quest
cattle would have been
junkies.
done. Yeah. Oh yes. Gotta get those dings.
So, okay, that's pretty cool. But yeah, generally this team, like Rhaegar and Blaze and Stitches almost don't interact with Zeratul. It is cool to have Bunker to save somebody from Zera, but Zera does his damage really fast. Junkrat helps though, I will say, Junkrat helps. The trap, you stand on a sticky wicket, chattering teeth trap. Zeratul cannot press Vorpal Blade. But somehow I fear/feel that Cure can counterplay that. Like, he will just be aware how many traps there could be, whether there is one, and so on and so on. Yeah.
Okay. Little camp to be grabbed for bottom. Cure actually dip dives and dodges the concussion mine right there. Gets hit with the hook. He's going to get bit. He's going to get slammed. But he's going to be alive with
Oh my
175 HP.
That final frag would have actually killed him. The fact that Hook killed Zera once and almost a second time is pretty impressive.
And when we look at the map, I'm just taking stock of who's where, what's going on. It's just Siege Giants in bottom, Bruiser Camp on the right, and just double soak rotation from the rest of 30k as well as Wild Heart Esports, trying to pick up as many regeneration globes for the Stitches as possible on that Hungry for More, and Zeratul looking to finish out the Shadow Hunter as quickly as possible. We do have a very low Blaze in bottom lane, but the fight breaks out in through mid as well. Condemned from Joanna, she gets that Subdue slow. Weary Day going to be going down. First blood to the side of 30k into that. Zeratul now coming in. Now can Haben get away? Nope.
So what happened there is that Stitches Haben, he got a hook on a Legacy. Legacy just pressed Alt-E to cast Entangle under himself. That was a double root. Only Tracer escaped the root sleep. And then everything else happened. Madara actually was able to frag them underneath the spell armor of the wizard camp. That was impressive. And then Stitches couldn't get away once Zeratul showed up. So it started pretty well. I mean, you would think 3v1, you hook Malf. That's a good thing. But they couldn't finish up.
By Zergling. I don't see him getting back beyond his own gate. I think the gems will be picked up, though, so that's at least there's a little bit of a silver lining, if you will, for that one. So no economy dropped on that one. But when we look at the gems, we just now see 30k having enough for a turn-in, as Blaze will respawn in 5 seconds. Liam turning in 11, Cure to turn in 12.
It'd be one of the fastest turn-ins that we see on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Gems
Yeah.
Gems are given from kills as well. They don't quite get the whole thing. 1 gem remaining, and Jana gets it. That's a 322 objective. Sick.
Yeah, it's pretty early. I feel like a lot of teams are still rotating until like level 7, 8 area, and then you can maybe look for a turn-in. Some teams will hold for level 10, but sometimes that can also be a curse in its own sense, because if you're waiting that long, you go through the enemy web weaver phase, they find a kill, you drop gems, and that's your economy shattered. But a hook out onto Zeratul at the top of our screen. Zeratul trying to back away, he goes down. Tracer getting that pulse bomb to make sure that Zeratul does not live.
So many hooks. Really good hooks by Haben.
Yeah.
Really impressive. We haven't seen him play a whole lot of Stitches, but there's nothing this man can't do. Another kill on Zeratul. Quite surprised.
That is actually a little surprising for Cure specifically. Hook onto the Mephisto through mid, but I think he's fine. Over in the top lane, we just have the Joanna and the Tracer brawling out. And Blaze up against the Hogger in the bottom lane. Hogger's around 50% HP, but he gets a bounce out. He's fine. Turn-in is in favor for Wild Heart Esports, as the members of 30k need quite a few gems still. More than half than for the turn-in.
Junkrat interrupted himself. He could see the way the wind was turning. Getting attacked now by Cure. 60% of his life. Cure teleports out. That's a nice concussive on Madara. He's gonna come back there. He's gonna come back. Can they get him?
Madara's getting bullied quite a bit here in this engagement. Tracer does get the damage in. Haben getting very low, though. Zeratul has to blink away. Almost. Oh, Zeratul goes back into the trap. Cure. Oh, no.
Ivy?
Look. Slam.
Oh.
He
what?
blinks. Wait, Liam might be able to get a kill. No, okay, he's not going to.
He wormholed. Wait, how long can you wormhole for? What?
Apparently forever. It's a within 4 seconds.
It didn't feel like 4 seconds.
No, that felt like way longer. But hey, here come the Red Web Weavers for the side of Wildheart, who are ahead in experience.
What the hell? You went back from the top base station, but and he was unmounted. From the top base station all the way to the bottom
I
base
know.
station.
It's absolutely like the way that
Shows what we know.
The mechanical skill of Kira on the Zeratul is always really fun to watch. But let's see. Red Web Weavers for Wildheart. Let's see, can they find major structures with this? A decent siege through bottom lane with Tracer and... Liam's fine. Okay.
Yeah, good damage by Mason Blaze. Purple being dodged by Liam there. Abin and Mason Blaze pushing together. Kind of a funny little push, Stitches and Tracer, not the most common pairing. Caterpillar comes in. There is a Gorge. It's gonna be Falling Sword, I would imagine. Like, I can't see this going any other way.
Yeah. There it is. Okay, I was like waiting for it. I was like, what are you gonna do, Cattle? I can't imagine you'd take Blessed Shield. Hogger is holding. Do we see Hortipult? Do we see Shockwave? I feel like both are good, but there's a hook onto Cure.
Abin, what the hell? He just hooked Cure again? Out of Cloak and Mount.
Haven's got the homing hook for the Stitches. It's going really good. Cure jumps in to get the interrupt onto the turn-in, as both teams have enough for that turn-in. Members of 30k specifically at 55. And Zeratul does finish out his level 1. It's a lot of value for Cure now to be able to blink around a lot more with the cooldown reduction from auto attacks.
Is Wormhole actually 5.25 seconds? Because you can't do it the first 1.25?
That would actually make sense to me, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. Might be.
Yeah, I'd have to play it myself because the wording can kind of be it's a little wonky if it goes one way or the other. Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Big pull in onto Zergling. Cure jumps in. He's got that Might of the Nerzim on a little bit of a cooldown. There was a Riptire out from the Junkrat, and Cure goes down. I cannot believe it. Third kill.
Yeah, like Zeratul is unkillable. Cure Zeratul is doubly unkillable, and yet it has been killed 3 times and threatened another 4th and 5th. This is crazy how Wildheart is able to anticipate his moves.
They're dismantling
and follow
this.
him and take him down.
Yeah.
Sick.
It's well played from Wildheart. You want to jump into their comms for this Webweaver phase?
Oh yeah.
I'm trapped here.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm actually
falling?
coming.
Whoa. Oh, sorry.
There's a map above us, I think. Oh,
No, right here.
Nothing, by the way.
I'm body blocking him.
can you try?
hold.
Don't see Zero.
Can you guys push mid? I'm gonna push top.
Okay.
Zeratul's top.
Okay.
Mid. Top kill.
He has nothing. Stunning. Ah,
Hogger's
he's got a
missing.
CD
Probably
back.
just find us for it.
Can we finish this?
I just finished it. Trap on here, okay?
Yeah.
Standing on trap.
Top. Mid.
Boss is
Go
up
mid.
after this. Yeah, can we look good?
There's one top.
It's behind the wall. I'm just gonna put traps in the middle lane, look for hook.
Can we see this?
Yeah, I want to see.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm pushing Hogger.
바로 maybe?
I'm still queuing this.
Yeah, easy.
Hogger might do. Oh, he's here. He's coming.
Okay.
Let's do bot right now. Zero's not
Yeah,
here.
I'm going.
Okay, I'll get mid.
They got one trap.
IB be safe. Zero.
Yeah, I'm just playing around Haven. He needs traps for a Gorge.
Yeah.
bottom.
Make sure they're cut off, okay?
Zeratul's mid right now.
Yeah, bottom.
I'm tapping and coming.
We got it.
There's a. They're all here. Zeratul's here.
Here.
Try.
I'm still here, but I'm gonna just dump, force him to eat me. Zeratul's in this bush.
Trap here.
I was waiting to see if we get a little re-engagement around that bottom objective or bottom camp right there, but no. Liam's able to get the bounce out. He'll get another Hog Wild out, and Wildheart still just playing literally off of Haben's calls for those hooks.
Yeah, really nice to see Wildheart play like this, but never count out Kyrzera and 30k in general. Would be quite something if Wildheart was able to do it here. We didn't think there's much chance for them into this composition, but they look really good so far. Their forwards are looking suspiciously healthy. Everything unscratched. This car could go right back to the dealer and they wouldn't even know it had been joy-ridden. On the other side, 30k has 5 forwards only and their forwards are quite hurt.
Looking at the turn-in potential here from players. Kata with 32 gems will get those turned in before the hook does connect. A little shield glare as they disengage. 32 out of the 55 turned in, so still another 23 to go, as we'll have 3 to 4 in kills favoring the Wildheart crew. Slightly ahead in experience as Liam soaks up bottom lane. Want to point out Stitches has 20 stacks, so he's got quite a bit of HP. I actually want to look and see. He's got 5,992 HP total, and he'll have the 110% movement speed when unmounted, as we have that 16 talent here being looked up at both sides. I will point out, though, Grubby, 16 for a Zeratul team, that's a huge power spike.
Yeah. Zeratul gets, what, Master Warblade, I guess? Yeah, Master Warblade. Something like third attack is 125% extra auto attack damage. It's pretty insane.
Crazy. We saw Kure use this up against the Falstad player a couple days ago, and just literally like 4 or 5 autos. He was just, Falstad was chunked to nearly 25%. So we'll have to wait till that happens, as turn-in availability exists to the side of 30k already, as I mentioned, and we'll have only 13 gems necessary for Wildheart to get their own Red Webweaver phase at 60, but I feel like this late in the game, Wildheart might want to push out the waves a little bit more before summoning that Webweaver.
DM is turning in. They've got it.
Alrighty. This will push the 16 talent here for the side of 30k. Another hook out from Haben connects onto Zeratul, but no Gorge.
Cruiser camp does get cleared entirely before the blue Webweavers come out, so that's not the perfect timing for Wildheart. Team is checking to see who else is rotating bot. Sees nobody, therefore knows for our top. He'll be relaying that information to his team.
Alright, that 16's hit. This is what I've been waiting for, and it is going to be that Master Warblade, as you were mentioning there, Grubby. We have the the Gorge onto the Mephisto. He actually doesn't get into the Shattering Teeth. The Durance of Hate goes out, will be spread to the Stitch, or just on the Stitches. He does get cleansed, but there's just so much thrown out to try and kill Haben. Haben keeps living through so much damage. The Ancestral already had been used. Weary Day so very low at the top of our screen. Kure wants the kill, but does he go too deep for it? Tracer, yes, is able to punish this Blaze with a huge jet propulsion into the backline. That's going to be 1, 2 members of 30k falling. Madara on this Mephisto shall fall, and this Webweaver phase looked okay for 30k and just fell apart. The economy being shattered as well when it comes to gems for 30k. I think they had back-to-back turn-ins off of this, or nearly back-to-back turn-ins, and that is only 31 in the pockets of 30k. Over on the side of Wildheart, they've got enough for a turn-in. Grubby, can we break down this replay for everyone at home?
Baha, they went from back to back to beg for gems, because they're 4 now. Here's the replay. You saw the full all-in on Stitches. Ancestral Healing comes in and saves him. I still thought he was gonna die. Look at that. The root, his slam kind of missed, but then he was able to get away. Took an Earth Shield from Rhaegar, 14% max health. That's a nice synergy. And then Mason Blaze with the kill. Fantastic job on Zeratul. And then it was just a complete demolitioning. Really sick by Wildheart.
Okay, massive investment through the top lane for Wildheart Esports, as they want to take down Keep plus the... maybe even go core with this. We'll have to see, because this is looking reminiscent of that Tomb of the Spider Queen game before, earlier today, when it was just like, yeah, we were hearing Haben say, like, go in, we gotta end. Kure in the backline, trying to pressure Weary Day. Ancestor Healing just now off cooldown.
He didn't gorge Madara. He must have thought about it, at least.
Zeratul trying to pull the traps away, yeah. So Mason Blaze chases on to Zeratul, misses the Pulse Bomb. Zeratul and Tracer rolling out on the right side as Zeratul gets away, but the boss plus Webweaver ends. That's a falling sword. There's a Gorge onto Hogger, and Shockwave from Hogger. This is an attempted kill onto the Blaze, but he lives with the Ancestor Healing. Riptire from Junkrat. Liam gets hooked in. Liam trying to get the bounce in a different direction, but 27 gems shall fall, as the core shall also take a bit of damage from the boss Webweaver pushing top. Maybe, yeah, just a little bit of damage there, not much.
4%. Dude, Haben is insane. He's been holding out from us with his Stitches, man.
Durance, a lot of damage onto the Blaze. He gets a huge shield, drops the bunker down as well. No 20 talent here. Kure just trying to make some sort of play. Gets hit with the Pulse Bomb once again from Mason Blaze as Haben gets low. That's going to be a potential kill. That's a kill. That's a double kill. 30k needed this to be able to sustain this map right now.
Yeah, they needed that big time. Great job by them in this 4 versus 5. I mean, Blaze just took an insanely big Juggernaut plating damage reduction from the spell armor, then a massive shield, that shield lasts forever. Until it lasts forever, actually. They burned through all that. I think Blaze took like 15,000 damage or something in 10-15 seconds. When you count him saving himself bunker with the Juggernaut armor and then the shield, it's crazy. But Madara burned through it, no problemo. Static shield, 10% max health damage when you Nova someone a lot. That's Electrocution, Clinic, putting on by Madara. Now level 20 will still be reached first for Wildheart, but with 3 versus 5, not very well defend here, and it should even be risky not to overdo the defense at all.
Also, Madara stepping in really deep right there, getting chunked really low as well. No available turn-in, just checking really quickly. Boss is 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Bottom lane, Liam goes to the camp, 17 seconds until up and available. And the Bruiser camp, as it was already grabbed, 3 minutes and 18 seconds. So right now, Cure and friends are looking for 20. The enemy team has responded, and this is what I said.
Oh my god, he anticipated the blink! Oh! What?
A singular hook to just get that kill. Beautifully played. I wanted to note just the master hooker as well for the stitches on the level 20 as well. Liam gets the camp. Is he fine? No, he's not.
No, he's not fine. He's not fine at all. Yeah, he's giga not fine. Just start hearthing, bro. Oh, if he gets the god spin, no.
Womp womp. Okay.
Oh my god, that hook! And the Mason Blaze Tracer?
Yeah, Mason Blaze's Tracer has been insane this game.
Get stuffed, bro.
Because the 20, I get it.
Yeah,
that was clever. That was clever.
Yeah.
But
this.
how and when do Wildheart end? That is the question I think we're all trying to figure out the answer to.
Just get another hook on Johanna, Gorge her. Anticipate the falling sword.
One more good hook combo kill. I really do feel like Wildheart could just end through top, and we continue our best of 7 grand finals. I was just waiting. I didn't know how far the hook was gonna go out. I was just looking at Cat. I was like, oh god, here it comes.
Wildheart goes back on the mid keep. Hogger still down for 10 seconds. Wildheart needs how many gems? 24, 32, 6 gems, 2 waves.
On the opposing side, yeah,
no, 9 gems.
It's a lot more for 30k to get a potential turn in here. So we should expect the red web weavers to come out. Jonah is just physically present, not actually getting any interrupts.
9 gems needed. Wildheart is very close with that turn in. Keep in mind, 30k gets 1 good fight. It will give them the boss, which is up in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
It may seem like Wildheart is leading, but at this phase, a team fight will determine everything.
Oh, a little bit of a pull here. We have a replay of that hook really quickly. God, that is just so well read, and then boom, get stuffed. Back in the present, though, want to take a look and see what's happening here, because I do feel like we're posturing up for a fight. Turn-in is available for the side of 30k. Pulse Bomb goes out. There's the Durance of Hate not connecting either. Hogger with the Hog Wild through a lot of enemies, dealing tickling damage. That's a shockwave onto Mason Blaze. Blaze will also try and back away. Gonna get rooted, gonna get booted, but actually, not booted. He's fine. He's just gonna get rooted. Riptire from Junkrat. No 20 from him. He's just got the cannonballs, so no extra oomph. But here is Webweaver potential. Aben angling for a potential hook here. I'm looking at the cooldown. Okay, no hook goes out. Cure jumps in. A little bit of damage. Oh, Zergling trying to get this channel.
6 gems. 6 gems.
I don't
He's
think
gonna get it.
Yeah, I don't think he gets interrupted. That also is Webweaver bottom lane going right onto a keep, and getting a kill or 2 here will be huge.
Oh.
Madara gonna get hooked. Falling sword. There's gonna be Cure in the back line trying to get something. He gets the Ancestor healing out. He blinks away. He takes a lot of damage. Cure's gotta live. Cattle with getting hooked right there again with the Master Hooker. There's gonna be a Jet Propulsion from Blaze. A lot of damage onto Zergling. Zergling getting very low here. Zergling is going to fall. There's a Gorge onto Madara, who buys a little bit of time, as we talked about in the draft. Now the Webweavers are descending into lane. That's going to be the Hog Wild from the Hogger, but he's on the wrong side of the gates!
No control, another hook! Aben is insane! His hooks have been out of this world, yet they are on this world, so his hooks are essentially alien. It's crazy. Wildheart with the double kill, even as they lose Blaze. This fight was just all kinds of awesome. The bottom Webweaver is taking down the bottom keep. Wildheart has the presence to go for the mid keep now. This could be it. This could be the 3-2.
Oh, Oh, this is looking like it's a 3-2. Mid lane keep will be pushed in. 30 on Hogger, 35 on the Joanna. Zeratul going to try and make something happen here as we have some pings onto the core right now. The Webweaver on core. Haben getting very low. Haben is going to go down, but I don't think that's the concern right now. The concern is going to be Tracer on core. That's going to be Webweavers on core. Ladies and gentlemen, Wildheart continue our best of 7 grand finals. It ain't over yet. We head into a map number 5. GG, well played from Wildheart Esports. An insane series here. It's one of those things where, like, you look at the draft and you're like, okay, here's got Zeratul, that should be it. Like, and I'm sure 30K were sitting there in the draft like, we get Zeratul, this is it for Wildheart. But that's not the case. Haben comes out with the S tier, the God tier hooks, and it's just, I mean, I'm still reeling from that hook of just the read of the blink. That was beautifully played from Haben, and we will continue this series here. Justin, gotta get you back in the mix to break down everything that is Tomb of the Spider Queen.
What a crazy game, especially that last fight there. That could have went pretty much either way, and whoever won that fight almost just wins the game automatically. Zergling was able to sneak the turn in amongst all the chaos at the start of that, and then the hog wild behind the gate. It really started feeling during that game like 30K was kind of falling apart. We didn't listen to their comms during that, but we listened to Wildheart, and they sound super chill, super confident, which is not what you'd expect from a team that's down 3-1 in the series. Wildheart sounded like they were just kind of vibing, like they weren't worried at all, and this is before they really had a big lead in the game, so it really does feel a little bit like the momentum may have shifted here. 30K seeming just really on edge and really doing uncharacteristic things, doing things out of emotion, it felt like. Not the objective, calm, cool 30K that we've come to expect. And Wildheart in the comms sounding super calm and collected. Here, just eating every hook. Haven absolutely just got his eyes out for Cure. Stitches typically is a very bad matchup into Zeratul because he doesn't have good, reliable lockdown. You should be able to just blink out of the hooks. Not if Haven predicts where you're gonna blink, I guess. Even in that, like the top hook where he predicted it, ridiculous. Mason Blaze with the follow-up on the Tracer, insane. Mason Blaze playing very well on the Tracer. If Haben didn't have such a standout performance, he would be my MVP, but Haben absolutely deserving of that MVP. His hook set up everything for the team. 30K's composition was a little weird, but I thought because it's 30K, that should kind of work. They did have the Mephisto with the Zeratul, so not a lot of damage to be able to take out the really tanky members of the Stitches and the Blaze. And we saw that into the late game. Here, this was a really nice like attempt of an engage that gets... this was such a back and forth engage. Madara finally hitting a good Durance here, so it seems they use everything onto the Stitches, but their composition really struggles to play front to back on the side of 30K. And as soon as Haben survives here, you have Wildheart starting to just win the fight in the sustained fight. They wait for like the absolute moment that they can't like continue. Here gets deleted by Mason Blaze. As soon as they overextend even a little bit, Zergling comes in with a huge jet propulsion onto the backline. That was the fight that started breaking the game apart for 30K. After this thing started falling apart, Wildheart getting that fight and just transitioning that into so much for them. It really felt like a lot of desperation for 30K after that moment. I've got to be critical of Madara on the Mephisto. There were a lot of missed Durances, just completely raw. Also Cattle on the Johanna. In the last time we saw a comp like this where the Johanna had the ability, where Cattle had the ability to go the Falling Sword, he could just wait and just chill and his team would kind of passively win for him. When you have a Zeratul Mephisto against a Tracer Junkrat, your team is not going to passively win for you. You need to be starting fights, you need to be engaging, and you're unable to... Cattle was unable to do that. He, quite frankly, got tank diffed by Haven in this game, so... It's just this was the Haben show, the Mason Blaze show. IB Ting's always having the follow-up. You heard him in the comms saying that I'm just going to stick with the Stitches. I'm going to stick with Haben because he needs my follow-up. They all knew what they were doing. They would play the map with their wave clear advantage. They would delete the vision, so 30K never really knew where Haben would be. And then the Haben from Fog, always just looking, always fishing for these hooks. Even with all this mobility, all this safety, he still just hit so many hooks that 30K did not have a response. So Wildheart looking absolutely nuts in this game.
Wildheart looking good, and they continue to rally in this best of 7 grand finals, showcasing that 30K is not just some, just showcasing that they're not an easy target for 30K, and it is going to be really, really, really strong play so far. I'm excited about this one, Grubby. We are getting ready for another map here, as this is going to be, I can't believe it, like, this is really, really fun. I really cannot wait for this next map. Thoughts from that last game, or just even takeaway from Tomb, because I'm still reeling and just, like, I'm sweating for 30K because those hooks were just constant from Haben.
I'm never gonna again bemoan a draft of Stitches against Zeratul in Storm League. Like, oh, I've had that so often. Like, oh, why do we have a Stitches against a Zeratul? You can't do anything. But apparently you can. Apparently you can. You just have to be as good as Haben. And he wasn't just anticipating wormholes. He was anticipating initial blinks. It was really, really sick.
Overall, well played from Wildheart, and they continued the run through the grand finals here is in our best of 7 series. I'm super excited about this next map. I really am excited about our next map that we're going to be having here, because it's just continued. Like, the storyline will continue throughout this series of just like, okay, will Wildheart take this map? Can they continue the series, or will 30K shut it down? Like, that's the big question that we have to answer. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to answer that question, because we have to take a short little break, let these players stretch their legs and get a glass of water, as well for us to go stand in front of a fan, because it is way too hot in our stream room. So we're going to take this short little break. In the break, I encourage you to hit ! prize pool. We are so very close to $16,000, which is going to be going 100% to the players. First place taking 35%. So be sure to use ! prize pool in chat. But as I said, when we come back, can Wildheart close out this best of 7 grand finals, or will 30K close out this best of 7 grand finals, or will Wildheart rally and potentially upset? Don't go anywhere. This is HeroesCCL, presented by Wisdom. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to HeroesCCL Season 4 Grand Finals. My name's Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justing, and also a warm welcome to everyone watching at the Wisdom Gaming Studios in Mall of America. Hope you're all enjoying the games, hope you're enjoying some great food, and I hope you're all ready for another amazing map, because we have broken $16,000 because of your generosity. Thank you, everyone, so much at home for pushing that prize pool further and further for these players. But of course, let's go ahead and get right into this. We need to find out where we're going to for our next map, because this series, it's on fire. 30K needs one map to win, but Wildheart, they're not going to give that over easily, as we saw in Tomb of the Spider Queen just now. And Wildheart, they're going to be taking us to Cursed Hollow, as 30K has opted in for first pick priority. Some map stats for anyone that are wondering. This is going to be Cursed Hollow, a map record of, and I can't even find it on my stat sheet. There it is. It's 2-1 for the members of 30K and 2-1 for Wildheart. So Grubby, we got even stats between these two teams.
Yeah, and 30K ran Diablo here quite often. They've run Chromie here. These are some of the picks that they've liked. And for the rest, I guess usual suspects. But Diablo seemed to be high priority for them on Cursed Hollow, and Chromie as well, which makes sense. They can really make use of the walls and the tight squeezes. So something that Wildheart will have to keep in mind going into this. How much did you say the map score was for Wildheart on Cursed Hollow?
2-1 for actually both of them.
Interesting. It'll be really close. I'm excited.
I'm excited about this one as well. Justin, thoughts on the Cursed Hollow map for our 5th map in this best of 7 series?
So far, the team that's gotten first pick has won each game. Each map pick has lost. So if the trend continued there, 30K would win. It would be the 4-2 scoreline. That being said, I'm not sure if that'll be the case. Wildheart looks very hot coming off the last match. I'm hoping that we go the full distance. I'm hoping that we can see, 2 more games come out here, regardless of who wins. But Wildheart definitely has the momentum, and it has felt like 30K, kind of that aura of invincibility might be falling off a little bit. It feels like they might be having the nerves come to them. They are the favorites, and having not dropped a single series and being in the grand finals and beginning to lose a little bit, that can really affect your mental. If things are going great when you're in the kitchen and you've got all your chefs and all the food is working out perfect, everything's working perfect, you're handing it to your teammate, it's all great. But when things start falling apart, that can change very quickly. And if you're not used to experiencing that, if you don't deal with that kind of in scrims, or you don't deal with that in just regular season CCL matches, you might not know what to do when you're in the grand finals and it starts happening for the first time. So 30K with kind of a reputation to uphold, it's a lot of pressure that can't really be understated, just how much pressure that is. And Wildheart, from the underdog position, they're kind of chilling, because there's no expectations, right, for Wildheart. So the nerves should be a little bit more for 30K in this situation.
I mean, the expectation for me always is which team will choke all, but that's an expectation that will never be met, probably. So we're going to go ahead and get into our first couple picks, some bans. Yes, Grubby?
Should be Lucio here, I would imagine, for 30K. I mean, they could do Rhaegar if they want to focus more on other picks, and then take Rhaegar on the 2-3 for some camp clear. Can be incredibly valuable. It's going to be Brightwing. Okay, Does Wildheart now go with Lucio? I find it really good on Cursed Hollow. You've always got wall ride.
Yeah. Is it one of those things though? Does Mason Blaze want to play it because it's how practice is it? Like, is it one of those things where like we
Weary
don't?
Day.
Or Weary Day. My apologies, but it's like it's one of those things. Is it practice? Like if you don't practice it in scrims because you're never gonna get it and you're practicing other stuff, maybe it's one of those things where you just let it go and you focus onto the Rhaegar, which I do like a lot. Blaze really good from Zergling. Had a really good showcasing in that Tomb of the Spider Queen map. But of course, 2 more picks coming out from 30K here, Justing.
Very, very strange to have the Lucio go just completely unpicked when it was a first pick priority for both teams, and even first ban from the second pick when not giving it to Wildheart when they were in first pick, specifically banning that out. Sergeant Hammer is kind of the weird thing that's still left available here. They do have the Chromie ban, which is a target ban against Madara, but it is also a counter to Sergeant Hammer, and we saw that on Towers of Doom. They banned the Chromie early on. They take the Hammer in the second rotation. The expectation is for 30K to just ban that.
Yeah.
Not expecting 30K wants to deal with another Mason Blaze Sergeant Hammer. He played quite well on it. He was very slippery and difficult to really lock down at any point. Tracer banned for Wildheart. Zeratul banned out as well previously against Cure. Probably the Hammer ban, and this does leave the Tyrael up if Mason Blaze wants it later in the draft.
Do you like the idea of a later game Thrall as well for Cure? But Grubby, any thoughts on the bans and the future picks we could have for Cursed Hollow?
I think it'd be quite smart to go Tyrael now. Going triple frontline against Anubarak has proven effective time and time again, and Tyrael is one of the better ones in that 3-man. The biggest weakness is sometimes that you lack on wave clear. If you go Tyrael Falstad now, you've got a backline damage dealer, a global, you have Rhaegar, you've got Blaze. It would be very possible, but this is totally fine. I mean, we're thinking along one track, they're thinking along millions of tracks, strands within the strands of destiny. And Myrddin, Greymane, Rhaegar, Blaze are fantastic pushing heroes. I love Myrddin into Anubarak because he wins the one-on-one hard. Auto attacks are Anubarak's main counter. Myrddin is hard to blow up from a combo as well. And Greymane is really good with Anubarak, so they took that off the table too.
Gust from Falstad is going to be strong, and we'll see a Cassia come out, an auto-attack heavy composition, but the Cassia also provides some blinds to pair into the Polymorph, the Chain CC from Anubarak, as well as Hogger. I'm liking what 30K's drafted, but still, Justing, Wildheart Esports will have a fairly strong draft, even without knowing this last pick.
Yeah, we'll see what Wildheart picks. I do prefer Wildheart's draft right now. I've really not been a fan of the Anubarak lately, especially into this tanky team. You have also now Cure playing something that he's not going to be super comfortable on, which is strange to me. They have the Thrall last pick come out, so again, more punish for the Anubarak, and not a lot of things that punish the Thrall. If 30K would have had any inclination to pick Thrall, that would be likely completely evaporated when they see the whole comp of Wildheart besides their last pick. Picking it into the Myrddin would be impossible, into the Rhaegar totem, the Blaze slows too much, but there's really nothing on the side of 30K that does that to this Thrall. There's the Cassia blind, which is a little annoying, and there's the Brightwing polymorph, but that's pretty much it. So Mason Blaze should have a pretty good time on the Thrall, most likely just bullying cattle on the Anubarak specifically. 30K not having Cure on something super comfortable. They do have the global advantage with the Brightwing and the Falstad, so that's something that they can look to play through and just focus a little bit more on the macro game, as Falstad will be able to pretty much confidently, safely 1v1 against most of the heroes of Wildheart. But in all the games, and I guess both the games 30K has lost, the burden of execution has been heavily on Cattle, on whatever he's playing. And in the games where they really need him to take risks and step up and go for engages, he has been failing them. So this is kind of a situation where that's not completely the case. They have the double ranged, but one of the ranged is Cure, and that's not really his strong suit. So it's a lot of execution on 30K. I expect them to try to win the game through macro and not through team fights.
Well, thank you, Justin, for the analysis. Let's introduce our teams here for Cursed Hollow on the left-hand side. Still trying to close out this series. We have 30K, Liam on the Hogger, Legacy on the Brightwing, Falstad to be played by Cure, Cattle on the Anubarak, and Madara on the Cassia. Over on the side of Wildheart Esports, we've got Zergling to be playing Blaze, IB-Tings to play Greymane, Haben on the Murd, and Mason Blaze on the Thrall, and Weary Day on the Rhaegar. Grubby, Wildheart is 2 maps away from taking Season 4 of CCL's first place. The members of 30K, they just need this map right here. It's tense, but Wildheart, I honestly think they can do it. I'm rooting for Wildheart here. I'm rooting for an 11-game day. What do you think?
I think Wildheart has the edge, but I'm hesitant to say anything in too sure methods, but I do think they have the edge. I like their draft quite a bit into what 30k has, and we'll see where the rest of it goes. Ace of Blaze, oh my god, he did the monster math.
For anyone that doesn't know,
yeah.
typically like players sidestep and they're moving back and forth. So instead of doing any of that, he just stood still and the Q was missed. That's the reason we're giggling about it. For anyone,
No, he wanted to kill the tower. He
just
Thrall was blocking Q shots.
I read it
and giving
completely
Q
different.
press. Yeah, he wanted to finish that tower, so Thrall was like, "I'm not going to move," and then he just shot right past him. It's one of those cheesy action films where it's like, "Ha! You missed, Mr. Bond," and Mr. Bond is like, "Did I?" And then the water tower falls over on top of the villain.
So that's very specific, is it? Did you watch Dr. No recently?
No.
That's kind of the. Anyways, there's a water
No.
tower thing in Dr. No. Anyways, camp on the left-hand side of our map is going to be Cassie and friends. We still have Falstead up against the Blaze in the top lane, building out those level 1 stacks. He's got the 16 stacks already on the Gathering Storm, 1 minute 46 in.
Not bad at all. Bruiser camp being delayed. Wait, how long is he gonna delay that? The answer is very long. Ogre could be out there on the map living his best life, but 2 minutes is really early to cap it. You want that Bruiser camp to start going out at 2:40. Make it a distraction against the tribute.
And Falstead does fly into bottom lane. That's... So the assumption is if Falstead flew into bottom, he's just going to stay down here and split soak because this is the furthest point from the objective phase. So we might just see Cattle and friends delay things out around the objective, and we'll see Falstead split push gain extra experience, and this will be the first objective given by 30k. Maybe they get a couple delays onto the enemy, but now, that's a great barrel roll and read. Haben almost looking for a gank.
Pure on ranged. On Falstad. He's gonna find some good gusts, I'm sure. I love the combination of Thrall and Greymane.
Yeah. I wonder if it's it should be Sunder for this Thrall as we're as we're looking at it.
You wanna reset Cassia's armor. Like, it has to be Sunder.
Zergling. The two tanks are in the bushes next to each other. Haben reads that Cattle's there, and Cattle just pokes out. We should have one interrupt onto the objective with an Impale. There it is. Falstead still pushing up against the Thrall in the bottom lane, as we have the mid lane camp pushing in favor for the side of Wildheart Esports, and Cattle and Haben still going kind of back and forth around the objective, with a burrow onto Zergling and top, a blind onto him as well from Madara. We do see a retreat ping coming out, and it's probably from the side of 30k. As that is Rhaegar going for the channel. I don't know if Hogger will bounce in and try and delay. Doesn't look like it.
Nice job, Zergling. Oh, very nice job. Wildheart circling with the train collision. And then Haben with the Stormbolt, the Skull Crackers. No, he has heavy impact. Never mind, just Stormbolt. Heavy impact missing Cassia?
Yeah, that's what she is slowed by something, but it might have been the totem too.
Yeah, it must have been the totem, because Weary Day went for totem build. Not going for that Purification Nova / Wolf Run build that we've been seeing quite a lot.
Okay, so we should expect the Earth Grasp totem. Falstead, pretty standard. Most heroes are pretty standard across the board. Bet of Barbs for the Anubarak. He's not going to be going into the Shed Exoskeleton for the movement speed to pair into the level 1 extra armor from the Nerubian armor, which is going to give an extra 25 on top of the base 40.
It's a really strong 65. Even though he's mostly against a physical attack team, I still think extra armor is good.
Oh, yeah.
Now you get the shield from 7, you get the armor from 1, and then some slows from 4. I like the build.
Our next objective phase is up and available. Falstead's still in the bottom. I think he checked the bush and saw the Murden with the hammering right there, so Kier playing it safe. Quickly checking. He actually just tapped well. Bosses across the map, top and bottom, will be spawning. It's 5 minutes into the game. This is the standard start, so the expectation for me is objective ends, the team split and grab bosses and trade. That's what we've seen in the past, but we'll see if that is what happens here. Grubby, it's a channel time.
Yeah, Zergling kind of has to stay top because of the siege camp. He's gonna try to interrupt Brightwing, but he couldn't. Maybe things goes down. Brightwing comes in to the rescue as well. So this is gonna be an aggressive steal while Brightwing gave up top. That's an interrupt by Haben.
Falstead actually flies immediately to top lane right behind the Blaze to try and get some pressure onto him. Polymorph, Impale, Liam gets the channel. Meanwhile, over in top lane, Blaze is actually winning up against the Falstad, it's looking like, as we do have those 10 talent tiers first to the side of our 30k crew. Gust, Cocoon, Lightning Ball, we do have the Blink Heals, Hogger holding, probably Shockwave, could see Hortipult as well.
Your predictions were correct, but I didn't expect 30k to get the tribute in that manner, and I must admit I didn't see how Greymane died.
It was a phase shift in from Brightwing. I think she got the polymorph, and then there was just enough sustained damage between Cure and the CC of Cattle. I think there might have been a staggering blow as well from Liam in there. So it was just really just good collapse overall from 30k onto a single target, able to lock someone down. And there's the boss trade that as I mentioned, tribute spawning bottom left, favorable position for 30k. Will Wildheart try and step in, or will they just go for the siege through top, amplified by boss?
Go core? Question mark for Wildheart. They're looking at it. Mason Blaze steps up. Yeah, I think they're gonna go straight for the keep. They're accelerating the pace of the game by making this decision.
So is Cassia.
This is where having a...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Cassia picks up a bit of XP, right? It's actually 30k wants to slow it down. They get the tribute. They're gonna go for the active defense. This is where Brightwing as a healer comes in. Instead of Lucio, you can channel and still come to anyone's aid.
Staggering blow. Liam's done with that camp. The fort through bottom will fall to the boss. Top lane, we do have the clear out from 30k, as it still sits 0-1 in kills, or 1-0 in kills, favoring 30k, 11 apiece. And that's going to be more leveling to be had as we have our next tribute spawning top left. This is another favorable position for the side of 30k. We could see this blue team grab curse as boss and bottom is approaching the keep front gate with a decent wave right behind it.
So 30k has favorable position and vision because of the watchtower, but what Wildheart does have, they took Bruiser second, they can clear a Bruiser first, and the siege camp, bottom right, is actually only 12 seconds away. So that's gonna sync up really nicely with an annoying distraction for 30k as they're trying to defend the tribute. I would love to see Zerkling go there now. I feel like he's missing it. I don't think him pushing out this wave is as good as taking the siege. But maybe they're really just focusing on 13, ignoring the siege camp.
Well, do you want to jump in?
Going? Abby thinks he's thinking about going for it. Yeah, let's see exactly what's cooking in the kitchen and jump into Wildheart comms.
In we go.
We think they're right. They're doing easies. Enemy easy.
Come up.
They don't see me. I'm
No
coming
Q.
I'm coming from underneath. I'm coming from underneath.
Cassia.
No Gus. There's no Gus. I'm trying to bunker.
hold on.
Bunker.
Finish.
Bunker if you need it. Burn.
Fall side below.
Long.
Maybe you track out.
I click. You guys.
Yeah.
Look at Hogger.
Yeah. Still looking. Finish him. Can we get him or no?
I have a slow.
Yeah, we can get him.
I'm dead. You guys trade kill maybe?
No, I don't. This one. Everyone.
Do we have pre-taps? Can we just go tap?
We can give. I guess.
We can.
put the normal.
An attempted trade kill right there. I gotta say, dear Lord, Liam got the S million tier bounce right there through that little corridor, Grubby, and then right through the person channeling. He never stopped bouncing. He bounced for a solid 5-6 seconds there, and that is cursed to the side of 30k, and Falstad splits to bottom, Hogger to mid. Things are looking good for 30k here on Cursed Hollow.
Yeah, that was a really good bounce and escape from Liam there. Wildheart, they kind of seem split. On the one hand, you had Blaze circling, seeing Falstad Cure coming up from the side, and as he announced that he was unspotted. Then you had the 4-man versus 4, and then, is it inexplicably? I mean, I guess it is explainable. Haben ditched his team and tried to go for the Falstad in a 2v1. That didn't work out. Then he got gusted into the team. Oh, nice Stormbolt, Cassia.
Cassia getting hit with a Sunder. There's a lot of damage. Ball Lightning does come out. Madara still living. Legacy's healing on this Brightwing is just amazing. Liam with a pretty good bounce.
Cure is not here. He's just straight up not coming. Heavy impact on Liam.
Yeah. It just Cure's like, y'all keep fighting. I'm gonna go get a keep with a curse. He actually gets keep front gate right now. Siege Giants in top lane getting some value as well. All in all, a really good curse phase for the side of 30k and a good team fight. But we actually take a look back into mid. Seems like a fight continues.
Yeah, Fort should be really low, not going down. It's just about getting saved. So top keep wall gone, bottom keep wall gone, mid fort gone, top fort gone. This was a great curse for 30k. Wildheart, they tried assassinating the Cassia. They managed to survive through the Brightwing cleanse, got the second layer of CC with the Sundering, all in her, and just couldn't get enough reach on her. That was a 5v4, no defender's advantage though, because the fort is shut down. In fact, there was probably a little bit of attacker's advantage, some minion wave or whatnot. But overall, not a disaster for Wildheart. They're now up 1 tribute, equal on XP. And while they are down on forts, forts essentially function as pocket experience. Well, actually, that's not true anymore. These days they give passive XP. So, yeah, that's not true anymore. But, yeah, Wildheart is still in a kind of okay position. Now, for 30k, they're in a really prime spot to start thinking about their retirement. Like, thinking about the level 20s, you know, the golden years. Take this boss, push in, do some global, do a safe defense, keep all the forts alive, rinse and repeat macro plays, give 1 tribute away, fight for another, and then level 20 will be right around the corner. They can play this safe.
I'm looking at the next tribute spawn. It's bottom center of the map, which is actually a pretty good spawn spot for the members of 30k, as they still have their fort available. They can retreat and grab well if they need it for the sustainability. I wonder if actually 30k does contest this next objective that will be popping up in the bottom fairly soon. It's 2-0 in kills, 17-16 apiece in the levels, as bosses will be cleared out in their respective lanes. Bottom boss gets a couple slaps on that keep. Top lane boss is going to get a little extra as well. Falstead, I want to point out, maneuvered through mid, got a big hammering out onto the fort and takes that down. So we have periodic catapult pressure through top, mid, and bottom against the side of Wildheart Esports, and some passive experience gain to 30k.
Wildheart needs to fight tooth and nail for every tribute. If they can get 2 consecutive tributes, they may beat the race to level 20. But if they give away a single one, it's going to be tough.
Flight Gust is available for Falstead. Liam looking for a bounce to just kind of end up in the back line. Doesn't get it there. Look at Kier, though. Look at where he's floating. He's going to be going back into mid lane for another wave with the hammering really quickly. He's also got the cooldown reduction from his level 13 on the Flow Rider as well. So throwing out these hammerings and not taking damage. He's already got the hammering back up. I'm going to keep an eye on that one. It's he threw one out like 3-4 seconds ago. It's already back, so it's very, very fast cooldown reduction. Cure constantly pushing up these waves. I love it, Grubby.
Yeah, I love it too. Top lane is still pushed out as well. They try to go for the Cassia assassination once again, but once again Legacy saves him. This time not enough. The reach was there to get the follow-up kill. Wildheart, they get a kill, but there's always a but. Cure is killing the middle 2 towers. Top is pushed up against them as well. Shockwave as an interrupt? Just buying time, right?
Yeah.
This is going to delay the next tribute, which means level 20 is even more likely to be reached for 30k.
And 30k, they're very much investing into that 20 talent tier, the retirement talents, if you will. Here, just getting those waves with the hammering constantly. Will he fly in? He is going to fly in. Look at the position. He's in the bush right ahead. That's going to be a really good gust into the enemy team. No? Where's the gust, Cure?
Well, he didn't want to do one of those aggressive gusts where you don't know how it's going to end up, because you're against a melee team, so 90% of gusts should be used for disengage, not for engage. And then, of course, when you have Mighty Wind Tunnel, then things really change up. Then it becomes a ranged mosh pit.
That's fair.
Now, Wildheart is in a situation where they can try to get the curse, but it might actually be a curse in disguise if they get a curse, no blessing, because if they get the curse, they get the whole thing going, they're most likely going to be level 19.3 against 20.
Yeah.
And then they can't use it. And the waves are kind of pushed right now, so I feel like even if Wildheart could somehow fight pre-20, they should not want to do it, and they should give this tribute up, and that's exactly what they are doing.
They definitely recognize that right there, as we're going to go ahead and continue to wait to see how this map unfolds. Do you want to take a look and see camp timers? Siege Giants just now coming back on the top left. Siege Giants bottom right are going to be in 2-minute 30. Boss on the bottom, actually bosses respectively 1-minute 30 each. Knights, the Bruiser camp, up and available on the side of Wildheart. Sorry, 30k, and Wildhearts is going to be 37 seconds away. So this is kind of one of those moments where it's like Wildheart, they just kind of step out a little bit, try and pick up that experience, but 20 talent tier is here for the side of 30k. Infinite Ball, Lightning, Wind Tunnel, Rewind, Blink, Heal, Invisible Friends. Hogger, I'm looking at you. Liam, what are you leaning into? That last no control on Tomb of Spider Queen, I don't know if that put... I gotta be honest, that last no control, that did not look like a Liam no control that I've seen in the past. But we'll see what he goes into. Upgrade on Shockwave, or... there it is, shoot no control.
No control. Now, Greymane tends to really shred a no control in Hogger, and Wildheart has shown that they know that you should split against it in order to make the travel time more and the damage connection time less. Nonetheless, it is still an unstoppable that can dodge Stormbolt and whatnot and Sundering, and if you're full on rage, it can still be a powerful damage dealer, and Lightning Rod, distraction. Cure, pushing in Bruiser Camp.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's got 50 seconds on Flight. He used it to join from bottom to mid really quickly, and actually Cure will stick around for this. Okay, I was wondering if he was just going to split soak the entire time. Gust from False Step with the Wind Tunnel to interrupt the objective. Though I want to point out, mid lane still has that camp pushing in. That keeps starting to take some permanent damage.
Yeah, that keep is going to die. Like, straight up it's going to die. Wildheart knows it. They're going to give it up. They're looking for an opportunity. That's heavy impact on Falstad. He barrel rolls away.
Weary Day with the channel. No interrupt just yet. It seems like exactly as Grubby predicted. The curse comes through, but the keep goes down.
That gust wasn't so good. The next one has to be good. And 30k needs to earn their way to the next gust. That is their main win condition. Sundering, because they really are trying to make a play. That was a Bolt Sundering. Yeah, Bolt Sundering.
That's a 80-second cooldown total, so 69 seconds on it currently, as that mid lane still pushing in. The wave may, the minion wave may be 0 HP or 1 HP, but the camp is not, and that's still pushing on towards the core. I don't think it's going to end game, but still, it's one of those things where it's like, you have one wave that's not getting value. Bottom lane, though I want to point out, will get the fort for the allied team, so there is one gain from this objective phase. Now, boss. This is kind of telegraphed to the side of 30k. The Stormbolt misses Liam. Here comes the phase shift. That's not going to connect in time. The Wind Tunnel, a little shy.
Well, that was really sick. Stormbolt didn't connect, but Jet Propulsion did. Can Merlin stay alive? Yes. Yes, he can, and yes, he will. There's a Cocoon. There's a Root. Sundering not available. Go for the throat is. Jet Propulsion. Go for the throat.
Battle just gets chunked way too heavily right there. We are waiting to see exactly. There's the dive in with the Razor swipes. We still waiting to see when the go for the throat will be utilized. It won't be because he's dead. Right wing will fall.
Oh my god.
Cure's got some decent damage, but Weary Day's able to back away.
Was that a hammering?
Oh, that killed the Greymane? I do believe so, yeah. Cure...
Yeah, he was like, oh my god.
I don't know why he was still there, actually. He kind of like went back into the enemy team's face. All right, 4 members fall on the side of 30.
Ending. You have to end. You have to end, right? Like, what are the cooldowns for Weary Day here? He's got some heals. Wait, they're not ending. They're gonna go for boss.
All right,
oh my god.
This does give an opportunity for 30k to get back into this game because mid lane keep is down.
Oh.
One good fight for 30k, it's GG.
Baha, the reason they stopped Siege Camp even though they were halfway, is because they want a double boss. They think Siege Camp Keep does not win the game. Siege Camp Keep has you running with your tail between your legs away from top lane. If you go for Siege Camp Leave, they fear they might be too late. But shouldn't they have gone bottom boss though?
Bottom, keep front gate still has a tower. Maybe it's the siege that's already gone through top. I'm actually not 100% sure on the call as to why top lane boss immediately. No, because it's not even a faster rotation. It would have been faster to bottom.
Well, if you go past the fort or
and
you're super visible, you take some shots, you take some damage.
Yeah, there's 4 dead on the side of 30k, so I feel like they could have done it, but that's not the case. What the case is going to be a boss through bottom that's onto an exposed keep. We have the siege, this boss in top lane, which should be mostly cleared in lane. A couple autos onto the keep and top, but it shouldn't fall.
Let's see, 8-second timer for stun, you said? 53, let's see if that's the case. It's gonna only do 7 auto attacks or something on the fort. It's actually exactly 8 seconds.
Did you see what Liam just did? He put the loot horde out, so the boss actually gets knocked back ever so slightly, and then the boss has to walk around it. It's just a little bit of, it buys a window for 1 or 2 autos to be mitigated by that repositioning. So I thought that was a little cool tech at the end of that clear. But here comes Falstad. He's got the flight. 1 interrupt onto Zergling.
This is a scary camp to fight over for Wildheart. I'm not sure they should want to do that. Haven on the flank gets staggering blowed.
Yeah, he is that little corridor is not the best place to be. He could try and dwarf toss out. We do have the channel to the side of that was Wildheart who got that. Excuse me. Okay.
A good call out from Twitch chat as well that with Greymane being dead, they don't have enough core damage. I mean, Thrall Rhaegar are fine, Murden is fine, but
that's a good point.
Yeah, they could have done Siege Camp, then Keep, then Boss. I feel like they could have maybe done it, or Siege Camp and then Boss. But yeah, they did what they thought was best. It was a complicated thorny situation for sure.
Circling, double stun, polymorph, good night. No, Cure, why'd you save him? Cure, come on!
I don't think that was it. There's a sundering.
Lot of blue bars are falling low.
Kill.
Cure just might have actually helped Wildheart take this map.
Yeah, I think so.
That was unfortunate of a gust. Yeah, that should be game. We should be heading into another map.
Yeah, wow, Bahamut, we're going to the final map.
Holy crap, in HeroesCCL history, the first grand... No, Cure, you can't. Wait, can he? Wait, can... Because they still have to go through keep and top. Can he?
Stop it.
Can he?
Stop it.
The copium! The copium!
No.
Cure, just go core and win the game. Come on, no one's gonna stop you.
He has Gust in 8, so just kill him in 6. Mason Blaze, very low. Oh, he took a Frostwolf, Resilient Wolf on the minions. He healed up a lot from that. There's a Gust. There we go.
Okay, this buys seconds. This buys seconds. Weary Day gonna go down to the hammering fadeaway shot, but...
King of the Hill, Murden, Haven. Dude, this is insane what Wildheart is doing here. When they took down Oxygen, I wasn't sure if they were going to be a worthy match against 30k, but here they are now in a 3-3 score, and it will all come down to the final map. It's so crazy how this has gone, and they came back from behind as well on this map. Incredible.
Justin, I gotta throw it to you, bud, because I got nothing to say beyond don't gust, Cure. Why?
Yeah, let's go game 7, Cure.
Let's go game 7!
Have that unlucky gust there at the end. I'm not sure what... He kind of misread the situation, I think. It was... Yeah, it feels like 30k, in general, their strategy was to, you know, have Cure do the split pushing on Falstad, which was kind of the expectation. I was worried that that's the way team fights would go in a 5v5, and Wildheart, until level 16, were really struggling to get that 5v5. That was kind of the story of the game, was Cure splits on Falstad, Wildheart desperately tries to take the fights while 30k just plays around and stalls. And they never really look for any engages, they just stall and they trade bosses, and they allow Cure to kind of do his thing on Falstad. They keep doing that until that final moment. Finally, 30k has gained the courage. They see the Zergling isolated by himself in the middle lane. Cattle goes, this one looks safe enough. Here I go. He goes in. Cure says, I don't know what Cure says, but he gusts him away. An unfortunate kind of miscommunication there. This is the start of the fights, the initial engage here with the globals in, getting the value, getting IB Tings here, being able to get an objective for 30k. But they don't get any. They get one more trib throughout the rest of the game. There's almost no, they get 2 more after that. But it's almost all Wildheart pretty much throughout the entire game. It's Wildheart trying to force these fights, and 30k mostly just running away, allowing Cure to get split push. But you see when they actually do 5v5, it's just bad for 30k with them against Wildheart. Like Wildheart just completely destroying them in the 5v5s. At level 16, when they focus Cassia, they can actually get it. This was very uncharacteristic of Liam. You had Liam dodge the Stormbolt, or the Stormbolt goes wide, and he still walks towards them. He still keeps going forward and gets deleted by the party brush of Wildheart. This is kind of this should be a basic thing at this point. You can't face check into them just assuming they're on the boss like that, but 30k, not the same 30k that we've seen in Wildheart, not the same Wildheart that we've seen. It really feels like the momentum has shifted so heavily in this series that the nerves are actually getting to 30k. They don't know what to do when they start falling behind. Wildheart, with all of the momentum here, pretty much winning out in every single little skirmish. The only chance for 30k, it felt, in this game was to let Cure split push and to avoid all the fights. As soon as they gain the courage to look for the fight, they fail it completely. This is the engage. You have Cattle diving in onto Zergling. He gets very low. It looks like Zergling's going to go down here. And the gust from Cure, maybe he thought he could get them into the wall there against that little side wall. That might have been the thought, but it's just not just not in range. It's not the right play. You have the Sundering coming out from Mason Blaze, the immediate turnaround onto 2 members. Wildheart was very, very ready for this. Wildheart did kind of need their level 16s to handedly win the team fights, and there was a big difference. Like, we saw Madara stepping up mid, not dying the first time when they were level 15 when he got caught out, and then when they were level 16 in the bot lane, it was completely different. And then here with the level 20s, there's so much damage coming out from Wildheart. 30k, indecisive with their engages, and indecisive with their play. It really feels like we're watching 30k unravel just live. We're watching the unraveling of 30k after all of their hard work through the season. Wildheart trying to take the series here. Crazy. Game 7, it's so hype. It couldn't be closer.
Final map of HeroesCCL Season 4 will be played on Garden of Terror.
Okay. I mean, I prefer that to Alterac. This is a bit more of a team fight map, a bit more rotational. So it should really test the teams on their skill of scouting, rotation, warning, communication, anti-gank proofness. Sick.
I gotta say, and Cursed Hollow, we didn't really talk about it, but my MVP for Wildheart is definitely Cure. I think Cure did really good for Wildheart in that game, so we'll see if he decides to play for 30k or for Wildheart Esports this map. As we are... I had to, man. That gust, I can't get over it. Anyways, we're going into the draft here in just a second. We're gonna get looks like one of the players just needs a second just to... rally the troops and everything. But as I had mentioned, this is the final map of HeroesCCL Season 4. Winner, first place. Loser, second place. I don't know, man. I really feel like Wildheart can do this unless 30k's been like sandbagging and wanted to create a great show.
Of course not.
But I don't think that's the case. Like, I think Wildheart has become a creature in this playoffs, and it is a creature that I don't know if 30k knows how to take it down, or even has any sort of like crucifixes or a stake to the heart, if you will. Like, I think Wildheart is quite literally going wild in this best of 7 series, Justin.
You know, Wildheart looks just completely unchained. It doesn't look like the same team. We've had all these situations where they have the option to do the aggressive or the defensive play, and it feels like the Wildheart of the past would have just been going for the defensive plays as this whole season. Now it's the exact opposite. They're playing super aggressively. It feels like 30k is the team that's just afraid to take engages. We heard Zergling in some interviews talk about how they almost need to keep Haben on a leash. It feels like they need to, on the side of 30k, it seems like they need to get, a carrot on a stick for Cattle, because he's not really going in at all in these fights. It's like the complete opposite. Haben just wants to fight, and they've got to hold him back.
Yeah.
And 30k's got to be like, all right, get in there. Like, come on, do something. Like, it's really, it has honestly felt like a Haben difference, like in these last couple games. He's just super aggressive, and Wildheart is there for it. Weary Day especially, we heard in the comms. Weary Day is being aggressive in the comms, which is completely unheard of for him. He's usually such a calm, laid back, just chill person in general, just very, very calm, methodical. But you hear Weary being like, no, kill this guy, like, let's get in there, like, let's go. And I love to see that for Wildheart. They're really rallying here in the grand finals. I can't believe that they're actually taking it to game 7 here, the final game of the grand finals. Couldn't be a better storyline.
And the storyline will continue with 30k having a 2-0 record on Garden of Terror, and the members of Wildheart Esports 2-2 record on this map. First ban Zeratul, Grubby, and an immediate Lucio ban as well.
They're trying to get Kieran ranged again.
It's been working. It's been working.
They're working. They got him once on Zera, they got him once on Tychus, once on Falstad. And
Tychus, Tracer.
Yeah, it's a good ban. They felt they can only counter cure Zeratul once with that specific Tomb of the Spider Queen draft, I guess.
Yeah.
On Tomb, you're together as 4-5 most often. Separate the lanes further, and Zeratul becomes incrementally more dangerous. So it's wise. Also removing Madara's Chromie. They did the same 2 bans on Cursed Hollow. They're gonna go with that again. Open up with Blaze again, question mark? Been real good for them.
Yep, Zergling's Blaze has been really on point. Bunkers are good. Jet Propulsion AoE slams are great, and just his overall 1v1 or team fighting has just been on point as well for the Blaze. I think that's just a fine, safe pick. As I've said in the past, doesn't show anything, but Haben wants his Diablo. Haben wants, as Justin was saying, that aggression. He wants to go in and find blood.
Yeah, he definitely does on this Diablo. It's weird to see the Blaze not picked up here. It's also weird to see Wildheart, after winning that game, going to first pick. The other map choice that was available, there's only 2 left, was between Garden here and Eltric. We did hear in the interview yesterday from Madara, he said, I'm not sure if this is a leak, but my team's not been doing so hot on Eltrick. So just to avoid that, now maybe we're seeing some fault in 30K's just overall strategy. In a best of 7, you have to play nearly every single map. And so in this situation, for most teams, it would be obvious you just want the first pick. It's only 2 maps left. Like, it's not a big deal. It shouldn't be. There's only 2 maps. You don't have a great choice left. You have one of 2 choices. But for 30K, they don't want to play on that map so badly that Wildheart gets the first pick after winning the last game, which is almost unheard of at this point in a best of 7. Shows that, yeah, maybe there are some cracks in the 30K armor.
Someone was asking just really quickly if like a Hogger has won today, and yeah, I was actually just looking back really quickly. Sky Temple, Hogger did win, so he's not winless today. But I do like that we do get this target ban onto Sergeant Hammer here, Grubby.
Yeah, Lunara and Hammer together were what gave the Towers of Doom victory to Wildheart, isn't it? A very strong combination. Third ban Hammer. Now the question is, who gets Thrall? Thrall does really well into Diablo. He's pretty alright into Hogger, and he's more capable than many melee against Lunara because he gets his own movement speed, some self heals. Will 30K pick it up now? Unlikely, actually. Caterpillar's gonna take the tank. We're gonna get the heal for Legacy. Cure will be saved for that final slot. Threatening either Thrall or Maiev or Tracer.
Or even something we haven't even seen. Maybe something super duper special for Garden of Terror. We'll find out in just a second here. Oh, yeah?
It could be Tychus too. Like,
Tychus
is banned. Never mind.
Unfortunately banned, yeah. But let's see. What do we have here? Next 2 picks from Wildheart. Final 2 picks for their Season 4 final map. It's going to be a Thrall and an Uther. All right. Justin has said that Weary Day is arguably the best Uther in CCL, solo heal Uther. Gotta get your thoughts here, Justin, as we'll get one more pick from 30K and start loading into Garden of Terror, map number 6 in our best of 7 series.
Yeah, we'll see what 30K can pick. They need to take something here on the Cure pick that can punish the Uther. If Cure was confident on something like the Tyrael, that would be something that you would see as kind of an obvious pick here. It's good into Lunara spread damage, it's good into the Uther. Are we going to see a Cure Sylvanas for the last game with your tournament life on the line? It's more important to 30K to get Madara his Mephisto than it is to get Cure on something that he really, really feels like he can carry on a melee. That's strange to me. From my perspective, something like just on paper, an Imperius would be kind of the obvious choice, something that would be really strong here for Cure. So to see him give that up and say, all right, Madara, it's on you. You got to carry this one. That's a lot of trust, to be fair, in Madara, in his capabilities on Mephisto. And Mephisto does look quite good here. It is 4 melee heroes on the side of Wildheart. So they think that the value Madara can get here on the Mephisto is more than anything Cure could get on something. That's a lot of trust in Madara. So Madara's going to have to pretty much, he's going to have to make the difference because that is their last pick. They are against 4 melees. He is capable of doing it on his Mephisto. But we'll see if Wildheart is able to play around that because outside of the last pick in the Mephisto, Wildheart's composition is very, very strong and it's comfort across the board. Wildheart looks extremely scary. We'll see if Madara with the Mephisto has what it takes and if 30K can actually hold and not drop a single series or if they'll lose it all right here.
Let's find out here, Justin. Thank you for the analysis as always, because here we are, final map of HeroesCCL Season 4. The winner, first place, loser, second place, 30K in the blue, Cure on the Sylvanas, Liam on the Blaze, Rhaegar to be played by Legacy, Cattle on the Joanna, and Mater on the Mephisto. Over on the side of Wildheart Esports, who also could be in first place or second, Zergling on the Hogger, Haben on the Diablo, IBTings on the Thrall, Weary Day on the Uther, and Mason Blaze to play the Lunara. Grubby?
Baha.
I have loved Wildheart since they came into CCL Season 1. I've known Goon for a long time. I've always been a big, I've always cheered for Wildheart, albeit silently as a caster. I'm going to bluntly say this. I want Wildheart to win this personally.
Wow. It would be really sick, though, if Cure and his team won. I think Cure has won every season of CCL so far, hasn't he?
That he's played in. Well, he was because he was a sub. He took one season off, right? And he was a coach, I believe.
True.
But
That's true.
He's
what about
won.
Legacy? Didn't Legacy win everything?
Not 100% sure.
Twice with. Maybe Justin can let us know. Legacy won twice with Simplicity, and then we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. But they've won the most, the left side guys. I'm pretty sure about that. Sometimes it was part of. Sometimes Masquerade was part of the team. 30K won with Yasuo once. Okay, I see. Well, still, Cure has won the 2 that he has played. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
Unbroken record. This would be the first that he plays and loses. He did only join the team later, but yeah, we'll see how it goes, man. This is really sick to get to this point, and the big threat for Wildheart will be Uther trying to out-sustain massive AoE damage from Mephisto.
Yeah.
That's going to be the big challenge for Wildheart. But it's obvious to see why Uther came out when it did. Not only is he very good on it. Oh, that's a nice... Oh, didn't get the Shadow Charge. Was a cleanse anyway. Not only is he good on Uther, and do games on Garden often go to level 20, which means Uther 20 can come out, and he's very good on... he's very good at level 20 because he has a death trait, just like Diablo.
Yeah.
So there's... Oh my god!
Haven, bud!
Oh my... Bro! The damage that Madara was putting out there. It did feel like Haven was going in the wrong direction.
It looked like he was trying to step in for an overpower, and I was like, you don't have the HP to even step in here. I don't even think the Uther's got the sustainability for you to do whatever you're trying to do, which looked like it was a overpower Shadow Charge, but he just kind of waddled his model right into the enemy team, and that will be first blood to the side of 30K. Do want to point out though, this has been a long day of games, broadcast wise. We've been going for 7 hours, and Wildheart, they've been playing for all of these games. This is the 11th map of the day for Wildheart Esports. They have played every single map. Wait, if I'm not has Wildheart played every single series in the playoffs to max?
Yep.
I just had this realization. They literally have played as many maps as possible to get to this
21
point.
maps. 21 maps.
In
Wildheart.
3 days.
This is their 21st map this weekend.
Oh my god. That's what I'm saying, like, there is fatigue. I mean, Haben, it's you know, there's gamer hours and stuff like that. Maybe this is the prime time for Haben and he's not really that asleep, but still, it takes a toll on you. 11 games. Like, when I stream and I cast like 3 best of 3s, I'm just like, by the end, I'm like, oh my god, I could take a nap. I can't imagine the pressure, the just like how much you put into these games and how much it takes out of you as well. So, let's see what happens. Yeah.
Haven's sacrifice is insane. It's 10 a.m. in Korea right now for him. Woo. That is just bananas. The lengths he goes to
that means
he
he started playing
the
at
best
3-ish in the morning. Roughly. He started playing like 2, 3 in the morning, maybe even earlier just to get warm-ups.
He's had a month to prepare, you know. It's
true.
It's fine. He's gonna enjoy some tteokbokki after the, you know, either way, however it goes, he's gonna enjoy some rice cakes with red sauce.
You better
Wish
get
I could be there
pizza
with him. Breakfast pizza. So, okay, first blood to 30K, and
Wildheart?
as I was bungling my explanation.
Oh, you're fine.
Uther 20 is really strong.
Oh,
so at least you get there. And Thrall has been doing good on the quest. Interestingly, Thrall has gone for Echo of the Elements, not going for the Rolling Thunder, which is an auto attack empowerment build. Makes sense. Note that it is IB Tinks on Thrall this time. So far it had been Mason Blaze, but he is the resident Lunara player. So it's going to be Ivy Tinks with a different perspective. And he thinks, hey, auto attacks against Johanna, that's kind of hard. So let's go for the Chain Lightning Poke build. It's not that Rhaegar can't out-sustain it. It's just a different way for Thrall to deal damage. It means more procs for his Ancestral Wrath. Does he have Ancestral? Can he kill Cure? Oh. Cure goes down.
Okay, 1 for 1 in kills in total. That will be Wildheart getting that later game kill. Should push up the experience a bit more. And we have another seed to be spawning. Wildheart already has 1 of 3 seeds. Much like Curse Hell, you get 3 seeds. In this map, you don't turn off the structures and take the minions down to 1 HP. You summon the Garden Terror in your 3 lanes, and it will push up as far as your current minion wave. So right now, if the Garden Terror would have spawned for Wildheart, bottom lane would be pushing up near the fort front gate, and top lane is going to be around 50%. But the one thing I do want to point out here is 10 talent tiers on the horizon. We're right around the corner for both of these teams to hit their heroics. We should see some explosive moments here. Pretty standard heroics across the board. Nothing really of note that comes out to me. Do want to point out Thornwood Vines, and for the Sylvanas, going to be a Mind Control.
Uther went for DS. Got Shockwave, Lightning Breath, got Divine Shield, Thornwood Vine Sundering. Yeah, pretty standard stuff for the most part. Not really a Divine Storm game. Uther finished his Holy Shock build. He actually dodges the Durance with a D-Shield. Yep. Didn't want none of that. pretty early, but okay.
Blaze and Hogger still getting camps in the bottom lane, so it's a 4v4. Madara comes in. There's a Shadow Charge. Madara very low, has to back away as the Bless Shield from Joanna does connect onto a few, but that's more of a delay tool like this Shield Glare from Cattle. Cattle needing that carrot to step in here, like Justin was saying. He is forward, but it's not enough to really do anything. It felt weird, I'll be honest, Grubby, with how much 30k was playing back in that engagement. They were so focused on clearing the wave and no poke, like no haunting waves, no jumping from Mephisto. Granted, one time he did jump in, he dropped from like 100 to like 25% HP, so maybe Madara was like, I can't do this right now, guys.
Exactly, that was the problem. And Cattle already used his Iron Skin.
And
he already used both blinds. And then he would have to move through a full HP Diablo with Lightning Breath. That's Uther dead. Don't see any other way than that.
I think Divine Shield like may have just come off a cooldown. I looked away for a second.
Oh, good question. I don't know.
Yeah, because I look up and then I saw it like come off. It's okay. So no, it's on a 22nd because when he's in Ghost form, apparently it doesn't show the cooldown.
Yeah.
So there we go. Bless Shield off the structure, but Cattle can't chase onto Mason Blaze. There's a Sundering onto Cattle. He gets, or excuse me, onto Cure. Cure takes a lot of damage. Haunting Wave forward, and that is another seed to spawn in the bottom left of our map. Favorable position for the side of 30k.
Yeah, that's all you need to threaten the Sylvanas. It was like slated to be a 4-man Sundering, but they only hit Cure, which is fine, because if he's too low, he can't step up to activate the Black Arrow. Very close game. Very exciting. It's a lot of fun to watch. Wildheart is a little bit down on level 13, and this is a difficult spot, but they can still see if they can make something happen, because they stand to gain a lot. Positionally, it is unfavorable, XP-wise, unfavorable, but Wildheart could think like, hey, what if we do get the Garden Terror now? Wouldn't that be nice? 3 in a row?
I feel like I think this is the right call from Wildheart. Give this over, clear out your lanes, get some camps, and then get a better position on the seed, and maybe even be in a better position when it comes to the waves as well. Because as I mentioned, the Garden Terror spawns up as far as your minion wave. It's the reverse on Tomb of the Spider Queen, where it spawns up as far as the enemy minion wave, or as close to the enemy minion wave as possible. So we'll have to see what happens here. Seed still just kind of being ignored by both teams as we have Wildheart stepping in through top, looking for the fort, and I think they might be able to get a decent amount of damage. Mind control, little wide of Zergling.
Excellent anchoring and zoning by Habin. The Wisp was covering the south side. Habin covered the inner tunnel, which means that nobody could be flanking the 3-man that was there. And Wildheart was safe because Weary Day has Cleanse and Divine Shield. So even if Mind Control connected, Wildheart was safe. Got a little bit of a push damage on that fort. Now Zergling has to make a decision to leave Cure to do Cure things. AFK Allstar, AFK Sylvanas pushing top. And he decides not to leave. He is checking now. He sees, hey, Cure isn't here. He's even going to do another wave. Pretty greedy. Going to take that wave up top. And that forces Sylvanas up top, which gives Zergling the priority to maybe join for a 5v4. But they see each other, so everyone is aware of the situation.
Just looking at our setup around the bottom lane is going to be Blaze. Actually does get that with the oil. We have Madara just being pushed around by Haben, who's full on souls. Fire Stomp build. 4 stacks for the Thrall right now. He's got to finish out 2 more onto the enemies. Maybe he can find a double around the objective phase. IB's going to get that going to get the Siege Giants for bottom lane. 16 talents here, slightly ahead for 30k. As another camp goes to top lane. Still, no seed to be contested in the bottom left.
Let's see, any special level 13s? Sylvanas not going for the Inti build. The Sylvanas Windrunner. Double E. Got Tidal Waves coming out. No Earth Shield. Had he had a Murden Diablo, he'll probably go Earth Shield. But with Johanna, going with the Tidal Waves.
Blaze
Wall of Magic, of course.
Yeah. Blaze is showing top. I just want to point that out really quickly. I wonder if Wildheart will make a play while he is gone. And yes, they will. That's Endurance of Hate. Ancestor Healing just too shy. Quarter of a second too shy right there.
Wow, nice find there. Very nice find. I didn't catch the start of it. Looking at the minimap.
Sundering from Thrall.
Find a Mephisto. Wow.
Yeah, it was the opening was the Sundering from Thrall, and then just the chase in as well. Blaze still working on the top lane fort, but now here comes the Garden Terror, spawning in an okay position. Haben, though, looking for Cattle.
Bruiser Camp and Garden Terror is a nice little bonus for Wildheart. They do have Liam using Siege Camp to push top. So that Garden Terror is going to be completely denied. Sylvanas is getting a free defense mid. This feels like some of the worst Garden Terror potential Vile, and Haven is very upset about it.
Yeah.
So he charges past the gate.
Drops the Lightning Breath Cure, will get the Ancestral. We also will have Ivy finishing out the level 4, though he gets the Divine Shield to be able to stay alive. The bottom lane fort does go down. Mid lane takes the fort front gate, and Madara misses the Durance of Hate. Might have been more zoning or like fishing, like, ooh, if they try and double back and go for this, then maybe we'll make a play. But over in the top lane, Zergling will confirm a fort. So when we look at and take stock of what happened here for first objective phase in totality for the members of Wildheart, it's going to be a double fort, actually maybe a triple, because I see the re-engage through mid. Look at Thrall ahead, just above the engagement as well. Thrall goes for the Sunder. I don't think he connected onto anyone there. I'm not 100% sure, but still,
Johanna.
Cattle is
Johanna.
okay. Cattle's displaced. We have the mind control up from Cure. Zergling tries to bounce out, but he's way too damaged. Goes down a little too aggressive from the side of Wildheart in that under fort dive, but it does allow the Garden Terran top lane to push up a little bit further.
Yeah, the objective did much better than I expected. Top fort, I didn't expect that to go down. You had Blaze pushing in with Siege Camp against top fort, and then Hager came in and actually salvaged the situation and did the return to kill the top fort and the gate top as well. Bottom, towers hurt, mid fort hurt. Just one little problem is that Zergling didn't know when well enough should be left alone. Going in with the shockwave after everyone else was in full route. Didn't work out, took a bit too many tower shots. And now XP lead for 30k. They probably caught more minion waves since it was pushed up against them. And Wildheart didn't choose to split. It came mid all. And so that is an XP lead for 30k. But unlike many times when someone gets an objective, the opposing team this time didn't have any kind of seeds in escrow. It wasn't like a 1 versus 2 seed situation. So everyone's starting from a clean slate. Which means level 20 is looking exceedingly likely.
Level 20 going to be coming in soon. Maybe an invade onto this camp on the right-hand side. IB sees that, goes for the channel. Mind control just shy. Madara, that's a re-engage from Haven, but he's a little gapped from his ally team. Great cleanse out from the Uther because there's totally no CC at all. Might have even been abolished magic from Mason Blaze right there. Actually, let me double check. Yeah.
It was Uther's Hand of Protection, removing the Durance on Diablo. Funnily enough, Durance still spreads from ground zero to hit other people, even if you cleansed it. The effect turns terrain-based, let's say. So Thrall still had to dodge it, which means he couldn't lock down Madara any more than Madara had already been locked down.
Okay, sorry, I saw something at the bottom of the screen go move really quickly. I thought it was like a haunting wave from Kiri. He was trying to dive in, but no. Level 20 will be here soon for the side of 30k, and it looks like they will give over another seed to the side of Wildheart Esports. When we take stock of the map, everything is equal in that sense. A little more damage in the mid lane fort in favor for Wildheart as they grab another seed, the 4th one in total for the game, on their road, or on the path for another Garden Terror.
30k gets a single hero kill. Sylvanas and their closer level 20 will see them to have massive profits from that. But if Wildheart can hold on for another 45 to 60 seconds, we're gonna get to the uber late game. Level 20 without any end in sight. I mean, this could very well be a level 23, level 24, level 25 teams kind of game with the amount of structural integrity that remains and the few amount of seats that are currently in the bank.
Do you want to jump into 30k comms and hear what they want to do with this 20 talent tier advantage?
I would love that. Let's go.
We're 20, by the way, boys. We're 20.
Yeah.
Wisp is now.
45 though, they probably go.
Top's almost done, almost done. I can come soon.
They might
I'm
go.
gonna get mid and come.
You, by the way, we don't know where they are.
Yeah, I've cleansed.
The Hogger here.
I'm
We
getting
need
mid
to
and
keep
coming.
rotation on this.
Yeah.
Can we make
Clearing
sure they don't
mid.
free clear this? I think we can punish this.
Sure,
if
I'm
we
on the
want.
way.
Like they're pretty.
Wait, I'm not there though.
Okay, it's
but
fine then. It's fine. We don't have to.
Coming now.
They're on me. They're on me. I'm okay though. I'm okay. I'm okay.
This is
I'm
good.
okay. I'm
This is
okay.
a
I'm
big
okay. I'm
update.
okay. Bunker.
I have shield for you out of this.
That's
D
big
shield down, D
shield.
shield down, D shield down.
Yeah, we D
Listen,
shield.
okay.
Nice.
Back up a bit and do the shrine, do the shrine, do the
Yeah.
shrine.
Yeah,
I
we
still
have
have-
fine. They
I
use
can
every ult in
MC.
the game, by the way.
Yeah.
We used ours too, though. So. No. We still have some.
I have blast still. I don't have.
Yeah, if you blast, I can MC.
Or should I MC first?
I can.
Look now.
Got it.
I said push bottom with the hearts.
Okay, yeah.
they're most
They did waste
Alright.
ult. They have no D shield. We can see.
Three eases in 10 seconds. 10 seconds on these.
Okay.
Maybe
Don't
freeze
clear
it
this
then?
wave then.
Freeze
Don't
it,
clear
freeze
this
it,
wave.
freeze it.
Yeah. It's fine. It's still good.
We
It's
have
still
the
good.
kata. We have the kata and the melee.
Maybe they run top. Maybe they run top. We don't know what they're doing.
They're so far. It's fine. I
That's
think.
I guess we just push anyway.
Yeah, I think we siege slowly, safely.
We
We don't
have-
have
we have
ancestral, but they don't have D shield.
Yeah.
So.
60 seconds.
Diablo here.
I can fish for MCs, by the way. I'm gonna fish right
I'm
now.
holding the angle. Okay.
Nice try.
Kind of
Careful.
chunked.
Yeah, it's.
Watch
Little
these.
Back up to the
They might be
seed.
pre-tapped.
Yeah,
Go
watch
get
me.
seed. Go get seed. Go get seed.
Yeah.
Okay, play
Can we
C
do
to
this?
the camp. Yeah, it's big. Going. Let me do it. I kind of want somebody to get top waves.
I could go.
They literally used every heroic in the game. I look at Haben, he still has lightning breath.
Well, you know,
Yeah, it's just-
verbally. The D shield felt early and yeah.
But either way, 20s are here a piece. We've got the double blink between Diablo and the Thrall. Uther with the upgrade. He doesn't go for the redemption, goes for the Bulwark of Light. That's a mind control. Max range onto the Lunar. Will there be a kill? Mason Blaze trying to back away. There's a shadow charge in
No
from
cleanse.
Diablo.
Weary Day deliberately didn't cleanse. He has it available. He's like, nah, 25 armor is enough. It's a short cooldown. You can't just cleanse for every mind control. You have to check whether there really is a threat. But I'm actually with Weary Day on this one. I think AoE D-Shield is the best. I think Redemption is very good. But if you go W at 1, you can also go for the blue talent. The one that gives another half second of armor and increases it to 50. You get 3 seconds of 50 armor on every heal you do. Uther doesn't have that many heals, so that makes it a little worse. But AoE D-Shield is absolutely insane. And now he did use Hand of Protection. He needs some auto attacks to get this cleanse back quicker.
The other thing to note really quickly too, the Bulwark of Light is going to add a second of duration to the Divine Shield, so it lasts 4 seconds, and it also spreads around Uther. But it's a very, very small kind of AoE range, as another seed will be spawning bottom right of the map. Could be
Wisp.
Wisp
sees the whole rotation.
Youch.
Sorry to interrupt.
No,
It's just-
I'm glad you caught it, because I was just like, okay, what happened? Because it seemed like 30k was advancing for a fight, but they just immediately turned around. So good call, Grubby.
We have Blinded by the Light for Johanna, a little bit of extra survivability. Not going for the Radiating Faith. Makes sense. Can get blocked by either cleanse or D-Shield, and there's 2 cleanses. And you count Lunara as well.
Seems like 30k wants to give objective just to grab the Bruiser camp for top lane to apply more pressure in lane. Can't really blame them with the positioning of where this objective is. Hogger pulls the sappers around, and Uther, Lunara get the channel. Okay, tension is here. Either team could get the Garden Terror during the next seed phase. We'll see where it does spawn on the map ahead of time, and until then, it's just going to be cleaning out top lane for the side of Wildheart.
The Wisp gives Hogger, Zergling, the confidence of doing this, which seems kind of crazy, but he has the Hearthstone right now. And he does.
Okay. That is cleared. Okay, so the seed, by the way, is in a top center neutral position. Cures the target. Will the Forsaken popped
Chunked.
immediately.
And it chunked. Keep in mind, Haben still has Bolt of the Storm, Lightning Breath. Ideally, you want a Lightning Breath with full Fire Stomp, stacks for that bonus spell power. And the fact that the opponents will be slowed as well, initially, will help a bit.
They've been just anchoring forward as the Diablo there. Looks like we have Hogger to grab a camp on the top right of our mini-map. Bottom left, we'll see more Bruiser camps. Man, there's got to be so many camps that have been grabbed between these two teams in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just constant almost camp off a cooldown, which is very good. Very good macro coming out from 30k and Wildheart. But Wildheart has the positional advantage. And we'll see the rotation. Yeah.
It's 3-3, it's the grand finals, final map. What makes CCL special is Homs. Let's jump into Wildheart.
I'm fine. Cleanse in 15. He might have mind control at 5
I have
seconds.
cleanse still. I have cleanse still.
Well-
I should have cleanse.
I'm gonna tap. I still have my stuff. We don't have Sunder or a D shield. Do we even fight this or give?
No, we can play. We can play.
We can
Let me check.
We can just careful on the right side, yeah.
I have cleanse still. It's fine. Where's
I'm
my
gonna check this
shot?
one.
Watch me.
just wrap
If he
around,
page
wrap
checks us, he dies. If he page checks us, he dies.
You didn't see me.
He's just pushing. Just play slow.
Look at this. Look at this.
Not forever. Not forever.
Ah.
I can still.
Can I get mid soak and push it out?
No, it doesn't matter. Don't do it. No, don't do it. It's not worth it.
Right here. Right here. Here. Stun him. Stun him. Stun him.
We need up and back. Careful, math. Okay, Ancestral. Can we live?
Back.
MC soon. I think it's just give at this point.
We have to give.
Okay. Blaze everything still.
Can we look at tap mid and fight them if they're there or no?
Mid?
Garden Terror goes over to 30k, no kills. We did see Haben very low right there, and it seems like 30k invests heavily in through top lane, as that is where the Garden Terror will descend the furthest into lane.
D-Shield is back in 6 seconds. Mind Control Fish through the center. That's a lot of damage there on Sylvanas. Holy crap.
It's a lot of damage consistently into Cure throughout many of these maps. Haben.
Oh, Zergling! Zergling assassinated by Madara!
Uh-oh.
Madara!
Is this the beginning of the end?
It could be. It could be.
Wild Heart. Mind Control into Haben, but it's not enough. Top lane keep goes down. A lot of damage onto Legacy and Liam, as well as Cure. You can see Madara and the rest, they're stepping in, but slowly. Don't want to overdo it right here. Garden Terror gets a slam through the top lane. Haben going to get pulled in by the Condemned. We have Thrall on the left side trying to clear out the objective. Lightning Breath from Diablos. He's already standing still. Madara taking quite a bit of damage. That's IB in the backline trying to make something happen. The bunker down from Blaze. The Garden Terror in bottom lane still working its way up, but it's very low. Mid lane keep taking about a lot of damage. Might be... No, it's not going to be falling. It's going to be around 25% by the end of all of this. A hold from Wildheart. They're not down. They're not out. But actually, I said that they would be able to save this keep. Looks like it's another keep to fall through mid.
2 keeps advantage and a fort for 30k. The D-Shield on Diablo to save his souls. SOS kind of moment. Because Diablo could have come back. Could have saved D-Shield, but really wanting to make sure that Diablo keeps his souls. It could be challenging, I suppose, for him to get back that many souls at this phase in the game. So, off the back of that kill, 30k is able to get double keep. This is enormous. However, Wildheart does have those 2 seeds in escrow. 30k is looking to get even more value. They have Sylvanas, and they're taking Siege Camp. They also have Distraction Siege Camp mid. So they could try to start sieging the bottom keep. This will be a fateful decision, because if they overdo it, that could be a place where Wildheart makes their stand.
Yeah. Next seed will be on the bottom left of the map, favoring the 30k positioning. Members of Wildheart can easily give that over and wait for a better position. At least for now, that's what they can do. It is getting later and later into the game. The waves are going to be amplified in just their scaling. Catapults are... We're 24 minutes in. This catapult mid lane is dealing 967 damage into structures. These catapults deal a lot of damage. Next seed coming up soon.
Yo.
Yeah?
Baha, a moment is coming up. They knew Blaze is going to feel called to the top, like a sailor to a siren's call. And therefore, they come and invade 5 versus 4, but Blaze has been spotted. They turn on Blaze. Zergling is getting attacked by Cure. Blaze takes a lot of damage. There's a double D-Shield on the bunker. That's a shockwave on Blaze. Blaze takes the Ancestral. Ogre, can he spin away? Zergling is in trouble. Zergling.
He's able
Diablo,
to back
way
away.
deep.
Yeah, Diablo's
Maybe takes
in
his deep too.
Oh, no. I don't think Haben gets out. Wait, he gets a big Fire Stomp, and he gets the Hellgate.
Oh, he still has Blink.
Okay.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Wildheart got away from that.
Bottom lane needs to be dealt with, though, because that catapult is going to be chunking into the keep. You can actually see the health on that keep is already dwindling. I don't even know if Lunar can make the rotation. No, she should be able to make it there in time and save the keep. But it will be on a sliver of HP, as the mini wave was helping out a little bit there.
Oh.
Yeah?
He poisons the catapult to lethal health. And then walks away, and it gets another shot, and I kid you not, it's like 2,000 damage.
It's insane how much these catapults are dealing. I'm going to check the top one just above us right now. 1,080 damage. Still, that's a chunk right there of a structure. Okay, next seed, top right.
16% of the remaining keeps health when that hits, so that looked kind of dumb to have one more shot connect like that.
It's late game seeds. It's late game seeds here, Grubby. And ladies and gentlemen, oh god, every fight is... Oh no, Haben, Mind Control, Cleanse does come out. Durance of Hate will be on the ground. As you see that AoE in the circle, there's going to be the return spot from Mephisto as Blaze walks away. Haben able to disengage as well. Seed up in 5 seconds.
Top pressure, it could be an issue later. There's another Mind Control. There's an engage on Sylvanas. He had an E away already.
Aben getting chunked by the Mephisto here. We do have the blinded by the light. Now look at IB. Look at IB on the bottom left of your screen. He's looking for that angle.
I don't like that D shield at all. I don't feel like the D shields have been worthy of best Uther world.
Mind control onto Zergling. He gets the spin out, 300, 400 HP or so. IB gets the blink away as well with the Wind Fury. Haben's being multi-pinged. He's trying to back away, and he's able to do exactly that. Another seed will be up, and this just goes over the side of 30k.
Most likely. They can try to come
assumed,
back.
Yeah, assumed.
Haven, does he have Bolt? He has Bolt, so he can step up, Fire Stomp, take a risk, Bolt away. He goes in on Madara.
Mind controlled. Ancestral's very early, gets the splash AoE.
Very early.
Mason Blaze does get the camp on the right side of our screen. Is this seed?
Are they giving it up? They're giving it up. They've given it up.
Bottom lane is huge, actually.
Yeah.
Bottom lane is really deep. Yeah. This will clear out top lane.
Is irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly.
So you push mid. You let top lane clear itself. You push mid or bot.
I think you go bot. I think you go bot.
Yeah.
The Garden Terror, by the way, the way that the seed crossed over Cure there, I think Haven actually saw Cure. Hearthing was maybe looking for the interrupt, but now here's the investment. There's a mind control. Doesn't get
Abolish
the pull.
on Diablo.
Yep.
Hand of Protection still available.
That's Iron Skin popped by the Joanna. The Garden Terror in bottom lane falling rapidly here. Will it get keep? One slam on the ground, some damage over time, and yes, the keep will go down. Mind control doesn't connect. Mid lane Fort has already fallen. 20.
Top has been pushed out. Garden Terror still has 70% health. It may actually make it to the keep. It doesn't seem relevant now, but it could still gain relevance.
Slam from boss. Zergling goes for the bounce out just to disengage. Play it safe. Sundering from the Thrall, they're looking for someone, but it's not going to be enough of a pull. Shockwave from the Hogger is going to be interrupted by the Condemn of Joanna, and that's mid lane objective cleared out. Hogger gets the... it's a... Yeah, I can understand why Weary Day would pop that, but yeah. As we see...
Can you really bet that on the 236 HP spinning away Hogger, there wouldn't be one errant auto attack still following him?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, the re-engage mind control.
Going in now, I don't like. There's no cleanse. There's no D-shield.
Durance. But here's the thing. Haben's just stomping his way through this fight, and he keeps healing up. God, every single of these fights just look insane. Oh, no, Haben! He tried to do it again there. It didn't work out. So that time, Souls reset on Diablo.
I will say I didn't understand that one.
Same.
That move in.
Yeah.
They were all half-life. D-shield cleanse just got used to save Hogger. W missed Hogger going into that, so he was still 50% live. And then they stepped up with almost nothing. Now, it's not a big deal, 27 souls, but it is a big deal because now he no longer has 75 spell armor, no longer has Resurrect. D-shield back in 30. Looking back on 30k side, they've got one camp pushing top, double camp here. They have two keeps healthy against one very hurt keep. They're one kill away from getting that keep. And that's almost nails in the coffin.
We're entering into the realm of 30 minutes. 30 minutes here on Garden of Terror. Seed to spawn. Won't be a Garden Terror for either side. We have camps across the map for both teams, mostly in favor for 30k. Actually, like 4 camps in the lanes right now. 2 in bottom, 1 mid, 1 in top was actually cleared itself out against the Bruiser camp, the night camp, and right here in... Oh, there you go, ladies. Oh, circling.
Yeah, there were no cleanse nearby either, so that was actually super risky. Now, this is a very good position for 30k. It's like basically a give up for Wildheart.
Yep.
They have to give this up, and then let everything come down to the next seed fight, and hope the lanes are under control there. So, just looking at all the cooldowns of the camps, 130 for top left siege camp, which means it will be available for 30k going into the next objective. And then there's one available siege camp now. That's where everyone is looking at this time. And 30k needs it less than Wildheart, but either one should respect it, because it's not so much about getting it now. The timing of this siege camp now is irrelevant. It is about finding any excuse to get a favorable fight. If it's a siege camp, it's a siege camp. You certainly won't jeopardize your own position for it.
I keep staring at that top timer, 31 minutes. It is just getting later and later here in Garden of Terror. I'm actually going to look really quickly. What is the catapult scaling? I want to look at the catapult in top lane. 680 standard damage, 1,360 damage into structures. Man, these These catapults slap quite hard. Bottom lane has 2 catapults coming through. A seed on the top left is favorable to 30k, and Wildheart do not want to let a Garden Terror go over to 30k. Last Garden Terror got 2 keeps.
Abolish. That was Abolish magic from Mason Blaze. 30-second cooldown on the 15-second cooldown. Better to use that than Hand of Protection. Leave Uther unaffected. I think they actually had a discussion about that, because the first couple of mind controls, Uther would just hit it reflexively. Thunder.
Shadow Charge.
Rhaegar.
Rhaegar gets the Self-Ancestral. We do have a bounce from Hogger. Does get him into a better spot. We have the bunker down from Blaze. There's going to be a lot of damage onto one of the players. Legacy so very low. Legacy trying to back away. Damage over time is pretty good. That's going to be the Divine Shield. No control from the Hogger coming through, but is there going to be enough damage to find the kill? Mind Control will be right after.
Mind Control.
That's a Blaze Hogger trade.
Blaze Hogger trade. Haben dropping low. Does Haben have souls? No.
Core.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
No way.
That's it!
No.
That's gonna be it! Yeah, that's gonna
Season
be it.
Season 4 of HeroesCCL is won by Winions!
Oh my god. Deserved. They were ahead enough in macro. There was a fight that felt forced to be fast for Wildheart. Yeah, maybe there was another way, but really, all the odds are stacked against you. It only takes 25 catapult hits.
I'm distraught.
Insane finish. It almost looked like Wildheart was going to do it, but 30k with the deserving victory. They never lost a series in this tournament. Massive congratulations to 30k for the 4-3 victory against Wildheart with the Cinderella story. Both played so well. Massive ups for Wildheart to get second place, but that was just insane by 30k.
Literally, as that map was ending, I just see, I think it was Weary Day in the all comms, just, no! And I can't blame him, man. I was literally watching the top lane, because I was talking about those top lane catapults, and it was just absolute insanity. Let's get Justing back in the mix, because I'm sure you have so much to talk about from this 30-some minute Garden Terror game.
That was so tense. The whole game was just super stressful to watch, even for me. Was almost shaking over here watching it. It was just so intense, such a crazy way for the game to end as well. It's Wildheart not getting paid off for the, 30k getting paid off for that macro advantage that they had been building. Even though Wildheart was focusing the objectives, 30k was still managing to get ahead in XP, even giving 3 plants in a row, 3 seeds in a row. They still got ahead in XP just from better macro. They just beat the structures down a little bit harder. They were playing a little bit more macro focused. Wildheart a little bit too tunneled on the team fights, playing for those fights, playing for those engages, and not enough on the macro. Unfortunately, that's not all the game is. The game is also a macro game, and 30k showing just how much value that can mean in the end. The catapults stacked up in a over 31-minute game. They do a ton of damage, and I was watching that. Wildheart was playing on a timer. It looked like they were going to get the engage for themselves, but just barely not enough. The game's, and I mean, in the draft too, we were talking about the Cure story with Cure and Madara. A lot of faith was put into Madara, kind of definitely just the youngest, most inexperienced in this level player on the team. And we were all looking at Cure and what his last pick would be, but in this moment, they said, against their comp, we get Madara what he's comfortable with, what he can carry on in the Mephisto. And they all put all of these, it's kind of a crazy thing for 30k to think about. They put 4 players who are just veterans of the game. They all put Madara, like, they gave him the controls for this last game. For when the back's against the wall, it was all on Madara on his Mephisto last pick. It's not on Cure trying to carry the game, it's on Madara, and it's nice in that sense to see that pay off. Nice for Madara as well to get his win against Wildheart like he'd asked for. Maybe not in the fashion he'd hoped for, but just a crazy game. Shoutouts to both teams though. Really, it couldn't have been more close, more down to the wire here. Zergling getting picked here by Madara on that Mephisto here in a little bit. Just not expecting the damage coming out from the Lightning Nova. I thought the game might even end here with the way that it was so tense. 60-second death timer, it wasn't quite enough. And a couple of small errors like here from Wildheart, you could tell the nerves were really getting to them. You listen to the comms and Zergling sounded like he was almost out of breath when he was calling his targets. Both these teams must just be exhausted. Wildheart especially with all the games. But 30k in the end, they win through the smart macro play, through the just calm plays, just the smart, objective macro style. They do end up pulling it out in the end. The catapults through the top. It's just too much macro pressure. Wildheart waiting a little bit too long to pull the trigger. 30k with the counter engage, surviving long enough to allow that top lane to build and grow. and I thought it might be over here. I mean, it was over here, but not for the team I expected it for with the way that the team fight was going. It looked like it was going to be good. The offlaners were traded. Wildheart losing with that sustain advantage, and then eventually losing to the top lane. The catapults building up. Mason Blaze not able to get back in time. Absolutely wild for 30k. Going full games all the way to game 7. Absolutely ridiculous. You couldn't ask for more from a grand finals. Literally went the most games we could have possibly gotten today. Just ridiculous finish for this grand finals.
Absolutely wild finish for the side of 30k, and they will be crowned our Season 4 HeroesCCL champions. I do believe we are getting ready for an interview with Cure, so we'll go ahead and bring him on in here. Cure, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. How's it going, guys?
Great. Congratulations on the victory. I gotta ask, how are you feeling after Garden of Terror? Did you see the Winions? Were you just like, we just delay this, or was it just kind of like the fight was happening? It's like, oh crap, we're winning.
Yeah, thanks. Definitely the latter, where we didn't even realize. I think I noticed when I was at like 80%. Because we were so focused on trying not to die because they were running at us. So we're like, oh, run. So yeah, it was kind of crazy ending for sure.
Crazy ending indeed. Of course, I'm sure Justin and Grubby have some questions for you, so I'll throw it to Justin first.
Yeah, so in the last game, I think we were all kind of looking at what would the Cure pick be to carry the game. And then I guess what made you decide to give that last pick over to Madara on the Mephisto? What was the decision-making process there? Because you're the one drafting, right? That takes a lot of discipline and I guess just, yeah, I don't know, just humbleness to do that.
Yeah, I think definitely it was more of like just seeing what they went. So they went like the triple melee plus Uther, which I think most of my picks are not as great against that. So I was thinking about picking Maiev, but also I think the 2 prior games I felt like I played really poorly. Actually, I'd say this is the worst I played all season. Personally, I think so, which really sucks, but sometimes that happens. So I was like, can Maiev or we can Mephisto? And I'm like, yeah, let's let Madara carry because Mephisto yesterday, his Chromie today, I feel like it was just insane. But I think everyone played. Like everyone, it's not just one person, you know, but it definitely had the pop-off moments, so.
Grubby, any questions for Cure?
I don't know, mostly a comment. Cure, I'm just extremely impressed. You've won every CCL you've participated, and mostly it's been off the back of your amazing knowledge, decision making, and mechanical skill with your special hero roster. Today, you feel like you weren't playing as well, and we weren't like hammering on that or anything, but it was a little bit more noticeable simply because of your shining moments always. In moments where you are playing a little bit more poorly by your own admission, to have it's really impressive that you can still do shot calling, communication. You don't get down, you're still vocal, because it's so easy to get quiet in a team situation, and then to have the humility to let a player like Madara shine on a hero like that. I just want to say big compliments to that. I'm really impressed.
Yeah, thank you for the kind words, Grubby. I definitely think like growing as a leader, a lot of that has been realizing that you kind of project some energy on the rest of your team. So like even if I'm feeling, you know, like humiliated or not very confident, like you can't really show that. You have to always, you know, kind of carry that energy forward, especially when you're tilted. I think that's the most important part, because definitely like earlier in my HOTS career, I would probably just get silent, you know, and like kind of, you could kind of feel that energy coming back. So definitely something I worked on a lot is just staying positive and trying to just keep us on the right track, you know, keep next game, you know, like I inted 5 times with Zera, my bad team, just focus on next game, like we'll get the, you know, like just keep pushing forward. Yeah. So definitely glad we did that. And yeah, got the 3 for 3, which is pretty nice. Won all 3 seasons. Definitely really happy about that.
I'm big congratulations. That's huge for you, Cure. I do want to say you played fantastic as a team. It was really, really fun to watch 30k throughout the season. The most dominant CCL team we've ever had in the history of 4 seasons of HeroesCCL. So just that's a big kudos as well. Not dropping a singular series, and you dropped I think a total of I'm doing some quick math here. I think you dropped 8 maps the entire season. 8 maps out of the 35 maps or so you played this season. 8 maps, or actually 35 wins, but it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Big kudos to you and the 30k crew. Of course, before I let you skedaddle out of here, go celebrate with your friends and be excited about the fact that you got this massive prize pool. I'm gonna go ahead and let you do some shout-outs. The floor is all yours.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it. Shout out to you guys, of course, for the cast and all the production, everything, putting on these games. Really fun time. All 4 seasons for sure. And then of course shout out to the team for working hard, putting our heads down, trying not to get too cocky, too complacent, and just putting in the work and making sure we trust each other, which I'm really glad we're able to do that. And of course, shout out to all the viewers, all the people who support the HOT scene, crowdfunders, so on and so forth. And then lastly, I'd like to shout out my personal stream. I stream HOTs pretty often at twitch.tv/CureGG. So definitely, if you want to learn how to gust away your opponents when you can kill them all, stop by and check it out. Definitely some big ints there, and maybe some nice teaching moments as well. But yeah, I'm gonna head out now, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us, Kier. Congratulations on your victory, and congratulations on the Season 4 championship. I think he's actually out of here. I think he's already gone. Like, he literally did say, all right, well,
what an exit.
What an exit. He at least told us that he's leaving, and we weren't like, okay, goodbye. But seriously, a fantastic weekend of games, and we're not done talking about games because we have, for everyone, one more time for this season, we've got Justing's best clip of all of HeroesCCL, period, right here for you, right?
It better not be the Gust.
It's not the Gust. I was very tempted, but no, we'll get into it. It's the best clip from today, at least. It's the team fight around the bottom objective here in this game on Sky Temple. You see a very patient 30k, waiting for their moment, waiting for an engage. You have, watch Liam in the bottom side of the fight here. He's basically going to be 1v2ing the front line here. He gets the knockback into the wall. Just pay attention to Liam here when the fight starts. They're kind of looking at Mason Blaze. He's getting some damage out onto Kier. Watch this bounce from Liam. Directly bounces it directly on top of the Lunara, sets up his own combo with the shockwave, with the knockback into the loot horde. And then it's just a continuation for 30k. They get the first pick, they continue chasing. This ends up leading to an actual they end up basically diving them under their mid fort. They transition this into bottom shots, they transition this into an entire boss. As we're about to see here, they're still chasing, they're not done yet. They get the first pick, and 30k just pounces. They go for the siege, but Wildheart not able to get this up. You have the nice bless shield coming out from Cattle into the two-man condemn, into the full. And that's the dive. That's 2 more heroes going down. This is how 30k breaks open games. They get the bot fort, they get the objective, they get the boss, and that's how you begin a snowball on Sky Temple.
A very warm map, but a very cold shutdown. Really well played there. Thank you, Justin, for the analysis and the clip of the day right there. Let's go ahead and take a look at our playoff bracket because, well, we filled all the slots, and Grubby can break this down for you all at home.
Wildheart took the longest possible route through the playoff bracket, playing 21 maps in all, and it netted them a 2nd place. 30k looked dominant through most of the games, but it got harder and harder, and they found their greatest challenge in Wildheart in that grand finals with the 4-3 score. Really impressive. 30k managed to, Oxygen managed to get 3rd place here, just behind Wildheart, and Diamond Ants, although they were bottom of this bracket, at least they were the top of the ladder bracket and still netted a nifty 4th place. What a great journey it has been. And really, at the end of this season, I can really say it's about the friends you've made along the way as well as the games you actually played.
It's been a beautiful season of CCL here, and since this is our, the last show for this season, I want to get your thoughts from both of you. Just takeaways from today, takeaways from the playoffs, or takeaway from the season. I'm going to go ahead and start with Justin.
Just shout outs to 30k. They managed to do it in the end. It's good to see a team carry that momentum through. They get the 7-0 during the regular season. They don't drop a single series. Crazy to see a team so dominant. Shout outs to Wildheart as well for making it that close. It really couldn't have been a closer series for the finals. I don't think anyone was expecting it to go that far. And just shout outs to the whole HOTS community. Everyone's just great. I'm happy to be here. Happy to have been a part of this, so appreciate it.
Grubby?
Yeah, same. It's been really fun, like every season so far, casting with you, Bahamut, and we've got to know each other better than we both like. As much as we'd like to get to know each other even better. Oh, wait, that's weird too. It's been great. It's been really fun, and like synergy, everything has been getting better and better, and yeah, it's been great. It's been really fun. Justin, you've been fantastic as well, and the community has come together to put this up together again with your amazing support for the CCL and for HOTS. Blizzard may not be in the building anymore, but with the community and with HeroesCCL and you guys, it's been incredible, and it's been a lot of fun. And we we could not have hoped for a better grand finals.
Yeah.
That's just magical.
I think this has been the best grand finals we've ever had in CCL. It was a wonderful weekend, a wonderful season, and the same kind of the thoughts to both of you. I've grown so much from casting with Grubby, with learning so much about Justin's big brain. Like, I've learned so much this season that I can continue to get better in my own Storm League games. Even watching these games, I've learned a ton, and I hope you all have learned a little bit, or at least enjoyed all of the wonderful production and broadcasts we've been putting on. I want to say a big shout out and thank you to everyone who went to the Wisdom Gaming Studios in Mall of America for the watch party. I hope you all enjoyed some pizza. I hope you got to watch some great games, and I hope you all got to kind of rally together and enjoy some Heroes of Storm as a community in the Mall of America as well. But of course, as we've said in the past, from the production crew, from the Wisdom family, from Justin, Grubby, and myself, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for supporting HeroesCCL. We thank you so much for watching these games. We thank you so much for donating towards the prize pool. And until the next time, we'll see you in the Nexus. Good night.